Tick Vi Vi. 2 months after graduation, I'm still struggling to find a job. As a tiny little fairy, my path through life is full of twists, bumps, and hardships. Now, sobbing, I beg the recruiter, I'm sorry, I really need this job. Please give me one more chance, just one more. I'm an orphan. I only finished paying this month's rent today, and I have just 5 yuan left on me. I even ran for 2 whole hours to get here for this interview. I am exhausted. Just as I was mercilessly rejected by the nth recruiter, I received a phone call that changed my life. Is this Miss Tick Vi Vi? This is Kuimping Law Firm. You are to inherit an 800 square meter courtyard house located in the Nanduo scenic area. These words left her utterly stunned. What? This isn't a scam call, is it? It turned out to be real. She then smugly picked up her bag and left. This shabby company isn't worth staying at anyway. Its market value isn't even worth as much as my tiny bathroom. Her actions infuriated the recruiter. The contract has been signed. I'm no longer the old Tick Vi Vi. The man across from her smiled slyly and urged, if there are no issues, please sign the inheritance agreement. She took the contract and replied brightly, Sure. Then she quickly signed it. Secretly, she thought, from now on, call me a rich lady. I'll be the owner of a guest house, collecting generous rent payments, and rising to the pinnacle of life. Ha. Wait, something seems wrong with this plot development. The lawyer before her adjusted his glasses and said, this old residence is a protected historical building and requires regular maintenance. The previous owner took out a 3 million yuan loan for maintenance costs. As the inheritor of this courtyard house, you must make the monthly repayments on time. Don't forget. His words sent her plunging into the abyss. Rich Lady Tick Vi Vi dead. A stone pillar marked 3 million yuan pressed down upon Tick Vi Vi's tiny body. Heavens, that's an average of 60,000 yuan every month. I don't want to work hard anymore. Hurry up and send a handsome man to support me. Solby, please send me a handsome man to keep me. Very well. Your handsome man has been dispatched. Please check and receive your delivery. At that moment, a man dressed in ancient robes fell down. Wait, why is this handsome guy wearing ancient clothes? And why does he seem mentally unstable? At this moment, a girl was soaking in a bathtub scattered with rose petals, enjoying herself with a face mask on. As you can see, I, Tick Vi Vi, am now a rich lady. 2 days ago, I inherited an entire grade ancient residence in the scenic area and immediately reached the peak of my life. She could not help laughing smugly. Just when I thought I'd become the rich lady of my own life, I discovered that this house can neither be rented out nor sold, and I still have to spend 3 million yuan repairing it. Solby, 3 million yuan. Even if I work for someone else all my life, I could never pay off that debt. Soudainly, a notification. Ding. A message arrived, sent by Take You Flying. Welcome, young lord. A strange magical circle appeared above her head. As she cried, what should I do? Sob. A figure fell out of the circle. Suddenly, TVV exclaimed, how about this? This rich lady has an idea. Let a handsome man support me. I'm begging you. The moment she finished speaking, splash. A handsome man in ancient clothing fell straight into the bathtub. Cough. The sight made her cover her face and scream, blushing furiously. My wish really came true. His brows furrowed at her reaction. Too noisy, but then she suddenly realized that a sword was pressed to her throat. He wondered, why is there a black-faced demoness here? Did Master deliberately teleport me here to subdue her? At the same time, she thought, sure enough, handsome men, no, free lunches, never just fall from the sky. She stammered, gee, good sir, spare my life. If you want money or beauty, I can cooperate. The man frowned and shouted, stay still. Tear off your human skin mask. Hearing that, she looked at the sword at her neck in confusion. There's something strange about this sword. Then she hurriedly said, what human skin mask? What are you talking about? However, he still believed she was pretending to be foolish and shouted, if you dare resist, don't blame me for being ruthless. Yushan's sword emerged. A flash of light appeared at once. The sword tip jabbed directly into her chest. The blow made Tick Vi Vi grimace in pain. At the same time, he froze in surprise as her face turned red. Who exactly are you? Breaking into someone's home is bad enough, but now you're molesting me with a toy sword? Did you escape from a psychiatric hospital or something, you lunatic? After saying that, she splashed water at him. He fell backward from the sudden attack, while she quickly grabbed a blanket in one hand and her phone in the other. After wrapping herself securely, she stood up and shouted angrily, "I advise you to get out of my house immediately, or I'll call someone." The man in the bathtub looked bewildered. "Your house." Seeing his doubt, she shouted, blushing, "Doesn't it look like it? I'm a rich lady, you know." The man was stunned. "How can this be your house? This is clearly the tribulation courtyard every person must pass through to undergo a tribulation. Even if the immortal Lord made an error during teleportation, it should not have gone this badly. Could it be?" Suddenly, a voice sounded, "Welcome, young lord." As she looked at her phone, she muttered, "Why am I getting all this spam?" Suddenly, the man behind her looked at her back and asked softly, "Are you the guide?" The person deleting the message was dumbfounded. "Huh, a guide wah." Before she could finish, he stood up. His wet robes clung to him, vaguely revealing the toned muscles that had been hidden beneath them. "I am M.O. Van, young lord of the Tian High sect. If I am not mistaken, this place must be the Tribulation Courtyard, the stopover for immortal cultivation disciples descending to the mortal world to undergo tribulations. If you're not the guide, then why are you here?" As he spoke, he walked toward her, making her panic. "Don't come any closer." However, he grabbed and squeezed her cheek, demanding, "Answer me." Tikvivi was startled. M.O. Van wondered, is this also a human skin mask? Why does it feel so real? The woman before him became furious. "Don't touch me. Of course I'm a guide. I'm here to guide a pervert like you straight to the underworld." As she spoke, she slapped his hand away. Secretly, she cursed. "Where did this lunatic come from? I have to run." Hearing her words, he asked, "If you're the guide, why are you running?" Wait. Unfortunately, he grabbed her towel and pulled it down. Her body was completely exposed, and the air seemed to freeze. Her scream immediately rang out. You damned pervert!" At the neighborhood police station, Tikvai clearly recounted everything that had happened. That's what happened. The police officers were left speechless, while she glared fiercely at the man beside her. "This guy calls himself an immortal, broke into my home without permission, and even tried to molest me. He has caused irreversible damage to my fragile, delicate heart. You must lock him up." A police officer spoke hesitantly. "Sir, you say that you are an immortal who descended from heaven to undergo a tribulation?" Inwardly, he kept chanting, "Hold it in." The officer beside him pressed his lips together, barely doing any better. Don't laugh. Modib Dane Van slowly nodded. "That is correct. I am a 99th generation disciple of the Tian High sect, young Lord M.O. Van." The officer continued, "Then do you have anything from the heavenly realm? Some kind of identification, perhaps?" Hearing that, he pulled out a sheet of paper. "This." The policeman beside him turned his head away, his body trembling as he fought back laughter. "Don't laugh. I can't hold it in anymore." But when the police officer looked at the paper, he was somewhat surprised. The other officer quickly wiped away his tears. The first officer coughed and said, "This case is merely a quarrel between relatives. If there's any misunderstanding, just talk it out openly. Since he has mental problems, you should be more understanding." His words made her frown in confusion. But the officer gently continued, "You want us to help, but we truly cannot interfere in this matter." She shouted angrily, "What relatives? Who's related to him?" Before she could finish, the document was handed to Tikvai. Her eyes widened as she read it. A diagnosis certificate from Chuncheon Psychiatric Hospital. Nama, Modib Danefon. Gender, male. Diagnosis: the patient has mild delusional disorder. He consistently believes that he is an immortal cultivator. Based on our hospital's assessment, the patient does not pose a danger to society. It is recommended that he avoid online games and interact more with real-world society. His guardian must watch over him carefully and gradually help him reintegrate into society. Gadin Tikvivi. Phone number 137XX. After reading it, she could not help screaming, "Ah!" Back in the tribulation courtyard, she looked at the man before her and said, "Tell me, my low IQ cousin M.O. Van, how did you suddenly appear in my bathtub? And you even forged documents?" M.O. Van calmly replied, "Do not be disrespectful to me. I am an immortal. The identity of cousin is only for convenience while living in this mortal world. Every 1,000 years, we immortal cultivation disciples only need to complete our tribulations in a mortal realm to attain the Tao and become immortals. This sword is the Yushang sword, an immortal sword that has accompanied me for many years, yet it has now turned into a toy sword. I assume it is because immortal cultivation tribulation disciples have their immortal powers sealed when they descend to the mortal world. And this tribulation courtyard is the final stop for us immortal cultivation disciples. The other person stood up and said, "I'll give this house to you then. Green mountains remain, and rivers still flow. We shall meet again someday." But before she had taken more than a few steps, he said from behind her, as the guardian of the tribulation courtyard, "If you fail to obey your ancestors' final wishes, you cannot leave this place." His words made her stop dead. Seeing this, he continued, "The guardian's duty is to help each immortal cultivation disciple find work, help them adapt to mortal life, and complete their tribulations." Her face turned pale as she thought, "Strange. My legs won't move. This is terrifying. Just how many traps did my ancestors leave for me?" He merely said calmly, "Therefore, tomorrow, you must start looking for a job for me." Suddenly, she waved her hand and said, "Fine. The sooner I help you complete your tribulation, the sooner I'll be free." At that moment, she could move again. She was secretly shocked. I can walk again. How terrifying." Hearing her words, he questioned, "As a mere mortal, being able to associate with an immortal cultivation disciple is a blessing accumulated over 3 lifetimes." Hearing that, she fell silent in anger, cursing inwardly. Finding a job, you make it sound so easy. I don't care whether you're a demon or an immortal. Tomorrow, I'll let you experience the brutal, crushing force of modern society." Suddenly, the man behind her sneezed. She smiled to herself even more smugly. Meanwhile, he sat on the bed with a thoughtful expression. "That mortal interrupted me earlier, and I nearly forgot about the Mortal World guidebook that the Immortal Lord specially prepared for us. Master said this book contains everything and can update us on the mortal world at any time. To complete my tribulation as soon as possible, I must hurry and understand the current mortal world. Modern technology develops at a truly astonishing pace. Without immortal arts, they can still accomplish so many things." As he thought, he read the instruction manual for the air conditioner in front of him. Then he picked up the remote and pressed several buttons. Strange. Why is it no response? Forget it. Cultivators are born with bodies that cleanse themselves, so I do not need such lowly mortal things. At that moment, a mosquito appeared, buzzing around him incessantly. The sound annoyed him, and he frowned. "No, I cannot rest at all." Then he abruptly stood up. There was a knock on Tikvai's bedroom door. "Knock, knock, knock." She was reading a magazine when she heard someone call, "Tikv." As soon as she opened the door, she saw him standing there with the remote in hand, asking blankly, "Why can't I turn on the air conditioner?" Hearing that, she shouted irritably, "It's broken. It doesn't work anymore." Inwardly, she cursed. Electricity is so expensive that even this fairy can't bear to turn on the air conditioner. Yet you want to use it?" Suddenly, he turned his blushing face away. Why are you dressed so indecently?" She was angry, but then froze in confusion. This is called a nightgown. You're the one dressed like a weirdo. Wait here, I'll find you some modern clothes." As she turned to go inside, she thought, although the Nanduo scenic area is full of people who like ancient costumes, and there are many historical drama crews filming here, it will still cause trouble if he runs around in that outfit every day. At that moment, a light flashed through his mind. An electric fan, a substitute for an air conditioner. Then he rushed into her room, leaving her stunned. Her mind was in chaos. I need to put on a jacket quickly, or he'll nag me again." She hurriedly said, "Don't come in. Wait outside the door." Tikvai looked angrily at the man sitting on her bed. "What did you say?" Mo Van waved his hand. "Immortal robes, withdraw." But when nothing changed, he looked awkward and flustered. I forgot that I no longer have immortal power. It's fine. I only need to take off my clothes." He began fumbling clumsily with his hands and feet, making her burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha." Meanwhile, he struggled with his clothing. "Why won't it come off?" Then he quickly moved closer, grabbed her hand, and ordered, "Take it off for me." The woman beside him frowned in displeasure, shoved him away, and scolded, "Pervert, you expect a girl like me to undress you? You came here to experience the hardships of the mortal world, so you have to solve everything yourself. Go back to your room." As soon as she said that, he suddenly fell backward. This made her even more annoyed. "You're determined to sleep here tonight?" He answered directly, "Yes." "What are you going to do about it?" At the same time, Tikvai flopped onto the bed and said indignantly, "This is my room. If you won't leave, neither will I." He turned his back to her and said, "You really are far too casual for a woman. I cannot believe you would share a bed with a man you have only just met." She shot back, "You immortal cultivation disciples aren't any better. You actually dare to climb onto a girl's bed on your own. Moli Dane van Front. Do you have no concern for your chastity?" She retorted, "And you do." He answered proudly, "Since I descended to the mortal world to undergo tribulation, this young lord stopped caring about his chastity long ago." Her anger flared. "You make it sound so noble. You just saw that I'm pretty, adorable, and all alone, so you wanted to take advantage of me." But he said flatly, "Ignorant woman, this young lord does not wish to argue with you." She replied smugly, "Clearly, you just can't argue against me." In the stillness of the night, a hand rested on his chest. Fast asleep, she unconsciously turned over and hugged him, snoring contentedly. However, this action startled him awake. Tigvivi. He immediately sat up in frustration. This is utterly improper. The next morning, she woke up feeling exceptionally refreshed, while the dark circles beneath his eyes were obvious. She noticed him meditating beside her. "Oh, didn't you sleep well last night? Today, I have to go out and find a job for you. Take care of yourself." Just then, he darkened his face and glared at her. Suddenly, he turned and said, "Wait, I am hungry. Take me to eat first." At the restaurant, the girls inside could not help gasping the moment they saw him. One raised her phone to take pictures as she exclaimed, "Oh my God, he's so handsome. I'm about to faint." The person at her table chimed in, "Wow, what kind of divine beauty is this? That little immortal brother's eyelashes are so long." The female employees kept giving him passionate, infatuated looks. Meanwhile, he calmly ordered 3 baskets of shumai and 2 bowls of wontons. At the same time, she waved a hand in front of the waitress and called out, "Wake up, our immortal lord is about to faint from hunger. Please bring the food quickly." The man beside her continued staring ahead and answered indifferently. Tik Vai Vai sighed helplessly, feeling utterly ignored while the staff eagerly fussed over Mo Van. "Handsome, this is our restaurant's special chili sauce. It's delicious. Would you like to wash your hands first?" Watching this, the girl behind them fumed inwardly. Have they all gone crazy? It's just an ordinary breakfast place, but they're acting like we're in a brothel. Still, she got up with difficulty, rubbing her backside as she looked at his elegant figure and could not help sighing. With that refined, gentlemanly bearing, he really is very handsome. Then she watched him finish an entire basket of dumplings and could not help marveling at his appetite. So that's why ancient people had such wide sleeves, so no one would see them eating like they were starving. At the restaurant entrance, a group of girls stood peering inside. "This is the place. We found him." The sight left Tik Vai Vai, who had just risen to her feet, completely dumbfounded. A young woman gazed at him adoringly and said, "Hurry up, we want 8 baskets of shumai and 5 bowls of noodles." Wow, he doesn't even need editing in the photos online. He's even better looking in person. Another girl kept snapping pictures, her eyes shining. Where did this little immortal brother come from? Someone else asked, could he be an actor from the period drama crew filming in Nanduo? At that moment, a middle-aged woman brought over a stack of freshly made dumplings and said with a smile, "Immortal Lord, please take your time. These are all complimentary. Make sure you eat your fill." Tik Vai Vai's eyes sparkled as she thought, this guy is amazing. In just a few minutes, he has drawn in so many people. This rotten young lord really can make a living with that face of his. We're going to strike it rich this time. Meanwhile, he continued leisurely working through basket after basket of dumplings. At that moment, a boat drifted slowly along the river. A director angrily smacked the cameraman on the head with a script. "Where are you filming?" A figure stepped off the boat and said, "Nandua's scenery is so beautiful that it's hard not to get distracted." Director Zhang, why scold him? But then her eyes landed on Mo Van inside the restaurant. She immediately grabbed the boatman and shouted, "Who is that? Who is he?" The man stared at her blankly. "How would I know? I'm just a boatman." Ignoring him, she ordered, "I want all the information on him within 1 minute." Rapid footsteps sounded. The woman quickly appeared at Tik Vai Vai and Mo Van's table, followed by a female assistant. Tik Vai Vai stared in confusion, while the woman simply held out her hand. The assistant promptly placed an exquisite little card in it. Tigvivi blinked. "Is that a business card? Is she giving it to me?" Thinking so, she reached out her hand. But the woman turned to Mo Van and said, "Hello, I'm Nguyen Jing, a talent manager from Star Entertainment." Tik Vai Vai fumed inwardly. "Hey, isn't that a bit too dismissive?" Seeing this, the assistant hurried over and took Tik Vai Vai's hand. "Hello, Miss Tik. I'm Chin Yu, also a talent manager at Star Entertainment. This is Sister Nguyen, our company's top manager and one of the most famous in the country. Sister Nguyen simply doesn't like shaking hands. Please forgive her. Hearing that, Tik Vai Vai said, "Oh, hello. Please have a seat." The other woman quietly breathed a sigh of relief. Tik Vai Vai also sighed to herself. "I understand. Everyone is just trying to make a living." The woman, supposedly unwilling to shake hands, then extended her hand toward Mo Van. "You're Mo Van, right? Would you like to become an actor?" He remained silent. Nguyen Jing became even more arrogant. "Do you know Yi Shun, the top-tier traffic star? I personally made him what he is today." Tik Vai Vai was shocked and hurriedly looked at Chinyu. "Yi Shen? See, can I get an autographed photo?" Chinyu replied proudly. Not only Yi Shun, most of the stars you could name were personally discovered and developed by Sister Nguyen. And Mo Van, however, merely frowned coldly. He was about to stand, but Tik Vai Vai pressed him back into his chair. And Mo Van stared at her in confusion while Nguyen Jing continued. "I know you too are short of money." Tik Vai Vai quietly reminded him, "Be patient. Didn't you want to find a job?" His expression darkened. Nguyen Jing continued. "If Mo Van is willing to join our company, I promise." Before she could finish, he snapped angrily. "Old woman, you shouldn't be here. You should go to a medical center and get examined. You give off a foul, sinister stench. Can't you smell it yourself? You've ruined my appetite." Nguyen Jing slammed the table and shouted furiously, "What did you say?" Without any restraint, he repeated, "I said that seeing you makes me lose my appetite." Before he could say more, Tik Vai Vai quickly covered his mouth. "Sister Nguyen, I'm so sorry. Since you already know we're short of money, you should also know about Mo Van's condition. He thinks he's an immortal, and he believes he can tell people's fortunes." Nguyen Jing Thawen Supi Sioli. Tik Vai Vai hurried on. Right now, he doesn't understand anything. He doesn't even know what actors or talent managers are. Mo Van's face flushed red, and he shouted, Let go of me. Embracing like this in front of so many people. What kind of behavior is that?" Tik Vai Vai thought irritably. "You don't understand anything. This is such a good job opportunity, and you're still being picky." Molly Dane Van S thoughts exploded. "In this vulgar mortal world, I will absolutely not become an actor." He immediately turned and left. Tik Vai Vai was left flustered. Molly Dane Fun. Nguyen Jing watched him go in silence, then smiled at Tik Vai Vai. "It's all right. Take him to get treated first. I'll be in Nanduo for the next few days. A drama is beginning production here. You can come find me anytime. If he recovers, I'll arrange a role for him to show." TVB fit Dokul. "Well, as you saw, he doesn't really want to." Before she could finish, Nguyen Jing patted her shoulder and interrupted. "You need money, and I have my eye on him. I hope we can work together successfully." Meanwhile, Mo Van sat cross-legged in meditation and called out, "If you came because of that foul, vicious woman, then don't enter my room." Tik Vai Vai thought indignantly. "What foul, vicious woman? She's clearly a sugar mommy bringing us cash." Mo Van looked over and said, "We can look for work slowly. In any case, I will not become an actor." She screamed inwardly. "We're almost out of money for food, and he still wants to take things slowly?" Then her phone chimed with a message. Startled, she pulled out her phone. The contents made her freeze. "Dear Miss Tik Vai Vai, the total repayment due this month is 60,000 yuan. Please pay the full amount before the due date or ensure that your account has sufficient funds. On the due date, payment will be deducted automatically." Tik Vai Vai sneaked outside, but a voice suddenly sounded behind her. "Where are you going?" It startled her. She instinctively wrapped herself around a pillar, then glared at the suddenly appearing Mo Van. "Are you trying to scare me to death? I am going to find work." He remained silent. She kept talking. "That's right. I'm going to find a job." He looked skeptical. "You're going to work?" She asked. "What else would I be doing?" He warned. "You'd better be going to work." Then he pushed her aside. But after walking a short distance, she stopped and quickly returned to him. "I definitely can't support both of us by myself. Take this phone. You should go find a job too. If you get lost, press number 1 and it'll connect you directly to the neighborhood office. Understand?" He stared blankly at the phone in his hand. As she walked away, Tik Vai Vai thought, if he doesn't want to act, he should go out and see what other jobs are available. He's a grown man. He can at least find some part-time work. At the film set, Tik Vai Vai called out the moment she saw Nguyen Jing. "Sister Nguyen." Seeing she had come alone, Nguyen Jing asked, "Miss Tik, are you by yourself?" Tik Vai Vai gave an awkward smile. "Hee hee, Sister Nguyen, yesterday I saw that you were hiring extras. Nguyen Jing raised a hand to interrupt her. If it's you, the price will be completely different from his. Tik Vai Vai replied, it's all right, but Nguyen Jing cut her off again. Fine, go get changed. A crew member quickly led Tik Vai Vai away. Please follow me. Chin Yu silently watched her departing figure. At the same time, Nguyen Jing said, she really is a clever one. She didn't dare reject me directly, so she came to earn a little money instead. A very smart move. Meanwhile, M.O. Van wandered through the streets. His looks made the girls passing by exclaim non-stop, oh my god, where did this little immortal brother come from? With that face, I'm completely obsessed. Mom, I've met a real fairy. As he walked, he thought, where does one find work in this mortal world? Suddenly, his phone rang. Ding! He remembered what she had taught him earlier. To answer a call, press the green button and swipe right. He immediately followed her instructions. The moment he swiped, a loud voice came through. Hello, is this Miss Tick? Your house repair loan payment for this month totals 60,000 yuan. The due date is in 6 days. Please make sure there is enough money in your card. Molly Dane Van was shocked. I never knew the Tribulation Courtyard owed so much money. Why didn't she tell me? As he walked, he passed two girls dressed in ancient-style costumes. One could not help saying, he's dressed in ancient clothes too. He's so handsome. The other said, could he be an actor from the crew filming Embroidered Mountains and Rivers Up Ahead? Nguyen Jing is involved with that production too. Maybe he's one of her artists. M.O. Van fell silent. The Embroidered Mountains and Rivers production is ahead? Forget it. Since I'm staying at the Tribulation Courtyard, I can't let her repay the debt by herself. He quickly headed toward the set. At that moment, the director's voice rang out. All departments, get ready. M.O. Van looked at the crowd ahead and muttered, so many people. Then he wondered, over there, a familiar figure stood on a bridge. At the same time, the director shouted through a megaphone, everyone positions. Action. Following the cue, Tik Vai Vai began acting. Stop. If you harm them today. Before she could finish, someone beside her jabbed her in the stomach with an elbow. A vicious thought rang out inwardly. Humph. She isn't even that pretty, yet she dares take my place. Another person sneered. Sister Yun Yun is right. They've even given all the lines to her. Who knows how much more we'll have to yield to her in the future. Get in the water. Tik Vai Vai stumbled and cried out, ah. The scene immediately entered M.O. Van's sight. A powerful arm swiftly caught Tik Vai Vai. Her eyes widened in shock when she saw young Lord M.O. Van. The onlookers erupted into cheers. That little brother flew over without even using a harness. He's so handsome. I want to be his fan. Keep it down, or the director will throw us out. Is Embroidered Mountains and Rivers filming an ancient idol drama? What kind of scene is this? Handsome. I can do it too. Before she could finish, splash. The two of them fell together into the freezing water. The three people on the shore stood frozen in shock. Tik Vai Vai flailed her arms and looked resentfully at the man before her. It's all thanks to you. You can't even swim, yet you ran out to save me. Hold on. She quickly surfaced. The people around them rushed over to help. Hurry and save them. Give me your hand. I'll pull you both up. A girl said awkwardly. Miss, he swallowed so much water. He still hasn't woken up. You need to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. A young man beside her blushed as he volunteered. If you don't want to, I can do it. Tik Vai Vai thought helplessly. Why are they rushing me? Isn't that what I'm doing? When this immortal wakes up, will he think I was taking advantage of him? Forget it. Saving him comes first. M.O. Van's gaze became hazy. Before him stood the Tian Hai sect master, crane soaring immortal lord. The man spoke calmly and steadily. Vanner, I never expected that, during your first lesson at the Immortal Realm sect, descending to the mortal world to undergo tribulation, you would nearly drown to death in less than 3 days. And Mo Van said awkwardly, but the man interrupted, let it go this time. But I hope you know your limits. To pass your tribulation in the human world, you must find a job and work for 3 years before you can return. How is your progress now? Modib Dane Van bowed respectfully. I have disappointed you, master. The immortal lord continued slowly, as the foremost disciple descending to the lower realm. I hope you can assist the guide and help the disciples who undergo tribulation after you. But before that, you must learn how to be a person. Also, I heard that the Mirage Sea will descend to the mortal realm in a few days. And Mo Van immediately answered, I will keep watch over him. Satisfied, the immortal lord said, very good. Return now. Meanwhile, Tik Vai Vai continued giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, thinking, why isn't he awake yet? Do immortals die this easily? At that moment, the unconscious man opened his eyes. His face flushed crimson. Panicked, he hurriedly pushed Tick Vi Vi away. Why you? What are you doing? How shameless! She frowned and snapped angrily. Do you think I enjoy kissing you? This is called mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I was saving your life. You don't appreciate kindness at all. You vicious immortal. She quickly walked away. Sorry, director. I'll resume filming as soon as I've changed. M.O. Van was left with a chaotic swirl of thoughts. Mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. After a while, Tick Vi Vi's voice rang out. Thank you, director. Director, I'm leaving now. Holding a stack of money. She chirped excitedly. Why can't it just fly out on its own? But M.O. Van suddenly appeared, startling her. Mom, why are you here? It was only a tiny kiss. Why are you so angry? I told you it was to save you. He grabbed her hand and pulled her away, his face red as he muttered, shameless. She frowned and said, what are you huffing about? You're going the wrong way. After returning home, he sat in the living room. Tick Vi Vi brought out a bowl of soup. Drink some ginger soup to warm yourself up. Hurry and change out of those clothes. Your hem is still dripping. He was silent for a moment before saying, I can't untie these knots. She could not hold back her laughter. That's incredible. How did you tie them so tightly? Embarrassed, he shouted, stop talking nonsense. Help me take off my clothes. She did as he asked, but her face turned scarlet. Isn't this going a little too far? This abstinent young man is letting me undress him. Is he undergoing tribulation, or am I? A mortal like me really can't take this. Then their eyes accidentally met. Awkwardly, he said, what are you standing there for? Hurry and take it off. She stared blankly. Yet inwardly, she wondered, what? Take off more? If I take off any more, he'll have nothing left on. Are looks and intelligence inversely proportional in the immortal realm? How did he manage to tie every single knot so tightly? As she untied the sash at his waist, she suddenly let out a heavy breath, her eyes sparkling. Her reaction made him embarrassed. Why you done yet? Tick Vi Vi examined him and replied, all done. I really am a lively, adorable little fairy, generous and considerate too. At that moment, the magic circle appeared again, leaving them both staring in surprise. A seductive, enchanting gaze fixed on the person before him, making her heart flutter. My goodness, another beauty falling from the sky. The newcomer spoke as well. Oh my, it seems I've arrived at a rather inconvenient time. The man before them spoke. Long time no see, M.O. Van. M.O. Van frowned at him, thinking, the most troublesome person has arrived. Tick Vi Vi poked her head out from behind M.O. Van and asked blankly, is he also an immortal lord who came down here to undergo a tribulation? She could not help thinking, why does he look more like a demon cultivator? Suddenly, the other man leaned close. This young lord is called Mirage C. Since I descended to the mortal world, of course I came to undergo a tribulation. Looking at his face, warning bells rang incessantly in her mind. This counts as a crime, doesn't it? At that moment, he lifted her chin with his fan, his bewitching voice seeming to charm the heart. I shall undergo a love tribulation with you. M.O. Van immediately drew his sword and shielded her behind him. Stay away from her. Yet Mirage C was still lost in thought. A love tribulation. Does that mean Tick Vi Vi can sleep with this guy, then run off holding her things without taking any responsibility? Is it really such a good deal? An ordinary mortal like me can actually toy with an immortal lord? Anyone who can make him care this much, I absolutely have to win her over. His nature truly never changes. This time, he will definitely turn the tribulation courtyard upside down. Seeing sparks fly between the two men's gazes, she hurriedly stepped between them and pulled Mirage C's clothes back into place. Oh, stop arguing, everyone. You're both brothers from the immortal realm. M.O. Van snapped. Who wants to be brothers with him? Mirage C quickly wrapped an arm around the person beside him and said teasingly, don't be so jealous. I didn't come here to wreck this house. I came to join you. I understand women's thoughts best. I guarantee I'll make our guardian very comfortable. As soon as he finished speaking, someone coughed. Ahem, ahem. Are you all rehearsing in the middle of the night? I came to work with the immortal lord. I saved a suitable role for him in my newest production. Upon hearing that, Mirage C leaned against a pillar in a seductive pose. Could you perhaps give me one of those roles as well? Tick Vi Vi could not help cursing inwardly. Anything M.O. Van has, I have to take for myself. Director Zhang was speechless. She hurriedly came forward to explain, this demon isn't one of ours, Director Zhang. You don't need to pay him any mind. Mirage C suddenly appeared beside him and placed a hand on his shoulder. Sir, the action terrified Director Zhang. Good heavens, Stay away from me. I already have a wife. I don't do casting couch rules. Besides, the female role in our crew was decided long ago. There's really nothing I can do, beauty. As he spoke, he shoved Mirage C away. Those words left Mirage C frozen. Beauty? Who are you calling a beauty? Before he could finish, Director Zhang had already run away. Then it's settled, Immortal Lord. Don't forget to come tomorrow. Mirage C stood there blankly for a moment before chasing after him. Stop right there. He fumed inwardly. You humiliated me and still think you can run? I'm definitely taking that role. Mo Van immediately stopped him. If you lack basic knowledge of the mortal world, you would do well not to embarrass yourself in front of others. Mirage C instantly put on a pitiful expression. Guardian, do you also think I'm embarrassing? Molly Dane Van was annoyed. Stop pretending to be pathetic. Tick Vi Vi was at a loss for words. Well, before she could finish, Mirage C began acting. If that is the case, perhaps I should leave this place. I will strive to finish my tribulation soon and return to the heavenly court, so I will no longer trouble the Guardian. With that, he ran away. Mo Van was startled, while Tick Vi Vi worriedly asked, Mo Van, are we really just letting him leave? He may not seem serious, but he is very enthusiastic about working. Mo Van bluntly exposed him. It's all an act. He must be going to find Director Zhang. We have to bring him back. We absolutely cannot let him enter the entertainment industry. The person beside him was skeptical. Is it really that serious? He is still your fellow disciple. How can you assume the worst of him? Mo Van answered firmly, that is not an assumption. Between you, who have known him for only one day, and me, who faced him day and night in the immortal realm, who do you think understands him better? He grumbled inwardly, damn it. On his very first day here, he has already won Tick Vi Vi's favor. As expected, he knows how to beguile people. Day and night, Tick Vi Vi fell into confused contemplation. Could those two have that kind of relationship? If this is jealousy, then some things make sense. Mo Van said helplessly. The urgent matter now is bringing him back. The Guardian has a spell that can control immortal disciples who descend to undergo tribulations. Come here, I'll teach it to you. She turned to him in surprise. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Were you afraid I'd use it against you? He answered stubbornly. Humph. Why would I be afraid of you? The spell is blah, blah, blah. Hurry and chant it. She smugly considered it. Let me prepare first. Modi Dane Van was dumbfounded. Then she suddenly declared, Pure moonlight, grant me the power of justice. Guide the light. I am the goddess of light. Immortal Lord, I forbid you from leaving the tribulation courtyard. Meanwhile, Mirage C was walking away and complaining inwardly. In the immortal realm, the immortal venerable, the divine mother, and Mo Van all tried to control me. But now that I've descended, I'm finally free to soar. Suddenly, a voice rang out. I forbid you from leaving the tribulation courtyard. An invisible force immediately dragged him away. What? Ah, seeing him reappear, Tick Vi Vi laughed excitedly. Ha ha, he really came back. That's amazing. I can even control an immortal. Mirage C seemed to understand what had happened. He glanced at her and asked, was it you? Guardian, there was no need to do this. If you wanted me by your side, all you had to do was say so. Still rigidly controlled, he turned toward her from behind and asked, Guardian, why are you treating me this way? Mo Van warned, don't let him beguile you. Be careful, he is plotting against you. Mirage C grew even more irritated. Plotting against you, my foot. When did Mo Van learn to twist black into white? Mo Van quickly pulled Tick Vi Vi away. He disregarded the Guardian and left the courtyard without permission. Let him reflect here for the entire night. She was somewhat flustered. Then you stay here. To be safe, she added another spell. Don't run around. To Mirage C, those words were like a thunderbolt. What? Again. Time slowly passed. The sun rose high, shining everywhere. Here I come. The moon and stars retreat. I'm off work now, haha. Mirage C remained standing there, looking as though his soul had left his body. Then Tick Vi Vi appeared. Why are you sleeping here? Don't you have your own room? He paid her words no mind, sighing inwardly. I'm exhausted. It's only my first day in the mortal world, but it feels like I've already spent 3 years here. He then glared at her. The Guardian punished me last night and forbade me from moving, so I could only stand here all night. She asked in confusion. I clearly only told you not to move around carelessly. I'm really sorry. She hurriedly chanted the spell. Stand up quickly. Stretch your limbs a little. As soon as she finished, his body collapsed to the floor. It hurts. She hurriedly supported him. Just then, Mo Van came out. Good morning. Looking bright and refreshed, he took out a pair of scissors. Here, seeing the object in his hand, they were both startled. Tigvivi asked blankly, "It isn't serious enough to saw off his legs, is it? He just didn't move all night, so his body is stiff. Can immortals still survive after being cut in half?" And Mo Van calmly said, "I'm cutting his hair." Both of them were stunned. "What?" He explained slowly. "It is the scorching height of summer. His hair dragged across the ground all night, so it will start smelling awful. We might as well cut it. It will also make it easier for him to find work later." Mirage C immediately objected. "Naturally, I will listen to the Guardian. But your hair is long, too. If this is about finding work," Tikvaivai said, "I'm only thinking about your tribulation. I don't have any bad intentions. Don't be angry." The atmosphere fell silent. Mo Van felt frustrated. "TCH, if I refuse now, won't that be admitting that I have bad intentions?" Suddenly, she snapped her fingers. "You're both right. My skills aren't very good, so please be generous and forgive me." With that, she transformed herself into a hairstylist. The two test subjects on the chopping block thought, "I regret this." One of them shouted, "Shut your mouth." Outside, a car stopped. Inside, Nguyen Jing frowned and muttered, "Oof. Director Zhang actually dared to work with that immortal lord. Isn't that a direct slap in my face? Fine, let go this time. I'll have plenty of chances to deal with that MO fellow later." The person beside her remained silent. She turned and scolded him. "With that kind of personality, he'll never get far in the entertainment industry. Stay away from him so you don't get dragged into trouble." "What are you looking at? Did you even hear what I said?" The lazy young man slowly put on his glasses. "I heard you." His gaze remained fixed on the tribulation courtyard. "This house really does seem familiar." Inside, Tikvaivai held Mirage C's hair and suddenly cried out, "Oh no, I think I cut it crooked." Mirage C was so angry that he could barely speak. The person beside him fell silent, then suddenly noticed the door. At night, the crescent moon calmly listened to the little stars complain, "I don't want to go to work." A figure appeared outside the tribulation courtyard. The door creaked open, startling him. After regaining his composure, he quickly walked inside. Mo Van was sitting calmly in the living room. "You came after all. Don't you find this alley and this house somewhat familiar?" The young man who had been sitting beside Nguyen Jing that morning pulled down his hood, visibly startled. "It's you," he thought. "This is the Nandu Ogai's sister Jing warned me not to approach. Molib Dane van leisurely pour tea. Look at the painting behind me." The young man swiftly looked at the painting. A phantom scene suddenly appeared, startling him. "What did you show me? What is this? What kind of illusion is this? Who exactly are you?" Mo Van simply walked past him calmly. "You still haven't found the way home. Leave. This place does not contain the answer you seek." Upon hearing this, the young man hurriedly grabbed him. "Wait, explain yourself clearly." At that moment, Tikvaivai pushed open the door and shouted, "Why are you making so much noise? Did someone come over?" She froze, and the two people inside were equally stunned. The young man suddenly shut the door. "Sorry for the disturbance." The two inside had no idea what was happening, while Tikvaivai blushed excitedly outside. "Oh, so they're dual cultivating." Tikvaivai stared at the door, feeling as though she had been injected with exciting vitamins. "Good. I've locked this door tight." Oomph. She even thoughtfully made a small crack in the window. Looking inside, she panicked. How did it turn into this kind of scene? They had barely set sail, and it's already a bad ending? The door suddenly creaked open, startling her so badly that she fell backward. A hand suddenly caught her, and Mo Van looked at her and asked, "What are you sneaking around here for?" Caught red-handed, she gave an awkward laugh. "What a coincidence, haha. The moon is beautiful tonight. You came out to admire the moon, too." Meanwhile, the young man quickly left, and Mo Van suddenly took her hand. "I have something to tell you." She panicked. I'm not going. I'm not dual cultivating. I can't destroy my own ship." And Mo Van frowned at her. "What exactly does your mind contain?" Inside the room, she sulkily said, "What a mood killer. So you two were pulling each other around in the middle of the night for something other than dual cultivation." She grumbled inwardly. "I already took off my pants, but it turns out he only wanted to give me a lesson." And Mo Van asked suspiciously, "Can't your head contain any proper thoughts?" She still looked innocent. "Contain what?" "You said Yi Shun is one of those who lost their way after descending to undergo a tribulation, but he lost himself in desire and became completely mortal. Then how can he still remember things from his earlier tribulations?" And Mo Van explained slowly, "He has only temporarily failed to find the path back to the immortal realm. He can sense the familiarity of the tribulation courtyard. There must still be some unwillingness and attachment in his heart. Even if he remembers, that does not mean he remembers everything. everything. After leaving the tribulation courtyard, Ishan made a phone call. After it rang for a moment, someone answered. Hello. He immediately said, Sister Jing, I've decided to withdraw from the entertainment industry. Modi Dane then slowly explained. When the tribulation courtyard guides the disciples of the immortal realm once again, the gate between realms will open. Though those who lost their way have abandoned their ambition of becoming immortals, they can still feel it. That sensation will lead them back to the tribulation courtyard. But they're not the only ones who can feel it. There are also far more dangerous fallen demons. Tikvaivai asked in surprise, what are fallen demons? Modi Dane von Scheint. I will explain further when I have the chance. Meanwhile, Mirage C was sneaking out when Tikvaivai, lying on the sofa, spoke. Stop right there. Did I give you permission to leave the tribulation courtyard? He turned around with an innocent expression. Wouldn't it be too tiring for Mo Van to work alone? I want to work too. I want to share the Guardian's burden. My hair has already been cut short, and I promise I won't cause the Guardian any trouble. As he spoke, he flirted with her. She frowned and turned away. Fine, go. Yet inwardly, she thought, he is quite obedient. He doesn't seem as bad as M.O. Van says. Having received permission, Mirage C leaped up excitedly. Thank you, Guardian. I'll work hard. Seeing this, she could not help thinking, to be safe, I should secretly follow him and keep watch over him. On the streets of Nanduo town, Mirage C walked along, winking and flirting with beautiful women and making their hearts race. Tikvaivai hid behind him, watching everything. Then a voice called out, Cosmetics are on sale today. Hearing this, he headed toward it. As she watched his back, her phone began to ring. Every cause has its effect. She quickly answered, Vai, I finally found you. It's Ngu Hulo. Still following Mirage C, she asked in confusion, Who is this? The person on the other end hesitated, then said, Ngu Hulo. We're holding a high school reunion in Nanduo. Are you free to come? You absolutely have to come. I'll add you to the group chat later. But the caller hurriedly hung up. Tikvaivai thought, was that overly familiar person just now really my high school classmate? Could this be some scammer trying to make me shoulder a 3 million yuan debt? But when she turned to look for him, she was horrified. How did I lose him? Elsewhere, Mirage C was being escorted by 2 police officers and struggling nonstop. How insolent. Do you know who I am? I am the dignified young lord. I'll kill you. The sun was shining brightly. Here we go again. A voice suddenly rang out. Using cosmetics without permission in someone else's store, then smashing the store's property to cover it up after being caught, and even trying to harm others. Buddy, what you did is very serious. The people nearby became suspicious. Wait, he's an immortal cultivator who has fallen into demonhood. Could he be one of Tikvaivai's people? Upon hearing that, someone hurriedly urged, Call Tikvaivai and ask first. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Knock, knock. The 2 turned their attention toward it. The door opened, and M.O. Van stood there, looking as though he could devour Mirage C alive. One police officer said in a daze, Is that you? Cousin, come take a look. Is this one of your family members? M.O. Van replied coldly, I wish he weren't. The officer immediately seized on the key point and said delightedly, So he really is one of your family. That's great. Mirage C stepped out. Long time no see. You become much more handsome. It's great that you quit gaming and stopped cultivating immortality. Someone else chimed in, Exactly. Great. Just pay the compensation, and you can bail him out and take him home. Make sure to teach him properly. Hearing this, M.O. Van's eyes practically sparked as he glared at Mirage C. What did you say? Compensation? In the stillness of the night, outside Tribulation Courtyard, Nguyen Jing pounded on the door and shouted, Tikvaivai, come out. Stop hiding in there. I know you're home. You need to come out and explain this to me. What kind of love potion did you give Ishan that made him quit the entertainment industry overnight? The pounding continued without pause. Inside, losing Mirage C was bad enough. But why isn't the young lord home either? Then she muttered quietly, The young lord caused this trouble, but I'm the one taking the blame. I'm too fed up to even talk. Outside, the figure stood silently, staring at the door. Suddenly, Tikvivi was puzzled. Why did it go quiet? Did she leave? Just as she cracked the door open, M.O. Van was standing there. Open the door. The sight of him startled her. Do you know that scaring people like that can kill them? But he merely walked in and replied indifferently, I don't. I'm an immortal. She ground her teeth in irritation. This guy is getting better and better at driving people mad. At the same time, Mirage C waved cheerfully. Good evening. She turned toward him in surprise. Why do you look like this? Where are all these things? Carrying a pile of items, he smiled and said, Today, I went out to look for work opportunities. I happen to take an interest in these things. Mo Van is so kind-hearted that he bought them all for me. However, Mo Van, standing some distance away, snapped, It's fine. Just remember to pay me back. He fumed inwardly. That compensation money sounds so righteous when he puts it that way. Shameless beyond belief. If I hadn't happened to see you being taken to the police station and worried you would cause more trouble for the Guardian, you wouldn't have been worth helping. It's fine if you want to learn makeup, but your style of makeup probably isn't very marketable. Her mind raced. I need to find a way to make him forget about getting his money back. Suddenly, he grabbed her hand excitedly. I did more research afterward and learned other makeup techniques too. The more he spoke, the prouder he became. In the immortal realm, what female immortal wouldn't beg me to do her makeup? Mortal makeup is far too ordinary. Then he quickly pulled her along. If the Guardian doesn't believe me, please come with me. But before they took more than a few steps, the man behind them spoke sternly. Stop right there. Mirage C frowned and turned around. I only want to demonstrate my makeup skills. I have no ill intentions. I know you care deeply about the Guardian, but you should respect her wishes too. And Mo Van stopped him, and the two stared at Tik Vi Vi, one angry, the other aggrieved, leaving her utterly confused. Let me take a look first. Tik Vi Vi thought to herself. Afterward, I'll just tell him it doesn't suit me. Mirage C gave a confident snort, and Mo Van said, Wait, I'm coming too. After entering the room, Mirage C said, Guardian, please lie on the bed. Mo Van immediately frowned in objection. No, Mirage C asked innocently. The Guardian is fully clothed. Even if she lies down, what could I possibly do to her in front of you? But if the Guardian doesn't want to, then forget it. This is simply my makeup habit. If I don't do it this way, the makeup effect won't be properly achieved. Tik Vi Vi sighed helplessly and quickly laid down on the bed. It's fine. Go ahead, she thought to herself. It's just makeup, isn't it? The sooner it's over, the sooner I'm free. Mirage C promptly began working with practiced ease. Then she froze. But something still feels wrong. Who lies on a bed to have their makeup done? Wait, this feels like mortuary makeup. After a while, Mirage C declared confidently, Done. Looking at herself in the mirror, she was stunned. Wow, she was deeply surprised. Even though I'm a straight girl, I can't tell exactly where he did my makeup, but I really do look much prettier. Suddenly, the man behind her spoke. Ugly. She angrily turned around and shouted, What did you say? Mo Van looked away. You look more pleasing to my eyes without makeup. Mirage C said indignantly, Since you're also straight, I'll let you off. Then Tik Vi Vi happily grabbed his hand. Your skills are really good. You should work as a makeup artist. Mo Van has already managed to cover this month's expenses, so next month you can earn money. We'll take turns supporting the household. Mirage C smiled. All right, I definitely won't let the Guardian down. He cast a smug glance at Mo Van. Sooner or later, I'll replace you in the Guardian's heart. Suddenly, Tik Vi Vi said, Don't call me Guardian anymore. Just call me Tik Vi Vi. Mirage C immediately said, Vi Vi. A cold voice cut in. This month's living expenses are probably still not enough. Those words left her like a robot whose battery had died. She looked at Mo Van and stammered. What did you say? He calmly replied, Including the emotional damages you mortals talk about, the total compensation is 26,000 yuan. Her spirits completely collapsed. You mean we only have 34,000 yuan left? We have to repay the debt tomorrow. Why did you bring him home? As she spoke, she remembered the debt due on May 9th and angrily grabbed Mo Van by the clothes. On May 10th, Tik Vi Vi sat outside, staring intently at her phone while counting under her breath. Yuan, tens, hundreds, thousands. Why are we still 500 short? Seeing only 59,950 displayed on the screen, she darkly glanced at Mirage C beside her. He hurriedly explained, That's all. It's really all gone, Vi Vi. I did makeup all day, and I even begged the shop manager to let me owe 20,000. All my earnings went into this. Like an enraged capitalist, she interrogated him. It's really all gone? He immediately raised his hand in surrender. I truly don't have a single coin left. I would never deceive Vi. But when he lowered his hand, red banknotes fluttered down. The three of them fell into stunned silence. Tick Vi quickly picked them up, beaming. 5 bills, just enough. Mirage C's face twisted, but he consoled himself. It's fine. I can buy a phone later. Winning the Guardian's trust is more important right now. But why does my heart hurt so much? Then she suddenly hugged Mo Van. Now we can pay off the debt. You're our greatest contributor. This made him blush. What kind of improper behavior is this? Yet inwardly, he wondered, why does it feel like a deer is leaping about in my heart? Then she rushed over and hugged Mirage C too. You're a great contributor too. Keep working this hard next month. Mo Van became angry without realizing it. The deer in his heart had died. Mirage C winked at her and said eagerly, Vi, I have something I'd like to ask of you. She asked curiously, go ahead. I definitely. Before she could finish, a voice interrupted, stay away from her. Mo Van quickly squeezed himself between them. Mirage C blinked in confusion. Vi, could you come pick me up from work in the future? He asked angrily, but Mo Van immediately dismissed it. I'll pick you up after work from now on. Mirage C protested furiously. I only want Vi. I know you've always been prejudiced against me. I only want to become closer to Vi. He even gave Mo Van a friendly middle finger. Mo Van immediately lunged at him. It's not your turn, he thought angrily. Has he still not given up on using Tick Vi to overcome his love tribulation? What a lecherous heretic. Mirage C was no punching bag. He swiftly dodged aside. I can see it now. You never accepted me. You've always wanted to kill me, haven't you? Mo Van turned and shouted. You should never have descended to the mortal world. Mirage C refused to back down. I never competed with you for first place. Why do you have to go this far? Modi Dame Van sneered. First place? You think you deserve it? Stop pretending. Everyone in the immortal realm knows your true face. You can only fool simple-minded humans like Tick Vi. Tick Vi, who had been watching from the corner, got angry at being called simple-minded. Hey, why are you two arguing? You're insulting me too. Also, fight gently. If you break anything, the repair costs will go up again. At this, the two fighters abruptly paused. Mo Van looked at Mirage C and said, let go. If I had taken out the Jade Frost Sword just now, you would already be dead. Mirage C yanked open Mo Van's belt, exposing his chest muscles. Mo Van retaliated by grabbing Mirage C's belt and pulling it down until only his cotton pants remained. The scene left the woman behind them utterly dumbfounded. Covering her face with both hands, she screamed inwardly, what exactly are you two doing? If you keep this up, we'll all be hauled off to the police station. Mirage C adjusted his clothes and glared angrily at Mo Van. Give me back my belt. I know you can't stand me, but you don't need to ruin my innocence in front of the Guardian. Mo Van casually tossed it back. Shameless. Mirage C's anger flared even more as he complained. Vi, look at him. He took off my pants and refuses to take responsibility. What a scumbag. Tick Vi was speechless. Mo Van staggered away, silently holding a grudge. Sooner or later, I'll kill you. Mirage C appeared behind him and said, young lord, did you come looking for me in the middle of the night? Now that you no longer have the law enforcement staff, I'm afraid you can't kill me either. Mo Van raised his voice. Stop pretending. He swiftly turned to face him. There are countless ways to overcome a tribulation, but using a woman is truly shameless. You'd better abandon that idea immediately. Mirage C snorted coldly. The method I use has nothing to do with you. Have you become addicted to controlling me just because you were an immortal realm law enforcer? Or could it be that you like Tick Vi? Mo Van merely replied coldly. I've said all I need to say. Handle it yourself. Mirage C thought to himself. Abandon the idea? But Mo Van, do you know that fate has decreed we will turn against each other because of that woman? Then Mirage C recalled hearing that the Lotus platform could reveal one's past and present lives. I'd like to see it for myself. In the illusion, Mo Van drove a sword through his chest. Mirage C was shocked. Is this the past or the future? At that moment, a phone vibrated. Tick Vi quickly insulted. Hello. The caller immediately said, hi, it's Hatch Veem. Her mind immediately began racing. What a warm voice. Hatch Veem? That name sounds familiar. Seeing her silence, he continued, you probably don't remember me. We were high school classmates. Here's the thing. This reunion is being held in Nanduo Town. Since I can't show my face publicly, I asked Ngu Hugh Lu to contact you earlier. Only then did she remember the call that had interrupted her surveillance of Mirage C. Oh, you mean that machine that shoots up to the sky? Unknown Guhula. He didn't say anything else. He only said there was a reunion and that I absolutely had to attend. Why would he do that? He really went too far. Of course I remember you. It's fine, just a small matter. Okay, send me the address. Then she skipped away excitedly. I can't believe a handsome guy asked me out. Yay, time to shower. I love bathing and taking care of my skin. What should I wear tomorrow? Behind her, Mo Van silently watched. A new message appeared on the phone on the table. Ding. Hatch Veem, I'll wait for you at Elegant Moon Manor at 10 tomorrow morning. Seeing the message, he was puzzled. She was so happy answering the phone because she was meeting this man. More message alerts sounded. Ding ding. He glanced at her phone and thought, the Guardian's private matters have nothing to do with me. The handbook also says I should respect other people's privacy. The alerts continued, ringing nonstop. Then a call came in. The sounds irritated him. Fine. He quickly picked up the phone and answered. The caller immediately said, Vi, did you see the message I just sent? There are a few other things. I thought it over and feel it would be better to call and tell you directly. Molib Daneven replied coldly. Speak. Hearing his voice, the caller suddenly fell silent. Mo Van continued unhurriedly. She's asleep. Whatever you need to say to her, you can say to me. After a moment of silence, Hatch Veem asked, Are you Vi's boyfriend? Mo Van answered. No. Hatch Veem exploded. If you're not, then answering her phone without permission is disrespectful to her. Mo Van immediately countered. You keep calling in the middle of the night. Do you have ulterior motives? Hatch Veem replied, That has nothing to do with. Before he could finish, Mo Van interrupted. She is mine. Then he hung up, thinking angrily, this Hatch Veem is definitely not simple when it comes to Tik Vi. The next morning, Tik Vi was fully dressed and ready. She stared blankly at the phone on the stone table. Did I really leave it here? She quickly picked it up and slipped it into her pocket, then turned to instruct the two men behind her. I'm going to a reunion today. Stay home and behave yourselves. Don't cause any trouble for me. And Mo Van said, I want to go too. Behind him, Mirage C added, Take me with you as well. She simply turned away. You're my classmates, so why would you come along? Be good and wait at home. The two men fell silent, then exchanged meaningful looks. If I go too, he'll surely cause trouble again. Mirage C gave Mo Van a provocative look. It's obvious she's going to meet a man. Is Mo Van just going to ignore it? The two silently reached an agreement. They would go together. Mirage C suddenly asked, But do you have modern clothes? Mo Van replied confidently, Of course I do. After changing, the two quickly headed out. The two froze when they saw each other. Mirage C said, Vi bought this outfit for me. Mo Van replied, Naturally, vi both mean too. They both thought at the same time, very well. So Vi bought matching outfits for the two of us in bulk. At Elegant Moon Manor, Mo Van looked around and murmured, Where do we go next? Mirage C, standing beside him, replied, I'm looking. The girls behind them excitedly said, Look at them. They're such a perfect match. They're even wearing matching outfits. Someone else added, That beauty and handsome young man are unbelievably gorgeous beyond gender. Suddenly, a familiar figure rushed over, grabbed both their hands, and pulled them away. Mirage C was left bewildered. In an alley, Tik Vi stared at the two men before her and demanded, Why are you two following me? Didn't I tell you to stay home and wait obediently? Mirage C quickly said, Vi, don't mortals have a saying? Since we're already here. Hearing that, she snapped, Is that how that saying is supposed to be used? Just then, a car stopped nearby. She hurriedly signaled to the two behind her. Shoo! At that moment, someone stepped out of the car. It was Hatch Veem, the man who had fought Mo Van last night. Mo Van leaned close and murmured, You arrived half an hour early just to watch them meet? The person beside him replied, Of course not. I just wanted to see what Ngu Hu Lu was plotting by hiding the fact that Hatch Veem had invited me. The scene was not especially surprising. Watching the two chat so happily, Mirage C remarked, Wow, this Hatch Veem guy seems pretty decent. Vi immediately explained, Of course. You two are second-generation immortals, while he's a second-generation rich kid. Don't any beautiful immortals pursue you? Then she suddenly turned around and asked, Wait, aren't people in your immortal realm forbidden from getting married? Mirage C looked at Mo Van and answered, How could that be? Once one has completed their tribulation, as long as their status and immortal rank are equal, they can marry. Isn't that right? Molib Dane Van frowned in displeasure. Nevertheless, Mirage C continued. Master even arranged a woman for you to undergo a love tribulation with. Vivius gossiping instincts instantly flared up. A woman for a love tribulation? Do you have a fiancé? Mirage C hurriedly replied. She is more or less like a mortal fiancé. At the same time, Mo Van shouted angrily. Shut up. Nearby, the woman said. I asked Vi, but she seemed unavailable. Before she could finish, another voice cut in. You shut up. Then a voice rang out. I think you're obviously feeling guilty. Those words drew both their attention. Tik Vi stood between them with her hands on her hips, frowning. What's wrong with hearing a little gossip? Why are you yelling? Does it prove your voice is louder? Seeing that the other party was in trouble, Mirage C tried to soothe her. Don't be angry. The important matter comes first. Meanwhile, Mo Van thought irritably. This woman is clearly the one herself. Suddenly, someone called from behind, Vi. She awkwardly stepped forward. I'm late. I'm so sorry. But she did not forget to turn back and warn the two behind her. Hide yourselves properly. Don't cause me any more trouble. Hatch Veem's companion smiled awkwardly and said, Long time no see, Vi. You're even prettier than you were in high school. I almost didn't recognize you. Yet inwardly, she complained, damn it. Why is she here? Has she gotten in touch with Hatch Veem? She had better not get in the way of my path to wealth. Then she rushed over and said warmly, Vi, I'm in charge of this reunion. If there's anything you don't like, just tell me. Hearing that, Vi politely shook her hand. Oh, please. I haven't even done anything. What could she possibly find fault with? Still, she could not help sneering inwardly. What a fine display of scheming. From a distance, Hatch Veem spoke up. Being ignored by two beautiful ladies is a little hurtful, you know. Vi asked, oh, right? What did you need my help with? Hatch Veem put on a pitiful expression. Well, it's like this. I want to stay at your place for the next few days. The woman in front of him was stunned. What? He asked softly. Would that be okay? Tik Vi screamed inwardly. Mirage C alone is already enough for the young lord to turn Tribulation Courtyard upside down. Now you want to come too? Meanwhile, Mirage C hurriedly reported, I can't believe that Brat is a romantic rival. He even dares to seduce the Guardian. Molib Dane Fun. Huh? Where did he go? While he stood there blankly searching for his companion, Vi cautiously said, can I discuss it with my boyfriend first? Suddenly, someone called Tik Vi. She immediately turned toward the voice. The moment she saw Mo Van, she excitedly called, Honey, we were just talking about you. Her eyes sparkled as she took his hand, thinking, You're my lifesaver. The person opposite them blushed in confusion. She called me what? Then Vi's words struck him like a bolt. Honey, Mr. Hatch says he wants to stay at our place for a few days. Inwardly, she prayed, hurry up and say no. The other party froze. This woman truly dares to say anything. She deserves punishment. Still, considering that she was only doing this to deal with others, he raised his head and answered calmly, It's fine. Since he's Vi's friend, let him stay. Inwardly, he thought, Hatch Veem's origins are highly suspicious. He is far too attentive toward Tik Vi, and the aura around him is incompatible with the immortal realm. Vi was left dumbfounded. At the same time, Hatch Veem smiled and said, Then thank you, Vi's boyfriend. Why did you let him stay at our house? He has made his intentions so obvious. Are you really taking the bait? Meanwhile, Mirage C looked like a beauty whose true feelings had been rejected, resentfully biting a handkerchief. Honey. Isn't that bastard going to be happy to death? No way. He quickly dashed forward and happily called, Wifey. Everyone present froze. The moment Mo Van saw who had arrived, he shot him a scorching glare. Mirage C linked arms with Vi and whined, Wifey, why didn't you wait for me? The person opposite them could not help asking, And who is this? Vi's face went pale. Well, Hatch Veem interrupted, He's your boyfriend too? Ngu Hu Lu, standing nearby, spoke enviously. First there was the immortal lord of Nanduo, then this stunning beauty. Just how many husbands do you have? Suddenly, Mirage C said, Cousin, you can let go now. I'm here, so you don't need to help take care of Vi. Molib Dane Van S anger flared. Is cousin something you can call me so casually? You are the one who should let go. Mirage C merely said, I know you care about Vi, cousin, but some things are better left to her boyfriend. Then he lowered his voice. Both officers at the police station know you're Vai's cousin. Mo Van angrily demanded, "You dare threaten me?" Seeing this, Vai hurriedly tried to mediate. "All right, stop arguing. Mr. Hatch wants to stay at our tribulation courtyard for a few days. Hurry up and show him the way." Hatch Veem simply said, "Then we'll be going first." Yulu. She froze before hastily answering, "Oh, okay." Inwardly, she cursed, damn it, yet she still forced herself to speak pleasantly. "Remember to come early for the party tomorrow." Vivi waved. Got it. The relationships had become completely tangled. The man beside her had become her boyfriend, while the man she had just called Honey was supposedly her boyfriend's cousin. In the living room of Tribulation Courtyard, Vai pulled Mo Van aside and whispered, "What were you thinking? Is Tribulation Courtyard the kind of place where you can casually let guests stay?" Mo Van answered calmly, "He is not an ordinary guest. I have some suspicions about his identity, though I cannot be certain. You must stay away from him." Vai frowned thoughtfully, then answered, "Got it. But where is he going to sleep? Tribulation Courtyard does not open new rooms for ordinary mortals." Mo Van replied confidently, "I have already arranged everything." Vai could not help saying angrily, "You really did make thorough preparations." Suddenly, his face reddened and he coughed. "Let him sleep in your room. You can sleep with me." Vai exclaimed in shock, "What?" Later, in the bedroom, she lay on the bed with an extremely provocative expression and said, "Sleep together? Fine, come here. Why aren't you getting into bed?" Mo Van blushed and hurriedly hugged the blanket. "You woman, you truly have no shame. By sleeping together, I will sleep on the bed, and you will sleep on the small bed. Vivi remained perfectly composed. Then you should get into bed and sleep too." Suddenly, a hand grabbed his wrist, and he was swiftly pressed down onto the bed. What's there to be embarrassed about? Just think of it as undergoing a love tribulation. It's not as if we haven't slept together before. The man beneath her panicked. Men and women should keep their distance. "Get off me immediately." At that moment, Mirage C pushed open the door unexpectedly, hugging a pillow. Vivi. But when he saw the scene before him, all three of them froze stiffly. Mirage C exploded, demanding, "Mo Van, what are you trying to do to Vai?" Molly Dane Van was bewildered. Clearly, she is the one doing something to me. Vai suddenly felt a little embarrassed as she looked at the newcomer. "Didn't you take Hatch Veem to my room? Why are you here?" Mirage C promptly threw Mo Van onto the floor and replied, "It's hard to sleep alone, so I came to keep her company." Mo Van got up behind them, seeing Mirage C's fawning behavior and thinking angrily, "This fox. I can't believe he dares." He grabbed Mirage C by the collar and dragged him away, then quickly laid down in the middle and neatly covered himself with the blanket. Both of them stared in disbelief, but Mo Van merely said, "It's late. Go to sleep." Vai could not resist teasing him. "Weren't you the one saying men and women should keep their distance?" The other man immediately pressed his advantage. "What cousin sleeps together with his female cousin and her husband? You should go sleep in my room." Mo Van glared at him furiously. "Say that again." Seeing the two of them about to fight, Vai hurriedly separated them. "Oh, honestly, let's just sleep like this. Stop fighting." The next morning, Hatch Veem sat outside when the door creaked open. "Ziek wie emerged looking refreshed." "Good morning, Mr. Hatch. Did you sleep well last night?" Behind her, the two men looked like pandas, glaring at each other with dark circles under their eyes. Hatch Veem was bewildered. Did the three of them sleep together? Tik Vai really cannot be judged by appearances. He quickly regained his composure. "Tribulation Courtyard is secluded and peaceful, so naturally I slept very well." As he spoke, he handed her a carefully prepared gift box. Vivi stared blankly. "This is," he hurriedly explained, "the theme of this reunion is a spring outing through the old town in traditional attire. I forgot to tell you earlier, so consider this my apology." Vivi happily accepted it. This is an extremely valuable set of fine times, splendid attire. Seeing her delight, Hatch Veem said, "That's right. This outfit is sold as a matching set with the one I'm wearing. But I don't have a female companion, so I could only give it to you. I hope you don't mind." Vai replied excitedly, "In that case, I can't possibly refuse." "Thank you. I'll go try it on right away." A while later, the bedroom door clicked open again, and all three men stood frozen. Vai walked out in her new outfit and eagerly asked, "Well?" The moment Mo Van saw her, his heart shook. Why does this figure look so familiar? But why can't I remember? A familiar silhouette surfaced in his mind. Hatchveem immediately answered, "It's beautiful. It suits you very well." Mirage C stood to one side without saying a word, merely observing in silence. Vai smiled endlessly at the compliment. "Aha, you really know how to talk. I like people who tell the truth." Mirage C silently thought, this outfit. Did Hatchveem do this on purpose, or is it merely a coincidence? Hatchveem looked at the two men behind Vai as he spoke. "Then we'll be off." "Oh, right, it's just a gathering of old classmates. Would you two like to come along?" "Vi fit somewhat cool." They probably don't want to go. Suddenly, the two men answered in unison. "Of course we do." At Elegant Moon Manor, Mo Van and Mirage C sat on either side of Tick Vai. The sight quickly attracted everyone's attention. Someone asked, Vai, who is this?" "Vivi Foles." He is." Before she could finish, Mirage C grabbed her hand and interrupted. "I am Vai's boyfriend. We are in a relationship." The person opposite them frowned angrily. The others present were stunned. "What?" Then questions came flooding in. "How old are you? Which company do you work for? Do you own a house and car? How much do you make? Are you planning to marry Vai?" Mirage C stood up and calmly answered every question. "I'm 25. I own a house, but do not have a car for the time being. I work in makeup and aesthetic coordination for the human face and body. If Vai agrees, I can marry into her family. My annual salary is 600,000, and it can increase further. Does anyone have any more questions?" Everyone was left speechless, except for Mo Van, who was glaring at him so fiercely that sparks seemed ready to fly. A young man raised his hand and asked, "Then the man sitting beside her is?" Before Mo Van could answer, Mirage C hurriedly cut in. "He is Vai's cousin. He has stomach trouble, so he freeloads at our place all day. I can answer any questions about him on his behalf." Those words only further provoked Mo Van's fury. "Mirage!" Suddenly, a hand grabbed both of them. "I think you two need to use the restroom, don't you?" Inwardly, she thought, if you want to fight, go outside and fight. Outside, Mo Van said irritably, "Now we've both been kicked out. Are you satisfied?" Mirage C remained stubborn. "I wasn't wrong. You have nothing to do, so you freeload at Tribulation Courtyard all day." Mo Van narrowed his eyes. "That is because I have been blacklisted." The other man did not care. "Excuses. Oh, right. Judging by the timing, the person undergoing a tribulation should be arriving soon. Do you know who it is?" Molly Dane Van answered. The knock. At the same time, an image appeared in both their minds. A human-headed snail slowly crawling along. The sight left them speechless. Then Hatchveem suddenly appeared, drawing both their attention. Mo Van said, "I didn't expect Mr. Hatch to have a hobby of eavesdropping." Hatchveem replied leisurely, "I simply felt that you two had been gone too long, so I came to get you. If you don't return soon, I won't be able to stop them from getting Vai drunk." Mo Van immediately stepped in front of him. "Who gave you permission to call her Vai?" Hatchveem answered smugly, "Why can't I? Sooner or later, Vai will be mine." Mo Van fell silent. Behind him, Mirage C asked, "What's wrong?" Mo Van merely answered, "Nothing. Let's go." His behavior left Mirage C confused. Meanwhile, Tick Vai stood on a table, holding a glass of malt beer and shouting excitedly, "Everyone, bottoms up! I'm about to start a human resources company. Everyone is welcome to come to Tribulation Courtyard and work with me. I'll drink first." The others, already somewhat drunk, enthusiastically joined in. Suddenly, someone called Tick Vai. She turned her head with a puzzled sound, lost her balance, and fell. Mo Van rushed forward in alarm and caught her. Vai threw her arms around him excitedly. "Oh my, it's a handsome man." Then she gave him a kiss as a bonus. Everyone present was shocked speechless. At that moment, Mirage C entered. "What's going on?" The moment he saw the scene, he frowned and roared. The others looked at him sympathetically and whispered, Tiske. Didn't they say he was her cousin? Rich people really do have unusual tastes. Her official boyfriend is right here. Isn't this cheating? Mirage C immediately interrupted, glaring furiously at Mo Van. "What did you do to her this time?" Molly Dane von blushed. "I'm sorry, but she was the one who kissed me." Hatchveem suddenly walked in. "What's going on?" "I just heard Vai say that she wants to start a company." Someone in the group was avidly watching the melodramatic love triangle unfold. Hearing the question, Vai replied with great excitement, "That's right, a company." Hatchveem asked, "Actually, since Vai has management abilities and can judge a person's character, I would rather have you work for my company." After all, you cannot leave Tribulation Courtyard, can you? Lohinki Tio Mo Van silently watched him with vigilance, while Mirage C inwardly roared. This Hatch Veem is really something. He wants to steal her too? She can't leave? How does he know that? Drunk, Vai pounded her chest and declared, no need. Don't worry, all of you. Tik Vai will absolutely never leave you. Mo Van quickly caught her and lifted her into his arms, then looked at the others. My older cousin has had too much to drink. We'll take our leave. Back at Tribulation Courtyard, Mo Van sat in meditation to calm himself when Tik Vai mumbled in her sleep. Handsome man, sleep with me. As he stood there silently pondering, however unwilling he was to admit it, Mirage C was right. He really had nothing to do now and was entirely relying on Tik Vai and Mirage C. He softly asked, but how am I supposed to find a job? Suddenly, someone hugged him from behind. Her drunken, slurred voice rang out. Handsome, I heard you're proficient in the 4 arts, zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting. But you've been in the mortal world for so long, and I've never heard you play the zither. Will you play something for me? His body stiffened, and his face flushed as he thought awkwardly, what does she take me for? The person in his arms whined. Please? Helplessly, he coughed. Just a short piece. He then played a brief melody. Suddenly, she spoke softly. Actually, you don't need to worry about whether you can find a job. You're so good at keeping people in line. You'd be perfect as a homeroom teacher. Whatever you did in heaven, just do that job now. Leaning against him, she continued mumbling, Judge, a lawyer. Everything will work itself out. Before she could finish, she fell into a deep sleep. Seeing this, he smiled helplessly. I'll give it some more thought. Tigvivi Kogilu open house. Her body was falling freely through the air. There's a white dragon below. She swiftly landed on its back, then frowned and thought, am I dreaming? Where is this? A steady voice suddenly spoke. This is the heart of Mirror Heart Courtyard. She was even more shocked. A dragon is talking to me? It calmly replied. What we just passed was the shore of white lotuses, a place for immortals who have entered their tribulation, those awaiting their tribulation, or those who have successfully passed it. This must be the shore of red lotuses, the opposite of the shore of white lotuses. Confused, she asked then, are those babies on top of the flowers? The dragon slowly explained, the red lotuses are fallen demons. The lotus flowers floating between the two shores are lost immortals. She could not help but be astonished. The other party continued, if that's the case, then I'd have to introduce myself again every few decades. I'd be exhausted to death. She sat beside one of the babies. This child looked very familiar. But just as she reached out to touch it, the dragon cried out in alarm, Hey, don't touch it. It shouted, put it down. The dragon transformed into a young boy and rushed over in a panic. She was flustered. Why you? How did you? Ignoring her, he quickly snatched the child back. You dare touch something when you don't even know what it is? Guides these days really know how to make trouble. With that, he used magic to tuck the other babies back into their flowers. Tik Vai slowly rose to her feet. Who are you? He turned around. Fi. Hearing that, she could not help thinking. So Tyre Phi is such a cute little boy. I really want to hug and pet him. Suddenly, he said, since you were able to come here, it means Mirror Heart Courtyard has accepted you. We can discuss everything else later. Someone outside is calling for you now, so get out there quickly. Then he kicked her flying out. She was left bewildered. Before she left, he added, oh, right. This is something that Kid Mo Van asked me to give you. He tossed a wooden box after her. At that moment, a voice sounded outside. Vai still hasn't woken up? I am sorry. I failed to keep an eye on them. A disdainful voice replied, there's no one here. Mr. Hatch, there's no need to put on an act. At the same time, she slowly woke up and quickly opened the door. Seeing the two men before her, she frowned and questioned Mo Van. What kind of attitude is that? Is that how you treat a guest? He angrily thought, this woman really can't tell good from bad. Suddenly, Hatch Veem noticed the box in her hand. Vai, what is that? She was startled. Oh, this. The man beside her swiftly snatched it away and placed it in Hatch Veem's hands. Since you gave Vai such an expensive traditional outfit, Mirror Heart Courtyard naturally had to prepare a return gift. His quick move startled her. Hatch Veem eyed the box suspiciously. So it wasn't for me? Mo Van is kind enough to prepare a return gift, too. Yet the man before him merely said, "Take it." He thought, these prayer beads bear a spell from Mirror Heart Courtyard. This is the perfect chance to use Vi as an excuse to test him. Then he said, "Mr. Hatch, won't you try putting them on?" Looking at the beads inside, Hatch Veem said, "You're being too polite." Vi added, "Hatch Veem, don't be so formal with me. It's only proper to return a gift." He did not refuse. "All right, then I'll accept." But inwardly, he thought, I can't let Vi become suspicious. He touched the beads and quickly put them on his wrist. They fit perfectly. "Thank you for the return gift." The person opposite him watched in secret while she smiled. "As long as you like them." He thought suspiciously, nothing seems wrong. Was I just being overly cautious? Hatchbeam knocked on a door and called out, "Du-Duong, Du-Duong, open the door." Someone inside quickly replied, "Coming." The wrist wearing the beads had turned bright red. Seeing this, Du-Duong hurriedly supported him. "Hatchbeam, what's wrong?" When Du-Duong saw the bracelet on his wrist, he panicked. "A demon-suppressing, bone-eroding bracelet? Are you insane? You actually put that on?" Hatch Veem raised a hand reduced to bare bones and weakly said, "I wore it because Imovan used Vi as an excuse to test me. He already suspects me. Don't release too much demonic power." Furious, Du-Duong snatched away the beads. "Bear with it, He threw them to the ground. "It's off." Then he turned to the person beside him. "Why did he become suspicious of you? You clearly sealed your power." Hatch Veem replied softly, "For now, he only suspects me. He has no proof. Tikvai knows even less. We'll continue with our plan as usual." Du-Duong angrily said, "We should have done as I said from the beginning. We should have killed Tikvai directly. But you insisted on taking this roundabout approach." Before he could finish, Hatch Veem cut him off. "Enough. Du-Duong, I want to rest for a while. Please help me to the bath." The other man was annoyed. "You." But he still quickly helped him into the tub. As Du-Duong was about to leave, Hatch Veem called out, "Du-Duong, Vi being alive is more beneficial to us. Don't touch her." Du-Duong soon arrived at Mirror Heart Courtyard. As he folded Hatch Veem's clothes, he said, "You've only been here a few days, and you already have to leave. I've really troubled you." Tigvivi smiled. "It's no trouble. These clothes wrinkle easily, so I'll help you." He answered, "Oh, then I'll trouble you with it." She sat down and began folding his things. "By the way, is Hatchbeam all right? He left in such a hurry this morning. He seemed a little unwell." He replied, "Sigh, it's just company business. He had to hurry back and deal with it. He's perfectly healthy. What could possibly be wrong?" Yet inwardly, he kept wondering, has she become suspicious too? The woman beside him merely said, "That's good then." After a while, she wiped away her sweat and said, "All done. Folded this way, they won't wrinkle, and the suitcase can hold a lot more too." Looking at the neatly packed suitcase, Du-Duong could not help exclaiming, "Thank you. But Vi, do you have a boyfriend?" She hesitated awkwardly. "Huh, I." Before she could finish, he interrupted, "Don't try to fool me with that fake husband. Do you plan to date someone?" Thick Vi answered calmly, "Not for the time being." Inside, she wailed, "I'm drowning in debt and going crazy trying to pay it off. How could I possibly be in the mood to look for a man?" Hearing this, a glow suddenly flashed around Du-Duong. "Then you," at that moment a voice sounded from inside the room. "Then you, Mirage, see happened to be passing by." Seeing Du-Duong talking with Tikvai, he noticed what was in the man's hand. Filled with suspicion and vigilance, he thought, what is that in his hand? Could it be? An extremely violent scene immediately appeared in his mind. The other man pinning her down, brandishing a knife and stabbing downward again and again with a cruel, domineering smile. "Then go die." Ha ha ha. His eyes gleamed. This was clearly a perfect chance to play the hero, saving the beauty and win Tikvai's trust. The other man suddenly proposed, "Then you. What do you think of me?" Before he could finish, a figure abruptly stepped between them. "What are you holding in your hand?" Du-Duong pushed him aside with one hand and eagerly held up his phone. "This is only a portion of my personal assets, probably around 8 figures. As long as you agree to be my girlfriend, all of this will be yours." She hesitated awkwardly. I'm very touched, but feelings can't be treated as a transaction." Before she could finish, he pressed on, "Is money not enough? I also have dozens of properties under my name." The person standing nearby was utterly dumbfounded. Helplessly, she said, "Class monitor, you'll meet someone better. Aren't you busy? You should get going." He sighed. "All right, if you change your mind, come find me anytime." She quickly saw him out of Mirror Heart Courtyard. When she returned, she found Mirage cease staring at her. Why are you looking at me like that? Did you need something from me? He fell silent for a moment. It's nothing important. Yet he was deeply puzzled. Isn't she desperate to pay off her debt? Why would she reject someone like that? She stared blankly. What did you say? Suddenly, the door was forcefully pushed open, and a sobbing young woman cried out, Mirage C. She rushed over and grabbed him. Mirage C, you can't leave. Seeing this, Vai could not resist teasing him. Oh my, you've got romantic baggage too? After recognizing the woman, Mirage C explained, I used to work at a cosmetics shop. She's the owner of that shop. Vivi blinked. Used to. Looking at the woman clinging to his leg, he slowly explained, She was also the one who lent me the $20,000 I used to pay off this month's debt. Now that I've repaid the debt, I don't want to keep working at the cosmetics shop. The young woman immediately said, I'll raise your salary. You can have as much a raise as you want, but please don't quit, okay? He replied softly, that's not it. Then his gaze suddenly fell on Mo Van approaching. The shop owner was still desperately pleading. Please reconsider, Sobi. The moment he spotted his rival, his eyes glinted as he prepared to stir up trouble. He rushed over and grabbed Vai's hand. Vai, haven't you told Ching about us? The woman herself asked in panic. What is there between us? But before she could say more, he puckered his lips. Wife, come on, give me a kiss. The woman on the floor felt as if her heart had shattered into pieces. Suddenly, a fist planted itself in Mirage C's face. Holding his face after being hit, he shouted, You dare hit me? Mo Van was just as furious. You dare have improper thoughts about her. Tik Vai quickly helped the woman on the ground up. Don't be sad. A man like that isn't worth crying over. I'll introduce you to someone better. The woman looked at her with tearful, sparkling eyes. So you're not his girlfriend? Vivi Faunil. Of course not. If we have any kind of relationship at all, you can think of me as his mother. While the two men were exchanging blows, those words reached Mirage C's ears. Teague VV, what did you say? As he spoke, he rolled up his sleeves and charged forward furiously. But before he could take more than a few steps, Mo Van grabbed him by the collar. Come inside with me. Stop making a spectacle of yourself out here. He was caught off guard. Let go of me, you bastard. You tore my clothes again. How many more of my clothes are you going to tear before you're satisfied? Mo Van shouted angrily. Shut up. The door shut behind them. Vivi nodded remorsefully. Exactly. That's the kind of relationship they have. Seeing the bewildered look on the woman's face, she thought, the best cure for heartbreak is shipping a couple. I understand. We can only let the young lord and fox lord make this sacrifice. The woman hurriedly wiped away her tears. I was too rude just now. I won't disturb them anymore, and I won't disturb you either. It's okay. If I don't have love, I still have my career. I'm going to stock up on merchandise. I'll become the owner of the #1 cosmetics shop in Nanduo town. Seeing her fired-up determination, Vai waved from behind her. You can do it. Then she quickly went inside as the door creaked shut. But once she opened the room door, the silence inside was strangely heavy. The two men within had disheveled clothing and were covered in minor injuries, as if they had just gone through an incredibly intense fight. Seeing this, she quickly shut the door. Sorry for interrupting. I'll pretend I didn't see anything. Molly Dane Van panicked. Wait. As he spoke, he hurriedly stood up and adjusted his clothes. But the man behind him, still blazing with anger, stepped on his lower body and sent him toppling forward. Vivi started in hook. Her face burning red, she screamed inwardly, No, I can't take such a devastating blow. Are they testing whether I can survive a love tribulation? But then again, if I overcome a love tribulation, can I become an immortal? As she looked at his utterly miserable state, Mo Van lost his balance and fell on top of her. She was stunned. Mo Van glared angrily at the culprit behind him. Mirage C, get off me. Meanwhile, Mirage C smugly thought, mortal women have always hated bold, aggressive men. If I do this, Tik Vai will surely come to hate that damn bastard, right? But her words froze him in place. You two fight and bicker all day, and you even take your clothes off. You're perfectly suited for one of those love-hate dramas. Mirage C, don't tell me you're in love with the young lord without even realizing it. Mirage C was shocked to the core. I'm in love with him. That night, Mirage C climbed through the window into her room and could not help letting out a burp. Tik Vai was sleeping soundly inside. He stood beside her with a flushed face, holding a bottle of wine. He recalled what she had said earlier. You keep following him, provoking him, and drawing his attention. If that isn't love, what is? He muttered to himself, I wasn't trying to get his attention. I was trying to get hers. I only wanted to use her to pass my tribulation. Then he softly called, Tik Vi Vi. After that, he unconsciously climbed onto the bed. The next morning, a scream echoed throughout Mirror Heart Courtyard. Why did you come in here? Were you trying to scam this rich woman out of money? Without holding back, she kicked him straight onto the floor. At the same time, knocking sounded outside the door. Knock, knock. What happened? Hearing Imo Van's voice, Mirage C instinctively started to answer, Aye. But before he could finish, she rushed over and covered his mouth. Sure. She thought anxiously, if the young lord comes in and sees this, they'll definitely start fighting. She quickly called out, It's nothing. Her eyes urged the man behind her to hurry. Mirage C, get out now. Before she could finish, she saw him starting to take off his clothes. What are you doing? Don't take your clothes off. He pouted indignantly. I just wanted to see whether I was bruised anywhere. Your kick hurt me a lot. A creaking sound came from inside the room, along with Tik Vi Vi's voice. Mirage C. At that very moment, Imo Van pushed the door open. He saw her clutching Mirage C's clothes, while Mirage C looked at him with a smug expression. The sight made anyone who walked in furious. She quickly stopped him. Wait, I can explain. Don't fight anymore, okay? But that man had no sense of propriety and even provoked him. Oh my, I slept wonderfully last night. Many thanks to Wei Wei for her hospitality. As he spoke, Huan Hai casually adjusted his clothes. Those words snapped the last thread of the other man's reason. Burning with rage, he charged forward. She quickly grabbed him from behind. Young lord, please calm down. Meanwhile, the troublemaker smugly covered his ears and ran away. Suddenly, her phone chimed with a notification. Ding! A newcomer has descended to the mortal world. Please proceed to guide them. Hearing this, she quickly picked up her phone and looked at the two men behind her. Stop fighting. A newcomer has arrived. Let's go see who it is. Outside, he looked around curiously. Where is he? Where? If it was Shun Yu, he was probably resting in some corner. After all, he was unbelievably lazy and would never willingly go to work. But when he noticed the person beside him staring at him, he started picking a fight again. What are you looking at? For the guide's sake, let's call a truce from now on. Hearing that, she took his fan and frowned. That's even less acceptable. We have to make him repay the debt with us. Let's split up and search. She hurried forward, but accidentally stepped on a hand. Oh my god, WH, what is this? Why is there only one arm? As she spoke, she clung tightly to Muyin. Meanwhile, he stared at the hand protruding from the formation. At the sight, he calmly said, It's Shun Yu. The person behind him panicked. It's just one arm? The other replied evenly, No, only his arm has made it through so far. At the same time, he spoke up as well. Looks like he intends to stay over there. Forget it, let's disperse. It'll take him months to crawl through the gateway between the Immortal Realm and Tranquil Heart Academy. Sure, Wei Wei could not help worrying. Wait, we're just leaving him like that. Only one of his arms is here. Is that really okay? But the two men ignored her and headed in separate directions. The sight made her shout, Neither of you is going to work today? Then what about the debt from your tribulations? Huan Hai, what are you planning to do after resigning? Young lord, you should also reconsider that job I mentioned before. Hey! After returning to her room, she cried out helplessly, What guide? I'm clearly just the foster mother of a bunch of innocent children. My adorable little babies. She promptly began her bedtime routine. The door is locked tight, and the windows are locked too. Early to bed and early to rise, preserving perfect beauty. Tomorrow, I'll be a beautiful young maiden again. But just as she drifted off, she fell into the crimson lotus shore. This place is Dai Erfei spoke when he saw her awaken. You're here. Hearing this, her mind was still foggy with sleep. Resting his chin on one hand, he looked at her and said, I sent you away too hurriedly before, so I forgot to tell you a few things. They're only minor details, but it's fine to tell you now. You've probably noticed the gray hairs appearing on your head these past few days. The guide's lifespan is closely tied to whether those undergoing tribulation succeed. If even one person undergoing a tribulation makes no progress in a single day, you will grow one gray hair and your lifespan will decrease by 1 month. Conversely, if you help an immortal successfully overcome a tribulation, your lifespan will increase greatly. But take it easy. After all, your predecessors only lived for a few decades, and successfully overcoming a tribulation is not easy for immortals. She rushed forward and grabbed his collar, startling him. But the woman before him angrily roared. Why didn't you tell me something this important sooner? I'm a beautiful young woman in the bloom of youth, and now I have to die early? As she spoke, she shook Dai Erfei violently, leaving him dizzy and nauseated. Impudent, let go of me. Sure Wei Wei wiped away her tears and said miserably, when I die, please bury me. But I don't even know when I'll die. When I inherited this place, I never imagined I wouldn't live long. Life really has its ups and downs. As she sobbed, her phone suddenly chimed with a message. Ding! Tranquil Heart Academy Family Group. Pinned messages. Mu Yun. Anyone who swears must copy the heart-clearing mantra 100 times. Hey Yen, are you coming to Beijing? I want to discuss a collaboration with you. Dai Erfei. Stop talking. Lord Limp sent a photo. Here's my new makeup look. Isn't it pretty? After reading the messages, she suddenly jumped up excitedly. A collaboration? A collaboration means I can find jobs for those immortals, and that means my lifespan can be extended. She quickly opened her chat with Hey Yen. Are you coming to Beijing? I want to discuss a collaboration with you. She immediately replied, I'm on my way. Then she opened her chat with Dai Erfei. Stop talking. Seeing that, she abruptly asked, Can I use you as transportation? Confused, he sent back a question mark before replying, No, of course not. But the rear gate in the back courtyard can teleport you. She asked, It can do that? As expected of Tranquil Heart Academy. In the back courtyard, she stared at the door in amazement. Red Gotha, oh Red Gotha. I want to go to Beijing. She clasped her hands and prayed sincerely, but there was no response. Panic rose in her heart. Was that brat lying to her? Or had she used the wrong incantation? At that moment, the door stretched and spoke. My apologies. I have been asleep for too long, so my reactions are a little slow. But, young lady, you must tell me the exact location. Beijing is enormous. If you only say Beijing, I'll be completely lost. Sure Wei Wei was at a loss. How am I supposed to give you my location? Suddenly, a figure appeared behind her, while the door promptly instructed her, just connect to Wi-Fi. Search for the main entrance of Yinting Group. She quickly took out her phone. Wow, it really connects. That's amazing. Meanwhile, Mu Yun silently watched from behind. After receiving the map coordinates, the door asked, This is the place, right? Are you sure? She answered awkwardly, I'm sure. Suddenly, he spoke. You going to Beijing? She turned around and slowly replied, Yes. I'm going to find jobs for all of you. I'll be back soon. Keep an eye on Huan Hai. Don't let him cause any major trouble. Bye-bye. Yet inwardly, she reassured herself. Don't be afraid, Sure Wei Wei. You're the guide. She swiftly passed through the door. That night, a message notification sounded. On the chat interface, the account called Top Dangerous Element sent a message. When are you leaving Tranquil Heart Academy? He merely frowned in irritation. Suddenly, Huan Xin burst through the door. Hey, idiot, I asked you when you were leaving, and you're reading? Well, reading is fine. If you have no abilities, then you should read more. Stop freeloading in this house. Hearing that, he replied calmly. Since you put it that way, are you planning to keep making a living off your face forever? The other man angrily shouted, What do you mean making a living off my face? I earn my living through skill. Otherwise, why would every beauty come to me for makeup? But the other man dealt him a verbal blow. When you get old and turn into a balding, beer-bellied middle-aged man, I like to see who will still come to you for makeup. Hearing that, he pulled over a chair and sat beside him. Noticing his gaze, the other snapped. What are you looking at? I just suddenly changed my mind. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me. After coming through the door, Sure Wei Wei called out, Young Lord, Immortal Lord, look what I brought back. Why is it so quiet? Where's everyone? Suddenly, a voice rang out. The answer to this problem is chicken. What do you mean, chicken? I already know the answer. I just need to write it down. Why do I need to understand it? As she entered, she heard Huan Hai speaking, while Mu Yun argued back. We are in a mortal world now. We have to follow their examination rules. You must use the chicken method to solve it. Suddenly, he spotted her and hurriedly stood up. Wei Wei, you're back. What are you holding? At his question, she quickly pulled out a machine. This is a gift I bought for you all. At the same time, he noticed the bag on the ground. Yinting Technology. Did you go see Hey Yen? She answered awkwardly, yes. Wasn't to find jobs for all of you? Why are you being so fierce with me? Hearing that, He turned away and watched the robot coldly. I wasn't being fierce with you. Every mortal has an aura, but I couldn't sense He Yan's aura. He is dangerous. You should stay away from him. Meanwhile, at Yinting Group in Beijing, He Yan looked out the window and quietly asked, "Sure Wei Wei has left?" Du Yang replied. In his heart, he only sees you as a friend. Will our plan really proceed smoothly? He Yan's gaze sharpened. He will definitely fall in love with me. Otherwise, why would he willingly give us a pass? If it doesn't work out, we'll activate the other keys. We've prepared for so many years. No one can stop us from taking revenge. Those stubborn old men of the immortal realm refused to give up their positions. From the day they abandoned us, they should have expected this day to come. Meanwhile, the robot's mechanical voice sounded. Beep beep, patrolling. Just then, it passed by the formation. By now, the man's head and shoulders, in addition to his arm, had emerged from the formation. Upon seeing him, the robot announced, "Beep beep, abnormality detected. Logging entry, human arm and head detected. Response procedure, preparing to call emergency services." Sure Wei Wei hurried over. "No, don't call." Instruction received. Ending call procedure. She clutched her chest and let out a breath of relief. That was close. The promotional film crew He Yan introduced was about to arrive. She could not let them see someone with only half a body. She then began giving orders with a spell. "Shinyu, I order you to get over here immediately." At once, the man's body shot through as though accelerated. Blue skies and white clouds. If only I could lie here until I died. A figure lay there, gazing at the sky as he muttered, "What a pity." Sure Wei Wei suddenly poked her head in with a bright smile. "Hello, newcomer. I'm the guide of Tranquil Heart Academy. You must be tired after descending to the mortal world, right? Let me show you to your room." The other person closed his eyes and replied, "Tired. Just let me lie here." She said in alarm, "Humans are very fragile. If you lie here, you'll starve to death, die of thirst, get rained to death, or be scorched to death by the sun." He lazily answered, "Once I die, I can return to the immortal realm." She fell silent for a moment, then shouted, "Young lord, immortal lord, come out here." Huan Hai looked at the man on the ground in confusion. "Shenyu? He made it through." Muyan looked at the sleeping man and nodded. "It's truly unbelievable." Sure Wei Wei said, "Guests will be arriving soon. Please, immortal lords, carry this man back to his room to sleep." The two quickly lifted Shenyu away. Seeing this, she did not forget to remind them, "Huan Hai, after you take him back to his room, come right back. The people here to film you will arrive soon." Rain poured down as the film crew hurriedly shielded their equipment. Seeing this, he asked suspiciously, "Wei Wei, what is this?" The person beside him quickly reassured him, "Didn't you resign? I thought it through for you. We can build our own media presence and live stream product sales." They're the filming crew. They came this time to shoot a short promotional video. Hearing that, he immediately regained his confidence. "Live stream sales? I understand." He then pretended to hold a product in his hand. "Do you want it, everyone? Is this how it goes?" She immediately denied it. "No, we can't imitate others. We have to create our own unique appeal. Look at this." As she spoke, she pulled out a women's wig and outfit. The sight made his face turn pale. "You want me to sell this?" But Sure Wei Wei quickly pushed him away to change clothes. "For Tranquil Heart Academy, and for your own future, just try it. Don't you want to become famous overnight?" Huan Hai was still uncertain. But this way of becoming famous doesn't seem right at all. She simply urged, "All right, hurry up and change." After changing clothes, his beauty made even the men on the crew blush. Seeing this, she stepped forward and said, "Director, let's start filming." During the makeup scene, make sure to get close-up shots of the brand. The camera started rolling. He slowly picked up a makeup brush, while those present kept whispering among themselves. "Why does it look like he's doing his wife's makeup? I refuse to believe there isn't some hidden story." Because he couldn't bring his lover across space and time, he breathed his soul into a wooden doll. This theme is incredible. Muyin stood inside, silently watching before quickly closing the window. After filming ended, the director stepped forward and shook her hand. "Please contact me anytime you want to collaborate again. This young man has great potential. He'll definitely become famous." She replied slowly, "I will contact you. Our company is short on a publicity department." After the man left, Huan Hai suddenly asked, "Wei Wei, don't mortal companies require some kind of permit?" She blankly replied, "You mean a business license?" "That's right." She immediately began typing rapidly and messaged Erfei, "Help me establish a human resources company. It needs all the proper documents and must be recognized by human society." After reading it, he stared blankly before demanding, "Do you think I'm dormant?" She used the ultimate capitalist tactic. I'll give you 3 days of paid leave. He instantly replied, wait a moment. I'll do it right away. Once it was done, she happily said, all finished. Suddenly, he approached with an umbrella. Wei Wei, the rain is heavy. I came to take you to dinner. She asked worriedly, what about Huan Hai? But before she could finish, he cut her off. He said he can wait until the rain stops before going out to eat. Watching the two leave, the person behind them furiously shouted, I heard all of that. You bastard. Who exactly is making money for this household? Sure, Wei Wei merely stayed silent as she looked at the man walking beside her. On the way, the two were quiet. Suddenly, his pupils widened as he plucked a gray hair from her head. Why do you have gray hair? She answered casually. Oh, Dai Erfei said it's related to the progress of your tribulations. If none of you make any progress in a day, I'll grow another gray hair, and my lifespan will decrease by 1 month. Mu Yun was shocked upon hearing this. What? Seeing his astonishment, Shi Weiwei replied somewhat awkwardly. Huh? Strange things like a 3 million debt falling from the sky and guiding immortals who descended to the mortal world through their tribulations have already happened. We're no longer living in some ordinary urban gossip story. So having my lifespan shortened isn't that strange, is it? Back in his room, Mu Yun could no longer focus on reading. His thoughts kept wandering. How could she speak so lightly of losing her lifespan? He picked up a pen and began calculating. The average human lifespan is 60 years. 1 month is deducted every day. If that is the case, Shi Weiwei only has a little over 1 year left. This was originally his and Huan Hai's fault. Shi Weiwei should not bear the consequences caused by them. He promptly tapped on the table. Knock, knock. Dai Erfei immediately appeared. Young lord, what do you need? Seeing him, Mu Yun asked, reducing the guide's lifespan is deeply unfair and unreasonable. I will write a letter. Take it back to the immortal realm. Dai Erfei thought in shock. My heavens, the young lord wants to defy the rules of the immortal realm? The young lord had always been an enforcer of its rules, the very spokesperson for its laws. He quickly flew over and asked, did something happen? Hasn't lifespan always been deducted this way? Mu Yun sighed. Shi Weiwei's lifespan must not be deducted. After hearing this, he was doubtful and confused. Why wasn't her lifespan being deducted? Was she different from the people around her? Ah, are you suspecting that she is colluding with the demon clan? So you want to spare her life and use her to lure the demon clan into a trap? Hearing that, he looked over and hurriedly replied, no. However, before he could finish, the person before him cut him off. I understand. I'll investigate her connections. M.O. Van's expression darkened. She was different from everyone else. As he walked down the road, he suddenly heard someone scolding a person behind him. Why are you wandering around outside so early in the morning? Why aren't you wearing a mask? Are you trying to make me worry about you? The young man whose ear was being pinched said, You're worried about me? Let go of my ear first. But the girl beside him angrily demanded, If I'm not worried about you, who else would I worry about? You're my man. Of course you're different from everyone else. Those words froze him in place. He then turned to look at another couple. The young man scratched his head awkwardly and said, Don't be angry. You're so close to the class monitor. Can't I be jealous? The girl across from him shouted angrily, But you still can't hit him. The other party stammered, Didn't I do it because I like you too much? He thought to himself, like. Suddenly, thunder rumbled in the sky, and it was as though lightning flashed through his mind. Like, so that was it. Was this why he saw Vai Vai as different from everyone else? Looking at the pile of romance books before him, he pondered silently. The immortal realm did not publish books explaining how to date or fall in love, so he could only make do with these for now. Suddenly, he heard a noise. He quickly hid the book. At that moment, Tik Vai Vai walked in. M.O. Van, I asked the little white dragon, What are you hiding? Seeing her rush over with curious interest, he blushed and stammered, in nothing. She did not believe him. Let me see it. This made him even more flustered. No, this belongs to an immortal. If mortals see it, they won't meet a good end. She said skeptically, What could possibly be so secret that I'm not allowed to see it? But when she caught sight of part of the title, she could not help raising her voice. Oh, I get it now. So even immortals in the prime of youth have needs. He did not understand what she meant. Suddenly, she put a hand on his shoulder and continued, I understand everything. Take your time reading. Once you're done taking care of it, come outside. I need to talk to you. Hearing this, he was full of doubt. What did she understand? What was he supposed to take care of? Just now, she had leaned so close to his face. Why did she want to meet him outside? After a while, he came out with a flushed face. Ahem. Hearing him, she called out, M.O. Van, over here. When he saw Mirage, C standing beside her, he immediately became irritated. Why was that man everywhere he went? Tik Vai Vai looked at the two of them and slowly said, "Here's the situation. I asked Little White Dragon, if you have work you want to do, you can take the Mirror Heart Courtyard's examinations. After passing them, you can obtain academic credentials and certificates recognized by humans. For example, Mo Van, if you want to become a lawyer, after passing the written examination, you can participate in the Mirror Heart Courtyard's mock courtroom defense." Then she looked toward Mo Van and added, "I'll personally proctor Mo Van's examination." This fantasy delighted him. So, she really cared so much about matters concerning him. He definitely would not let her down. She turned to Mirage C and continued, "As for the young lord, your current direction is makeup and self-media. You can build your own personal brand." Yet, Mo Van kept gazing fervently at the woman beside him, feeling elated. She called him Mo Van, but called Mirage C young lord. The difference in affection was perfectly clear. Mirage C glared at him angrily. Why was this bastard smiling so brightly? When neither of them answered, she slammed the table angrily. "Hey, are you two even listening to me?" A hand lifted hers. "Vai Vai, don't get angry because of him. It isn't worth hurting yourself." As Mo Van spoke, he gently rubbed her hand. Seeing this, Mirage C roared in annoyance. "What do you mean, angry because of me?" In his eyes, the two people before him were exchanging affectionate looks, setting off alarm bells in his heart. Since when had Mo Van become so close to Vai Vai, and she did not even reject him? Why did his heart hurt so sharply? Regaining her composure, she quickly pulled back her hand. "Ahem. All right, is there anything else you want to add? Say it now." Mirage C spoke up. "I will follow the guide's arrangements for everything just mentioned. But what about Divine Jade?" Mo Van was displeased, but said nothing. Only then did she remember. "All right, Divine Jade." She hurried away, thinking, "I nearly forgot about him. Could he have fallen asleep and returned to the immortal realm already?" When she arrived, she was panting while the person on the bed seemed to be sleeping peacefully. Her expression became even more panicked. "He's too still. He's alive, right?" As she thought this, she held her hand beneath his nose. Tik Vai Vai suddenly screamed, "Is he dead? Did he return directly to the immortal realm? What are we supposed to do with the body?" At that moment, Mo Van entered as well. Divine Jade raised a hand at the sound and slowly wrote, "I am not dead." This only frightened her even more. "But you clearly stopped breathing." The man on the bed replied, "Breathing was tiring, so I rested for a while." She was utterly bewildered. Could breathing take a rest too? After a moment, he finally asked, "Guide, what is it?" She said, "I wanted to ask, is there any job you like?" He immediately answered, "I want to return to the immortal realm and be a house guarding stone." Hearing that, she was embarrassed. "I can't arrange that. I can only arrange things in the mortal realm." Mo Van reprimanded him. "You are an immortal, after all. How can you make a request that puts the guide in such a difficult position? Take Mirage C outside first. I want to speak with him privately." The two went outside. She could not help reminding him worriedly. He just descended to the mortal realm. So please be a little understanding. Don't hit him. Mirage C fell silent in thought. Since when had Mo Van become concerned about Tik Vai Vai? Suddenly, she looked at him and said, "All right, leave Divine Jade to Mo Van. Let's think about where to open your shop." Mirage C could not help wondering. Tik Vai Vai trusted him that much? Then he gave a seemingly kind smile, though he was clearly trying to stir up trouble. He leaned close to Tik Vai Vai and asked, "Mo Van didn't tell you?" She looked blank. "Tell me what?" He quickly said, "You can open a shop in the Mirror Heart Courtyard too. As the guide, you hold absolute authority here." She exclaimed in surprise, "Really? Tell me more." He opened his fan and summoned Du Duong. As soon as he appeared, Du Duong grumbled, "What now? Can't you let me rest for even a moment?" Mirage C merely replied, "Explain to the guide how to alter the layout of the Mirror Heart Courtyard." Du Duong said, "Honestly, fine, I'll do it. Watch carefully and learn. Follow my posture." Then he began chanting a spell. She stood beside him and replied blankly, "Okay." A moment later, she could see the full view of Mirror Heart Courtyard. "Wow, is this a map of Mirror Heart Courtyard? This place is huge. Young lord, come choose. Where do you want to open your shop?" The person behind her pointed to a spot. "Here." Tik Vai Vai turned around in confusion. "Huh?" The moment she saw Mo Van, she asked, "You're out? Did you settle Divine Jade's matter?" Mo Van blushed as he answered, "You needn't worry." Seeing how close they were, Mirage C fumed inwardly. What was wrong with these two? Why were they ignoring him? Mo Van continued slowly. Although this is not in the city center, everyone has to pass through here. It is quiet, but there is no shortage of foot traffic. What do you think? Mirage C suddenly interrupted with a shout. I don't like it. Mo Van calmly analyzed. Don't reject it so quickly. Think it over carefully. Would the guide and I ever harm you? His face went pale. Why did that sound strangely familiar? Then Mo Van looked at the two people before him as though they were his father and mother. Taking on the role of the father, he said, let's choose this place. That way, our son won't have to walk too far to work in the future. The person beside him played the mother and said coyly, I'll listen to whatever you say. The sight terrified Mirage C so much that he nearly fainted. Then he began vomiting violently. Disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. She stared at him in confusion. Mirage C, what's wrong with you? Did you eat something bad? As she approached, he cried out like a frightened cat. Don't touch me. I need to go outside and calm down. With that, he quickly ran away. The two sat at a stone table. She could not help worrying. It's already 8 in the morning. Why isn't he back yet? The man beside her said casually, he probably went drinking again. Don't worry about him. Go back to your room and sleep. Alarmed, she thought, drinking? What if he gets drunk and crawls into the wrong bed? She immediately stood up. No, I have to find him. Meanwhile, at the Dream Return Tavern, Sisterly, the tavern owner approached Mirage C. What's wrong? Are you unhappy today? He tipped back his head and downed a drink, then said, How could I be? With a beautiful woman keeping me company, I couldn't be happier. Just then, his phone vibrated. When he opened it, he saw a message from Tik Vi Vi. Vi Vi, where are you? He smugly thought, humph, so she still knows to care about me? Go be lovey-dovey with Mo Van, then. The woman beside him softly asked, Do you have a girlfriend? He tossed his phone aside and replied, Of course not. Sisterly lightly brushed her foot against his and said seductively, So, the girl you like doesn't like you back? I have a way to help you forget what is upsetting you and become much happier. Do you want to try it? Mirage C said, I truly have never tasted mortal love. Sisterly touched his neck and said in a bewitching tone, I can teach you. Just as the two leaned closer, Tik Vi Vi rushed over, panting. No, Sisterly planted a kiss on the hand Tik Vi Vi had used to interrupt them. Her good moment ruined. Sisterly frowned in displeasure. Tik Vi Vi thought to herself, luckily Du Duong was able to locate him. If I had arrived, even a little later, that idiot Mirage C would definitely have been devoured alive by her. Mirage C swayed drunkenly, staring silently at her. Sister Lee, whose interruption had spoiled everything, inwardly cursed. It's that meddlesome woman again. She frowned and questioned Tik Vi Vi. What do you mean by this? Tik Vi Vi enselt, soy, sistoli. Our Mirage C has had a little too much to drink. If he does something while taking advantage of his drunkenness. Before she could finish, he suddenly wrapped his arms around her. The unexpected action startled her. She quickly regained her composure. Well, Sisterly, I'll take him home first. But inwardly, she felt resentful. I was kind enough to clean up his mess, yet he bit me because I ruined his good time. Behind her, he thought in dismay, is Tik Vi Vi really not attracted to me at all? Watching them leave, Sisterly cursed angrily in her heart. Tik Vi Vi already has 2 handsome men at home. Can't she spare one for me? How dare she ruin my good moment? Damn it. Then she slammed the table and shouted, Bring me more wine. Back at Mirror Heart Courtyard, Mirage C was thrown onto the floor as Tik Vi Vi's voice rang out. You're driving me crazy. At your age, instead of learning something decent, you went out to flirt with girls. Do you have so much money that we've paid off all our debts? Do you not need to undergo your tribulation anymore? Do you know how worried Mo Van and I were about you? From her scolding, only 2 words remained in his mind. She worried about me. Wasn't I trying to undergo the love tribulation? I want to ascend soon, so I won't disturb you and that bastard while you are lovey-dovey. Seeing him turn his head away, she angrily poked his forehead. Love tribulation, my foot. Let me tell you, Tik Vi Vi, absolutely will not allow any of you to become obsessed with beauty and sink deeper into the mire. Come with me. She grabbed him and pulled him along. As they walked, she muttered, After you ran off without a word, Mo Van and I spent the entire night preparing this for you. We're here. This is it. His eyes widened as he stared at the room before him. The person beside him slowly explained, If you don't like it, the location and decor can be changed. As for the signboard, you can name it yourself. He was stunned for a moment. Call it Beauty Manor. The words immediately appeared on the sign. He turned to the woman beside him and said, Vi Vi, thank you. I like it very much. She could not help yawning. What are you thanking me for? There's more inside. Yawn. Go in and take a look. The two entered. The sight inside left him frozen in astonishment. Sleepily, she said from behind him, I can't take it anymore. I'm dying of sleepiness. I'm going to lie down in the room behind this one. Take your time looking around. After saying that, she lay down and fell fast asleep. Seeing this, Mirage C pulled a blanket over her. She had been busy all day and even ran out to find him. She truly must be exhausted. Since she had put so much thought into this, he would let her manage him from now on. Somehow, his mood had improved. What was wrong with him? As he thought this, he looked at himself in the mirror. At that moment, Tik Vi Vi appeared at the Crimson Lotus shore. This place is the heart of Mirror Heart Courtyard. What is this? Seeing miniature child versions of Mo, Van, and Mirage C sitting on lotus flowers, she could not help touching their cheeks. Wouldn't they be cuter like this? They were obviously such a good match. What kind of grudge did they have against each other that they could not stand the sight of one another? Suddenly, a beam of light emerged from one of them. It forced her to quickly cover her eyes. She saw Mo Van holding a sword and thrusting it straight into Mirage C's chest. Behind Mirage C stood a woman aghast. Meanwhile, Mirage C sat beside Tik Vi Vi, wondering she still hasn't woken up. What should I do? I know. He quickly picked her up. As he walked, he thought, I've carried her around several times already. Why hasn't that bastard woken up yet? Suddenly, Mo Van opened the door. What are you sneaking around in front of my door for? Startled, Mirage C turned around and smugly said, Oh, Vi was exhausted by me last night and fell asleep, so I'm taking her outside for a few walks. Hearing this, Mo Van merely folded his arms. Don't even think about provoking me. Put her down. Mirage C fell silent. He thought in surprise. He didn't take the bait. Then, pouting, he set Tik Vi down. He continued pretending. Oh, I spent the whole night with Vi. I'm exhausted. My waist and back ache. But Mo Van looked at him as though saying, Go on, keep acting. Then he said, You reek of alcohol, not her scent, and you have dark circles under your eyes. By opening this shop, you have officially become immortal. Congratulations. Hearing this, Mirage C, who had been swaying about, angrily rushed forward and grabbed Mo Van by the clothes. What did you say? You must have done something. Give my perfume back, Mo Van said coldly. Becoming immortal means officially beginning your tribulation. Isn't that a good thing? At that moment, the person behind them suddenly opened her eyes, wondering in confusion. What did that scene just mean? Why did I see Mo Van stab Mirage C to death? Meanwhile, Mirage C was still shouting, Give it back. At that moment, she also noticed the commotion beside her. Meanwhile, Mirage C exploded in fury and shouted, Give me back my perfume. But the person in front of him merely stuck out his tongue to taunt him. Only then did she speak up. Don't kill him. Hearing that, the two of them startled and looked over. Tigvivi Engli Hoshtoa, trying to rob and murder someone first thing in the morning. She struck his back, making him cry out. The person behind them immediately questioned him. Has the shop opened yet? How are today's sales? Get out there and open the shop. Clutching his head, he hurriedly ran off. Suddenly, a notification sounded. Like a starving tiger pouncing on prey, she lunged at Mo Van. Looking down at the man beneath her, she kept shouting, You have dreams too, don't you? Hurry and tell me. I'll find a way to help you achieve them. I guarantee that both you and Mirage C will have brilliant futures. The man on the ground panicked. Get up. Suddenly, the door opened, followed by a voice. I told you I know the way, but how did you know I was from Mirror Heart Courtyard? My name is Divine Field, and I have an older brother named Divine Jade who loves lying around like a corpse. Who are you people? Don't you need to work? I heard mortals have to work every day to protect their livelihoods. Don't drag me around like this. I was only out for a walk. I won't get lost. Why has everyone gone silent? Be my friends. Hearing this, she stood there blankly. Then a notification sounded. The other party excitedly cried out, Senior Brother Mo Van. What game are you and this young lady playing? Did I interrupt you? Two familiar police officers stood nearby. When she saw him, she could not help being astonished. He looks exactly like Divine Jade. History really does repeat itself in frighteningly similar ways, like Chapter 14, Chapter 17, and all those other chapters. Before he could finish, his partner kicked him. Hey! After they went outside, the one behind him complained indignantly. What was that for? Why did you drag me away? Tigvivi looked at Divine Field. So you came to Mirror Heart Courtyard, then immediately ran around outside? Hearing that, he excitedly dashed away. Yay! As they walked, he sighed helplessly. But I never expected the newcomer to be him. She stared in astonishment at Divine Field, who was using a watering can on Divine Jade. Tikvai hurried over in panic and seized the watering can. What are you doing? Divine Field froze in surprise. Imogen stepped forward from behind and interjected, Ahem, Divine Field and Divine Jade are the children of the Earth God and the Mountain God. Even after descending to the mortal world, it is difficult for them to forget certain ingrained habits. For example, soil needs watering. Her mind reeled in shock. You should get used to the pace of mortal speech first. She immediately assumed a defensive stance. Don't come any closer. Seeing that, he blushed. Ahem, Divine Field, Vivai may not have time. I'm currently studying for my lawyer's certification exam, and I still need Vivai to tutor me. Can I call you that too? And as for sightseeing, I'm ready anytime. After running a good distance away, she panted heavily. We got away. But then she suddenly clutched her head and cried out, Why are you so dense? It's such a simple question. Why can't you understand it no matter how many times I explain? She looked at him in confusion. Why are you getting so angry? It's just a sample answer. Then he awkwardly picked up the papers. Well, sample answers are only for reference. Are they necessarily correct? I don't think his feelings toward little Seven should be dislike. Tikvai took the papers. But if you look at the surrounding passages, that interpretation does not fit the context. And why shyness? As he spoke, he imagined that she was little Seven and he himself was the protagonist. But when he saw her raise her hand, he immediately stepped back warily. What are you doing? She said anxiously. You don't need to feel so pressured, young lord. This is just an exam question. We can simply use the sample answer. There's no need for academic research. Imogen said, but clearly, he stared in surprise. You, their lips accidentally touched. You're the one who took advantage of me. So why do you look like your purity has been tarnished? She stared after him in bewilderment. Why are you running? Knock, knock. Leaning against the door, she anxiously said, Please, you've locked yourself in your room for 4 days already. I have a gift for you. Won't you come out for a little while? Hearing that, she set the gift beside the door. All right, I'll leave it outside. Remember to come out and take it. At the same time, Mirage C walked over. Vai, what are you troubled about? He watched the silhouette of a young woman leave. I've already finished doing her makeup. He slowly explained, Do you know, whenever I put makeup on someone, I can see many things binding them. Every chain that restrains them leaves an ugly wound. Some feel inferior because they are overweight. Some feel inferior because of freckles on their faces. Others feel inferior because they were born with thick hair. They are already beautiful, yet stubbornly magnify their own flaws. Pursuing how others see you is itself a form of insecurity. I'm helping them escape their suffering. Not to reconcile with you. I just don't understand. If what you like is this version of me, why did you date me in the first place? Even if we truly loved each other. Boo-hoo. Before he could finish, a pillow flew straight into his face. Tikvai furiously shouted from behind him, Don't turn a girl's room into some place people can visit whenever they want. Get out. He squatted by the door with a bump on his head. It's fine. It doesn't hurt that much. She hits me hard now, but once she hears the news, she'll hit senior brother Mirage C even harder. Hearing that, she took the phone and searched for his stream. Oh, I have to take a look too. Wow, you have quite a lot of viewers. You found a job so quickly, not bad. What? Yesterday, he looked like he had repented and begun to understand life. Whether it is as Divine Field said or not, I need to get M.O. Van to go see. Hearing that, the person inside swiftly opened the door. M.O. Van's pale face and severe dark circles made her stare in astonishment. Why are your dark circles so awful? Even when studying, you should look after your health. As they walked, she worriedly glanced back at him, then sighed to herself. Forget it. He thought to himself, It's me. It's the improper desires rising in my heart. At that moment, Tikvai stormed in like a brawny strongman, full of imposing force. Mirage C, what are you planning to do to that girl? What? The person inside, who was tending to a customer, turned to look at her. Hey, can't you think better of me? As she spoke, she quickly pushed the troublemaker forward. Though frightened, Divine Field stubbornly said, That's right, senior brother Mirage C. A real man must own up to what he does. Mirage C huffed. Then you should ask her awful ex-boyfriend. He isn't awful. I'm the one who wasn't good enough for him. We've already broken up. But if you want to hear it, we knew each other for 3 years and we're always friends. 2 years ago, We went on a group trip and started dating afterward. Once we began dating, I gradually distanced myself from my friends. At first, it was only male friends. I thought he just loved me too much. He loved me so much that he was jealous. Hearing this, Tikvai Vai and Divine Field frowned and listened intently. The woman continued calmly. But later, he started interfering with what I ate and how I dressed. Long hair, white dresses, high heels. Being fair would make me prettier. Being thinner would make me prettier. Being warmer and gentler would be better. That is obviously emotional manipulation. Her actions scared Divine Field out of his wits. He clutched his leg and trembled in pain, while Tikvai Vai frowned and declared loudly, "We need to Mo Van, Mirage C, Divine Field. What do you all think?" They silently wondered. What were we supposed to think? It was a little upsetting, but it didn't seem to have anything to do with them. Mo Van, meanwhile, thought smugly, "She always calls my name first." Mirage C was utterly bewildered. What did Tikvai Vai mean by asking that? Suddenly, someone slammed a hand on the table and rose to his feet. Anyone who toys with another person's feelings harbors evil intentions and should have their entire clan exterminated. The girl was startled. That won't be necessary. Hearing this, he spoke as well. I have an idea. Meanwhile, he had changed clothes and quickly spotted the target. The target has appeared. Prepare to act. Message received. They were ready on this side, though she silently cursed. That damn Mirage C. The nickname he gave me might as well not exist at all. She quickly pushed forward the girl whose appearance had been changed. The girl was anxious. "I don't need to do this. Will this really be okay?" How confidence. Good. You're the most beautiful. The girl was still nervous, but he suddenly said, "Hold your head high. Leave the rest to me." The two of them began walking. The man was startled and quickly watched their retreating figures. The girl beside him grew angry at the sight. The young men on the road could not help staring at the two of them. Soon, all four gathered together. Tikvai Vai asked in surprise, "So, do you still think you're terrible? Do you still care about how that man sees you?" The girl smiled. "It doesn't matter anymore. Thank you, everyone." They all laughed happily. The three then returned to Mirror Heart Courtyard, where she bounced about and declared, "Your big sister is a confidence queen who shines brightly." Suddenly, Mo Van said, "I don't understand." She froze with her key in the lock. The person behind her continued, "If feelings can so easily lead people astray, why not stop them from the very beginning?" Tikvai Vai frowned in thought, then put Mo Van in a headlock. "You're still arguing with me? People die every day. What? Just because you know you'll die someday, you decide not to be born at all?" The more she spoke, the angrier she became, tightening her grip. Starved of oxygen, he hurriedly slapped her arm. Once released, he said red-faced, "Human lives may be short, but people grow with every passing second." She replied, "As people gradually grow up, some very important traits slowly disappear, such as courage." Then the image of the girl calmly saying, "I came here today not to reconcile with you," appeared in her mind. With excitement, she slung an arm around each of the two men. That girl dared to fight for her love, yet in the end, she was still able to stay clear-headed and escape that mire of love. She's truly amazing. She jumped down and looked at the other two. There are many things in human life that are like love. Would you refuse to plant flowers simply because they will eventually wither? If you give up from the beginning, you're giving up not only a bad ending, but also a beautiful journey. So, although I don't support you two undergoing a love tribulation, if you meet a girl you truly love, then no matter what happens, bravely give it a try. Mo Van thought to himself, "Fight bravely for love?" Then he called out, "Teek VV." She turned around. "What is it?" But when she saw his serious expression, she inwardly screamed, "The young lord looks so handsome when he's serious." "No, calm down, Teek VV. Even if an immortal likes you, don't become a stepping stone for his tribulation." Suddenly, he placed a hand on her shoulder. "VV, I like." Before he could finish, another voice rang out. "Attention, attention. The Tribulation Crosser, Mo Van's knowledge preparation has met the requirements. The legal qualification certificate examination will begin in 2 incense sticks time. Candidate, please prepare thoroughly." They both froze. Tikvivi blankly asked, "What did you just say?" Furious, he grabbed her again. "I said, I like." Before he could finish, the voice sounded again. "This examination will be conducted as an oral test, with questions randomly randomly selected from the question bank. Candidate, please prepare thoroughly. Looking at the despairing man before her, she awkwardly said, "Sorry, I still didn't hear anything." He dropped to his knees and softly replied, "It's fine." But inwardly, he thought, the textbook says that one's spirit is strongest the first time, declines the second time, and fails completely the third time. The textbook truly did not deceive me. He quickly got to his feet. It must be the pre-exam nerves humans always talk about. She waved a hand reassuringly. "It's fine, don't be nervous. For us humans, failing a subject is as common as eating. If you fail, just take it again." But what kind of exam does Mirror Heart Courtyard give? I've never seen one before. A man in a suit sat there as the announcement sounded. The candidate and observing staff have entered the examination room. The examination will begin in 5 minutes. The subject of this examination is The Life of Criminal at-Large Zhang San, Chapter 3. Examiner, Teacher Lalin. After hearing that, she encouraged the person beside her. "Good luck." Nervously, he said, "I'm ready." The other party began. Question 1. A death row prisoner is awaiting execution, but Zhang San kills him 2 minutes before the execution. What crime has Zhang San committed? You have 2 minutes to think. As soon as the question ended, a chime sounded above his head, and a 2-minute countdown began. He panicked. It counts as intentional. Before he could finish, the time-up signal sounded. Beep. Teacher Lalin Smaïd. Time is up. Next question. Zhang San stabs the victim 10,000 times, but the injuries amount only to minor abrasions. What crime has Zhang San committed? Zhang San marries 8 wives without registering any of the marriages. Does this constitute a crime? Zhang San eats a giant panda alive while on the verge of starving to death. What crime has Zhang San committed? Zhang San is bitten by a dog while walking down the street, and he bites it back. Does this count as legitimate self-defense? Time is up. Next question. Mo Van was crushed beneath the endless barrage of Zhang San's, leaving him dizzy and disoriented. He even wrote bloody words on the ground, frightening Tik Vai Vai beside him. Teacher, if someone is present at the scene, they'll commit a crime. The victim left behind a message. Then the announcement sounded. This examination has not been passed. Close the examination room. Seeing him dejected, she hurried over. Mo Van, we can't lose heart. This one was just a little difficult. You can't get a legal qualification certificate after taking the exam once or twice. You need practice to become proficient. As she comforted him, Mirage C. sulkily said, The laws of the immortal realm are somewhat different from those of the mortal realm. You should get familiar with them for a while before taking the test, you idiot." Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Knock, knock. The door opened. A delivery man said, "Who is Tik Vai Vai? You have a bouquet to receive." Tiki stepped blankly. "Flowers? For me." The person beside her immediately became wary. The delivery man quickly handed her the bouquet and took out a small notebook. "Here, please sign." She hesitated. Could you tell me the name of the person who sent these flowers?" The man promptly replied, "That's not convenient." Signature confirmed. Order complete. Before leaving, he gave her a playful look. "That gentleman said it had to be kept secret. He'll come see you later. I wish you lasting happiness." Watching him leave, she was bewildered. What was going on? Mo Van silently watched from behind, then said, "I'm going to study. In the immortal realm, flowers are only given in remembrance when someone falls to demonic corruption or their primordial spirit disperses." His words angered her. Hey, don't say such mood-killing things when someone's happy. What a weirdo. But he had already slammed the door shut. Inside, he opened a book, but his thoughts drifted far away. So human women like flowers. Suddenly, Dai Erfei appeared. "Young lord, I didn't mean to interrupt you earlier." Mo Van calmly replied, "It's fine. Since I failed this exam, when is the next one?" Dai Erfei answered, "Whenever you're ready, you can take it at any time." Mo Van said coolly, "Next time, don't announce it to all of Mirror Heart Courtyard. I want to take the test by myself. You may leave." With that, he tapped the table, and Dai Erfei immediately vanished. Mo Van pondered to himself. Dai Erfei seemed unhappy when it saw me confessing to Vai Vai. Is it hiding something from us? Early the next morning, she stretched lazily. At the same time, Mirage C came over. "Morning, Vivi." She looked over. "Morning. Where's the young lord?" "He's already gone so early in the morning." Mirage C asked the young lord. "Earlier, I saw him." He then thought to himself. Modib Dane Van was awkwardly choosing flowers. The florist could not help asking, "You're such a handsome young man. Are you buying flowers for your girlfriend? He became flustered. And no, Mirage C inwardly thought. So he wants to imitate yesterday's mysterious man and secretly give Vi flowers? I should stir things up. Then he said with feigned emotion, he went to prepare a gift for the one he loves. Tik Vivi was shucks. The one he loves? Mirage C continued. Thanks to what you said yesterday, Vi's heart was stirred. He decided to pursue a love this world cannot accept. Ah, it's so touching. Suspicious, she thought. A love this world cannot accept? Then she suddenly recalled his serious expression yesterday when he had said, I said I like. Remembering how he had been interrupted, she thought, so what he wanted to say yesterday was that the person he likes isn't a girl. Then realization dawned on her. So that's it. Mirage C continued, adding fuel to the fire. Exactly. After a moment of silence, she softly said, so I really was overthinking it. Vivi. She looked over. Modi Danefun. You like men, right? At that moment, he spoke while hiding a bouquet of sunflowers behind his back. I have a gift for you. Both were startled and spoke at once. Your gift is for me. When did I ever say I liked men? She realized she had been fooled and turned toward Mirage C with fire in her eyes. So that's it. Mirage C was spouting nonsense again. The mastermind panicked. She quickly smiled and explained to M.O. Van, it's nothing. What gift is it? He replied, it's... Suddenly, another voice interrupted. VV. She was startled. Huh? M.O. Van's face darkened in anger. Hatchveem appeared with an entire cart full of roses. He presented her with a bouquet. A few days ago, I came across a makeup video online, and it turned out to be produced by your company's team. Congratulations on your video going viral. Would you like to collaborate with me? Seeing this, M.O. Van silently hid his bouquet farther behind his back. Tik Vi accepted the flowers and asked, so you were the one who sent yesterday's flowers? The video you mean is Mirage C's video, right? It's been so long. I thought it was no longer popular. Hatchveem looked provocatively at M.O. Van and quickly held up his phone. How could that be? Look, your video has been classified as a successful case study for our company to analyze. The video had received an extremely high number of likes. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a phone was thrown onto a table. Tik Vi, didn't President Hatch of Veem Tongue Company invite you to collaborate? Do as he says. At that moment, a trending topic exploded. Mirror Heart Courtyard's rich woman keeps 3 husbands and 4 lovers. It was accompanied by a picture of Yi Shun leaving Mirror Heart Courtyard. The rich woman of Mirror Heart Courtyard? I know her. She was my high school classmate. A familiar figure, claiming to be a witness, kept exposing her. She's very wealthy. Everyone must know the famous male star, Yi Shun, right? Didn't he leave the entertainment industry because of her? The Southern Hall Immortal Lord and that bewitchingly beautiful man are all competing to become her husband. Netizens quickly became outraged. Young Lord's Chopsticks commented, what? Just because she has money, she can do whatever she wants. Spirit Sama wrote, she must have kidnapped Yi Shun. Our brother would never leave the industry. The main cast was only announced this month. Another user replied, don't be ridiculous. Your brother hasn't made any public appearance for a whole month. Didn't you know? His manager said he was critically ill and hospitalized. So his illness was severe enough to land him in a rich woman's arms? I only pity the handsome man. Rich lady, look at me. Handsome graduate student with a muscular body. Divine Field was live streaming. My brother isn't dead. He's just too lazy to move. He's still breathing. Divine Jade lay peacefully on the bed with his eyes closed, asleep. Suddenly, a flood of hostile comments appeared. Being kept? What does being kept mean? I really don't know. This visual streamer is killing me. Isn't the person who appeared in your live stream that rich woman? Are you being kept by her too? Tour group, come look. A handsome man being kept. That's disgusting. Get lost if you're being kept. At the main hall of Mirror Heart Courtyard, Tik Vi said seriously, the topic Mirror Heart Courtyard's rich woman keeps 3 husbands and 4 lovers is rising rapidly. Mirage C's video went viral not long ago, and now this happened. I strongly suspect someone is targeting us. Mirage C spoke smugly. What's there to suspect? As long as I come forward and explain the situation, they'll all kneel at my feet. But before he could finish, she shouted, Mirage C, you rely too much on your looks. He froze at her words. She continued with a frown. Although the mortal realm places great importance on appearance, there are some matters of principle that cannot be brushed aside with a pretty face. Mo Van, who was calmly drinking tea beside them, added, "Besides, if you reveal yourself now, people will only become more convinced that Vai lusts after beauty and start making even more absurd speculations about her chaotic private life." Angrily, Mirage threw his fan onto the table. "Then tell me, what should we do?" Modib Danevan answered calmly. "Simple. Sue them." Mirage covered his mouth and laughed. "Ha ha, you blockhead. Have you forgotten that you still haven't passed the exam? And you want to sue them? Ha ha ha." Mo Van grew angry at the mocking laughter. After wiping his face, Mirage continued. "Also, although I don't understand mortal laws, I know that laws can't be enforced against the public at large. If you do that, they'll only become more convinced that you're guilty." Seeing Mo Van stare at him, he provocatively said, "What are you looking at? You think I'm afraid of you?" Tik Vai fell into thought. I think we should find the source of this first. When exactly did Ishan come to Mirror Heart Courtyard, and when did he leave? How come none of us knew? She then grabbed Dai Urfei by the tail and angrily said, "If Ishan had returned to hibernate at Mirror Heart Courtyard long ago, why didn't you tell me?" Dai Urfei struggled and shouted. "You never asked." Furious, she said, "You damn thing who keeps getting your guides killed. In all your past lives, didn't you get them killed too? Take this kick." Seeing her prepare to strike, Dai Urfei panicked. "Hey, what are you?" Before it could finish, she kicked it straight toward the door. The impact threw the door open. Unexpectedly, Ishan was outside. Seeing them, he said, "You're this time's guide, aren't you? I'm sorry for causing you trouble." Then he went inside and quickly explained everything. "When I left before, I only wanted to say one last goodbye to my friends in the mortal realm. I never expected something like this to happen." Modib Danevan was puzzled. "Say goodbye," he explained. "These past few days at Mirror Heart Courtyard, I have let go of the obsession in my heart and remembered many things about the immortal realm. I was preparing to return to the immortal realm to accept my punishment." Tik Vai was astonished to hear this. Seeing her reaction, he smiled reassuringly. "Guide, you do not need to worry about me. After I am punished, I will queue up and wait for another chance to undergo my tribulation. If I am lucky, we may still meet before you are replaced by the next guide." The person beside them looked somewhat confused. No, I was just wondering. Have you been living at Mirror Heart Courtyard all this time?" Ishan looked puzzled. "Yes." She fell silent, resting her chin on her hand as she thought, "Amazing. A whole living person has been lingering around Mirror Heart Courtyard this entire time, and I never noticed at all." Mo Van suddenly asked, "When are you planning to leave?" Caught off guard, he hesitated. Probably in a few more days." Vai looked at him suspiciously. Returning to the immortal realm also means activating the passage between the immortal realm and the mortal realm. Is Mo Van worried about that? The immortal realm has always been stable, but those online troublemakers all know about Mirror Heart Courtyard. Could this incident have something to do with that fake demon? Then Ishan suddenly stood up. "This matter started because of me. Once I settle it, I will return to the immortal realm." Divine Field suddenly appeared, holding a phone. "Sister Vai, they're saying that you are keeping men," but the screen had accidentally captured all four of them. The comments immediately flooded in. "He really is there. Anyone who toys with their fans' feelings deserves to die. Those kept boys are greedy and vain." The malicious comments made Divine Field's face turn pale, as though all the blood had drained from it. Then he violently threw his live stream stick to the ground. Agitated and furious, he clutched his head and muttered in a daze, "How did it end up like this?" "Stop talking." Those words kept circling through his mind, endlessly echoing and tormenting him. "That streamer is no good either. That courtyard is filthy and chaotic. He must be a regular plaything for rich older women, right?" As the malicious speculation continued, Mo Van decisively rose to his feet and strode over. "These mortals are utterly absurd. They cannot tell right from wrong at all. This is beyond ridiculous." Hatchveem suddenly appeared. "Humans have always been like this. I have already called my company's public relations department to help you handle the crisis and guide public opinion. You can temporarily move into my place. It will be safer and more secure. My company is also preparing to expand into the entertainment industry." He looked Divine Field over appraisingly. "We need an eloquent streamer like you. You would suit the company's direction well." Divine Field looked up in stunned disbelief. The man before him continued to smile gently, speaking with humor and enthusiasm. "You were born to be a streamer. You have natural talent. Divine Field's eyes brimmed with tears. He actually recognizes me this much. When I lived with my brother, everyone only liked him. They all found me troublesome and annoying. Those mortals just now only cursed at me and attacked me without restraint. Clearly, my brother is also at Mirror Heart Courtyard. At that moment, Tikvaivai abruptly stood up. She thought suspiciously, why did he appear at exactly this moment? That is strange. Mo Van promptly took Hatch Veem's hand. Thank you for your help and offer, President Hatch. But please conduct yourself with propriety and keep your distance. Hatch Veem immediately fell silent, momentarily stunned, but he soon regained his composure. I merely wanted to see whether there was anything I could do to help. It was only a gesture of goodwill. If you cannot resolve this, DM Dang Company will always welcome you. Go ahead and attend to your business. I will not disturb you any longer. He tactfully withdrew and turned to leave. The gentle smile on his face vanished completely, replaced by a chilling gloom. Is this Snowtime charity plan still not good enough? I planned everything so carefully. Why is even Tikvaivai so wary of me? At this rate, I can only wait for the lost one to return when the passage between realms opens. The person beside Vaivai said, Hatch Veem is not right. Something is wrong with him. As she supported the person before her, Vaivai replied, his timing was far too perfect. It is as though he knew someone would set a trap for us and hurried over to offer help at just the right moment. Nguyen Jing sneezed irritably, slammed her hand on the table, and shouted, Ishun went to her again. Keep buying online trolls to steer public opinion for me. Work harder. I want their reputations completely ruined. Meanwhile, Ishun calmly picked up the phone. He looked at the anxious Vai behind him. Let's discuss how to handle this first. Then a voice began to sing. Lala, can you hear me? Regarding the rumors online, I have a few things to say. This is an important matter, and I hope you can give me a little more time to speak. The livestream viewers became flustered as soon as they saw him. Is that Ishun? Vai quickly stood behind him and nervously pinched Mirage C, who flew out from behind her back. He cried out, oh, come on, I know. The livestream spread everywhere at an astonishing speed. I debuted 11 years ago. I kept striving and working hard until I reached where I am today. Passers-by watching were shocked. Ishun is speaking. He really is incredibly famous. His voice remained slow, steady, and calm. I have performed in too many projects that I did not like. I forced myself to accept too many meaningless, packed schedules without end. My manager also secured many brand resources and contracts for me. I'm tired. I am truly exhausted. At first, I only wanted to write the songs I liked and sing them for others. That was all. Just something simple, even if only one person listened. But gradually, I forgot my original purpose and my health deteriorated badly. So I decided to leave the entertainment industry. This has nothing to do with my company, and even less to do with Miss Tick. She is simply a kind person who took in a critically ill patient. I hope everyone will stop slandering her. My medical records and notarized shall be released shortly for everyone to see clearly. I've said all I need to say. Goodbye. Mirage C frowned and rushed forward. Wait, I have not finished speaking. He grabbed Ishun by the shoulders and shouted indignantly. You people really know how to turn a rumor into fact, do you? I work hard putting on makeup and earning money at Beauty Manor. How did I become some pretty boy being kept? I wish someone would keep me, but they would probably reject me. He pointed at the person who claimed to know the truth. You are just some nobody jumping around because you are jealous of how outstanding Vai is. Mo Van hurried forward and grabbed him. Cough, cough. I only have one thing to say. Anyone who slanders and damages the reputation of Mirror Heart Courtyard and Tick Vai, we will have our lawyer contact you shortly. You had better be prepared. His words were like a hard slap across the live stream viewers' faces, leaving them shocked and unable to react. Then the comments rapidly flooded the screen. Boo-hoo, do not leave. What, a critically ill patient? Is that true? He has already made a will. What disease does he have? Thank you, Sister Tick, for taking him in. I'm sorry, sister. This beauty is fierce. Scold them more. More. Sorry, but who knows whether they are telling the truth? The person above should be kinder. Starting rumors is easy, but taking them back is hard. Do you all remember Defiant God's first single? The live stream was completely shut off. Mo Van looked at Ishun and calmly said, all right, turn off the live stream. Vai hurried close to him, tense with worry. What did you mean by critically ill patient and medical records? Do you have a terminal illness? Her voice was filled with fear. He quickly waved his hands in denial. No, no. It is only an excuse to give me a reasonable way to leave the mortal realm and return to the immortal realm. By the time I come back, their impression of me will have faded. Vivi visibly relaxed. If we can still meet again, do not act so tragically. For your last meal before leaving, we will treat you to hot pot and have a lively celebration. As she spoke, she grabbed Mo Van and Mirage C's hands. Come on, a sense of ceremony is important. Then she remembered Divine Field, who was dejectedly crouching in a corner pretending to be a mushroom. Divine Field, stop pretending to be a mushroom. Come here. They placed their hands one atop another. 1, 2, hot pot, let us go. A while later, the dining table was a complete mess, and everyone was drunk and sprawled about. Some had fallen asleep over the table. After cleaning everything up, Tikvaivai stretched wearily. Honestly, these second-generation immortals have such poor alcohol tolerance. They are really weak. Why is the moon red? This does not feel right. Just then, a hand landed on her shoulder. The touch startled her. Hatchbeam spoke. Vivi. Clutching her racing heart, she frowned at the man behind her. President Hatch, you scared me. It is so late. He smiled. There is something I would like to talk to you about. Would you like to take a walk? Meanwhile, he thought, the spirit suppression courtyard at Mirror Heart Courtyard has always guarded this place. It will be difficult to keep whatever happens here from that dragon. It will be better to lure her out first. Mo Van was also beginning to wake up. Vivi. As she walked with Hatchbeam, she could not help speaking first. First of all, thank you, President Hatch, for helping us this time. If you had not stepped in and pushed the clarification post onto the trending list, the people online probably would not have believed us so quickly. He replied modestly, I did not do much. You are such a good person. Sooner or later, they would have believed you. All I did was have the video promoted. Vivi hesitated. President Hatch, I have never understood this. We were only high school classmates, and we hardly kept in touch before. Why had you treated me so well ever since we met again? Her suspicions deepened. Unsolicited kindness always has an ulterior motive. He must want something from me. Hatchbeam did not conceal it any longer. Because I like you. Her mind instantly went blank. She stood frozen in place, screaming inwardly. What? He continued slowly. I know you do not feel that way about me, so I did not dare tell you. But since you asked today, as he spoke, he gently brushed her hair aside. To tell you the truth, I am very jealous. You are too popular. Too many people care about you. Mirage C likes you. So does Mo Van. Suddenly, a bottle shattered on the ground with a piercing crash, drawing both of their attention. A shadow was hiding behind the wall. Hatchbeam spoke, no longer afraid. I will take you home. Mo Van stared furiously at their retreating backs. Not only does he harbor ill intentions toward Tikvaivai, he even dared to confess to her before I could. This man deserves to die. He sulkily began cleaning up the broken glass. The next morning, Tikvaivai was lying in the sun when someone approached her. Good morning. Your alcohol tolerance is not bad. Ishan also greeted her. Good morning. Mo Van asked you to meet him at the heart-linking bridge on South Road. She looked confused. He asked to see me? Ishan replied. It seems to be something important. Miss Tick, you should go early. When she arrived at the heart-linking bridge and saw the sight before her, she could not help exclaiming, wow. The bridge was lavishly decorated with vibrant flowers. Her eyes suddenly widened in surprise. A figure slowly approached, and Mo Van called out as soon as he saw her. Vivi. He quickly knelt down and raised a sword in both hands. This is the most precious thing I possess. Today I give it to you. She became even more confused. He continued calmly. This is a betrothal gift. If you accept it, it means you agree. Holding the sword, she asked blankly, agree to what? He rose to his feet and solemnly declared, I like you, Tikvaivai. His words left her dizzy, as though she had been struck by lightning. Flustered and stunned, she cried, a betrothal? No, I do not want that. She decisively threw the sword away without hesitation. Mo Van froze for several seconds before turning around. I understand. Seeing his lonely back, she became flustered. She hurriedly grabbed his hand. Modib Dainfon. He turned back in surprise. Then her gaze fell upon the book in his hand. Its title was clearly visible, Love Manual, What to Do After Being Rejected. She could not help bursting into laughter. Ha ha, so this is what you have been studying. That is great. He looked at her in confusion. What? She stepped closer. I mean, it is great that we can go through this emotional tribulation together. Dating is fine, but you do not need to read Love Manual. What to do after being rejected. I like you too. I only feel that talking about betrothal is still a little too early. His mind seemed to explode, leaving him too stunned to react. She likes me too. She likes me too. The thought repeated endlessly in his mind. Seeing how utterly dazed he was, she frowned and shouted, "Wake up! Stop standing there in a daze. Where's all your ability gone? You cannot even swim. If you fall in later, I will have to rescue you again." His mind suddenly flashed back to the time she gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on the set. If I fell in, would she do that again? Mo Van was suddenly overwhelmed by an urge to find out. Then she took his hand. "All right, let us go back first. Little White Dragon told me you have another exam today." Mo Van sulkily thought, I told him not to tell Tik Vi Vi. Tik Vi Vi suddenly asked, "By the way, where did you get all these flowers?" He coughed awkwardly. "Ahem. I borrowed some money from Ishan. Do you not like flowers? Besides, Hatchveem gave you so many last time." The two of them left together, leaving the sword and book quietly lying on the bridge. Vivi sat outside waiting while he took his exam. Then a sound rang out. Ding! Examination complete. The moment he emerged, she hurried over. "How was it?" He replied, "It was easier than last time. I am certain I—" Before he could finish, a voice cut him off. "The young lord has received grade C on this examination. Please continue working hard." He stood there in disbelief. He demanded unhappily, "What? What'd I get wrong?" "I request access to the answer key and analysis." The mechanical voice coldly replied, "Your practical experience as a lawyer is insufficient. You require further practice." This made him even more furious. With only a grade C certificate, how am I supposed to open a law firm? If I cannot open a law firm, how can I gain experience? And without experience, how can I pass the exam? Only silence answered him. Tik Vi Vi quickly pressed him down into a seat. "All right, do not be so impatient. I think it may be because you do not yet understand the laws of the mortal realm. Mortal law has accumulated over a very long time. It is not merely cold, rigid clauses. It also contains human feeling. Maintaining the balance between law and compassion is very difficult. A lawyer must not only respect the letter of the law, but also learn to apply it to real cases with empathy and understanding. Do you get the general idea?" Hearing this, Mo Van fell silent for a long while, then sighed helplessly. "I understand. I'll find a law firm in town for an internship." She was a little surprised. That was easy to persuade him. She quickly continued, "Actually, it's hard to gain much experience at a law firm in town. We could go observe court hearings instead." Oomph. At that moment, he suddenly raised his hand and swiftly took her hand. He held her other hand as well and refused to let go. "All right, I'll go with you. But then I won't be able to earn money to support you anymore. I don't like living off a woman." Her face immediately flushed red with embarrassment. "Support you? What are you talking about?" Suddenly, a rapid pounding sounded at the door outside. Nguyen Jing angrily banged on the door and shouted, "Tik Vi Vi, open the door right now." Tik Vi Vi froze blankly for a moment at those words. It was Nguyen Jing. What was she doing here? Tik Vi Vi quickly opened the door. Nguyen Jing was carrying a fruit basket, her brows furrowed and her face dark. She strode in and said arrogantly, "Lead the way. I want to see Yishun." Tik Vi Vi linked arms with Mo Van and demanded, "Wait. Why do you want to see him?" Nguyen Jing removed her glasses and spoke coolly. "Don't look at me like that. I only want to visit a seriously ill patient." "All right, lead the way." Tik Vi Vi was silent for a moment before replying, "Fine. Follow me." As they walked, Tik Vi Vi quietly asked the person beside her, "So she came to expose him? Does Ishan want to see her?" Mo Van replied calmly, "There's no harm in meeting her. Ishan will be leaving this place in a few days." After a while, Tik Vi Vi said, "We're here. This is it." Nguyen Jing stood at the door and quickly pushed it open. Petals drifted softly through the air. It was as though the old memories between her and Ishan were replaying vividly before her eyes. "Hello, are you my manager? Let's work well together from now on. I said I won't take this kind of advertising job. I want to hold concerts and release albums. Have you forgotten what you promised me when we signed a contract?" Nguyen Jing frowned and snapped, "Stop being so naive. Without fame, who will buy your albums? Who will attend your concerts? Don't be so ungrateful." Then the memories shifted to the day they terminated their contract. Ishan was sitting in a wheelchair. A faint smile appeared on his lips as he said, "Sister Nguyen." The fruit basket slipped from Nguyen Jing's hand and fell to the ground. Her face was filled with shock and panic, and tears gradually welled in her eyes. You really, What are you still doing here? Ishin looked blankly at her. She became even more furious and demanded, "You're sick, so what are you still doing here? Come with me to the hospital." Ishin slightly raised his head before speaking slowly. "Sister Nguyen, I don't have much time left. Can I decide for myself how to spend my final days? I'm very grateful for all the effort you've devoted to me over the years. It's just that this affection became too overwhelming until I gradually lost myself and no longer recognized who I was." He turned to the two people some distance away. "Vi, young lord, please let me speak with Sister Nguyen alone for a moment." Nguyen Jing arrogantly ordered, "Get out. He's already so ill, and you still won't let him go to the hospital?" Tik Vi retorted sharply, "What right do you have?" Tik Vi was seething inside. What right did this woman have to interfere? The more she thought about it, the angrier she became, until she shouted, "You were the one taking photos and disturbing his rest. You were the one hiring online trolls. How do you still have the nerve to question me? I was generous enough not to hold it against you. Yet you came here looking for trouble. I'll bite you to death." The person beside her quickly grabbed and restrained her. "Vivi, calm down." As she was carried away, she glared at him in displeasure. "Let me go. I'm not afraid of her." Mo Van said helplessly, all right. Let the two of them settle their own matters." After the door closed, Tik Vi crossed her arms sulkily. "Oomph." A quiet voice sounded from inside. "I'm sorry." Tik Vi looked delighted at those words. So she has a day like this too. But then a trace of sadness flickered in her eyes. Still, putting everything else aside, other than Nguyen Jing dragging us into this, there was no absolute right or wrong between them. Fairly speaking, one was an ambitious realist, while the other had ideals but lacked the resolve to stand by them. Mo Van said calmly, "People are naturally susceptible to being influenced by others." Tik Vi looked at him in surprise. "What is it?" He explained, "Don't let other people's affairs trouble you anymore. Hold my hand." She replied blankly, "Oh." Just then, Nguyen Jing came outside. "Teach Vivi Yumpid Bakin alarm. What are you doing?" Mo Van stood silently at her side, watching. Nguyen Jing merely said, "I've contacted specialists. They'll come to Ishan's home every day to examine him." Vivi Faunil. "Why? Nguyen Jing Baoet? I want to apologize to you. I always believed my decisions were for the best, and I ignored Ishan's feelings. I've also caused you trouble these past few days. I am sorry." Tik Vi smiled awkwardly and repeatedly waved her hand. "Oh, let bygones be bygones. Someone who recognizes their mistakes and corrects them is more precious than gold." Nguyen Jing still seemed slightly displeased, so she raised her head with a light snort. Tik Vi instinctively fell backward, and Mo Van swiftly caught her. He tenderly placed a light kiss on her forehead. Tik Vi was too stunned to react. "You," Modib Danevan explained. "Shorty." I couldn't restrain myself. At the same time, the entire scene fell into Mirage C's eyes. He rushed over and pulled them apart. "What are you doing?" Tik Vi held the hand of the person beside her and introduced with a smile, "We're overcoming a love tribulation." The person in front of them froze in disbelief. "What? You are immortals from different realms, and he already has a fiancée." Tik Vivi was stunned. She immediately dropped Mo Van's hand as if it had burned her. "A fiancé?" Mo Van froze where he stood. "Vivi," but his face instantly darkened. He promptly seized Tik Vi's hand and pulled her away without hesitation. Mirage C shouted angrily, "Hey!" Tik Vi only let out a startled cry. Mo Van pressed her against the wall and leaned close, urgently explaining, Vi, listen to me. She isn't my fiancée. She's only the person the immortal venerable chose for me to overcome my love tribulation with. If it bothers you, I'll return at once and refuse the immortal venerable." Tigvivi remained silent. Mo Van became increasingly anxious. Why wasn't she saying anything? Then she could not help laughing. "You've already said everything. What else is there for me to say?" Who knew the usually taciturn young lord would be so good at romance? Mo Van said solemnly, "Then from now on, we'll always be together. We'll manage Mirror Heart Courtyard together and help them overcome their tribulations one by one." The two gazed intently at each other. Suddenly, a voice made them both jump. "Don't worry, dear viewers. This wall is only this high. Isn't it easy to climb over? I spent days picking this exact wall to escape over. I guarantee no one will find out." At the same time, Divine Field was climbing over the wall, a bundle on his back and a phone in his hand, as he enthusiastically quickly live-streamed. The two people below looked up, too flustered to speak. He laughed awkwardly. What a coincidenza. Did senior brother Mo Van and sister Vi also choose this wall? After a while, the three sat in the small courtyard, where the atmosphere was so tense and silent it was suffocating. Vi held a stick in her hand, while Mo Van slowly read the documents. The bundle was also on the table. The culprit and the evidence were all there. Mo Van said, "This management contract does indeed have many loopholes and quite a few unfavorable restrictions for you. Still, live stream management contracts in the mortal realm are generally like this." Vi could not help smacking him on the head. "You foolish kid, are you blind? They told you to sign, so you just signed it?" Divine Field cried out after being hit. "Oh, come on, but they really like me. They even mapped out a live streaming career path for me and arranged for me to go to Shanghai for training." Mo Van stood and quietly asked, "Have you thought this through? Are you truly going to take this path in the future?" Divine Field replied, seriously, yes. Live streaming means more people will listen to me and find me interesting. Seeing Divine Field's dejected expression, Vi said, "Divine Field, you need to think carefully. They may like you very quickly, but they may also quickly like someone else. Some may even turn around and trample on you without mercy. You might face situations like the last one again. Even so, do you still want to go?" Divine Field lowered his head and quietly said, I'll follow senior brother Mo Van's and the guide's arrangements." Mo Van looked at him and asked softly, "Were you supposed to leave for Shanghai today?" Divine Field immediately nodded. Mo Van said calmly, "Then why aren't you leaving? Do you plan to break your word by missing the appointed time?" Divine Field's eyes widened in surprise. Then he looked up at Mo Van with shining eyes. "Senior brother Mo Van, you're letting me go?" Vi added, "We don't mean to stop you. We only hope that if anything happens in the future, you'll discuss it with us first." "Oh, right. Have you told your older brother about this?" Divine Field smiled foolishly. "I bought him a wheelchair. Sister Vi, please take care of him from now on." Vi replied casually, "Then bring your brother and Mirage C along. We'll see you off, and you need a haircut and some new clothes before leaving Mirror Courtyard." Divine Field could not help leaping into the air in excitement. "That's wonderful." A while later, at South Lake Bus Station, Divine Field carried a suitcase with an excited expression and kept waving. "I'm off." TVV waved back. "Be careful on the road." Then everyone headed home. As they walked, Vi sighed, "We've sent another one off. Little White Dragon will probably send someone here soon." Behind them, Mirage C pushed Divine Jade along, looking irritated. Vi suddenly wondered curiously, "I wonder what the next person will be like. Who would have thought that just a few months ago, Vi couldn't find a job. Now I've somehow become a recruiter for the Immortal Clan." Suddenly, Mo Van wrapped his arms around her from behind. Vivi's face visibly reddened in embarrassment. "Why are you suddenly doing this?" Mo Van shamelessly answered as though it were only natural. "I wanted to, so I did." Vivi laughed helplessly. "Fine. Since I've been blessed by the young lord, I won't take advantage of him for nothing." Mirage C angrily cut in. "Enough already. Someone has arrived in the courtyard." Vi exclaimed in surprise. "So soon?" The door was pushed open with a soft creak. A figure entered. The young woman before them hurriedly asked, "Are you the guide of Mirror Heart Courtyard?" Upon seeing her face, Vi could not help exclaiming, "Wow." She waved warmly and greeted her. Yes. I am Guide VV. Were you tired coming down to the mortal realm, sister?" Vi was filled with anticipation. This time, another fairy sister had come. Suddenly, the other woman drew a sword, pointed it directly at Mo Van, and shouted, "Who is he?" "Mirror Heart Courtyard is where our immortal disciples undergo tribulations. Mortals are not allowed inside." Vi quickly stood in front of Mo Van. "Wait, But before she could finish, the other woman cut her off. "Absurd. If a mortal learns heavenly secrets concerning the great matter of becoming immortal, he must die. You cannot protect him. Move aside." She immediately lunged forward. Vi cried out in panic. But as the sword stabbed toward her, it suddenly went limp like rubber, entirely devoid of any killing force. Mo Van covered his face helplessly, as though this scene were strangely familiar. The woman frowned in confusion. "What is this?" Then came a snort of laughter. Mirage C could not help saying, "Junior sister Celestial River, weren't you supposed to overcome your love tribulation with Mo Van? He's standing right in front of you, yet you don't recognize him?" TVV immediately falls. A love tribulation? Her mind swiftly sorted things out. The man behind her was the male lead. The woman before her was the official wife, and she herself was merely an exceptionally bright third wheel. A realization dawned on her. So was her. Wicked thoughts began rising in her heart. Go for it. Fight for your own love. Fight for what? She's the rightful wife with an official engagement. There's no difference between immortals and mortals for them. They may even be childhood sweethearts. So what if she's the rightful wife? You're the official wife now. Go on, hurry up. Those wicked thoughts made her lament inwardly without end. I should be in the car, not in the car, watching you two being sweet together. Meanwhile, Mo Van tried to explain to the other woman, it's ineffective. A toy. A mortal. After listening, Celestial River slowly said, I still have much to learn from you, senior brother. However, since heaven has arranged this love tribulation for the two of us, we should not waste time overcoming it. Senior brother Mo Van, let us begin overcoming the tribulation. As soon as she said this, she roughly tore open her own clothes. Tikvai Vai's face turned bright red in shock. No, 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 you can't. She immediately rushed over and instinctively shielded Mo Van. She hurriedly adjusted Celestial River's clothing. Senior sister Celestial River, you can't overcome a love tribulation so casually. Mo Van immediately added, that's right. I have no intention of overcoming a love tribulation with you either. Yet inwardly, he was inexplicably delighted. So Vai cares this much about me. Not only did she block a sword from me, she even protected me when facing a romantic rival. Suddenly, Celestial River spoke again. A love tribulation partner must be carefully chosen. Rather than choose him, choose me. Molly Dane Van angrily shouted. Teek VV. She quickly calmed down and coughed lightly. I mean, you should choose carefully when overcoming a love tribulation. You can't just take someone else's man. Mo Van, standing behind her, looked at Tikvai Vai with a dangerous, murderous gaze. Celestial River frowned. What? Even if you're the guide, you cannot stop me from overcoming my love tribulation. Mo Van hurriedly tried to mediate. Wait, don't fight. But Tikvai Vai punched Celestial River directly and shouted, move aside. This is women's business. Men, stay out of it. The two women exchanged fiery looks, as though they were about to go to war. Celestial River shouted, move. I must overcome my love tribulation with him now, so I can return to the immortal realm. Tikvai Vai shouted back without yielding, if you dare touch my man, you'll have to step over my dead body first. Her words struck Mo Van like a thunderbolt. His face flushed hot red, and his heart surged with intense emotion. She said, I'm her man. Her man. Her man. Celestial River, who had been transforming into a huge monster, abruptly returned to normal. Mirage C was astonished, while Mo Van remained dazed by Tikvai Vai's words. Celestial River suddenly frowned and asked, Mo Van is your man? Is that true? Tikvai Vai replied immediately without hesitation. It couldn't be more true. You don't believe me? Just watch. She then quickly wrapped her arms around Mo Van's neck and kissed him on the lips. She looked smugly at Celestial River afterward. Is that real enough for you now? Celestial River was so furious that she stammered. You have no shame. Young lord, you were pure and ascetic in the immortal realm. I never expected that after descending to the mortal realm, you would become this uninhibited. You're no longer worthy of overcoming a love tribulation with me. Tikvai Vai asked in confusion, Senior Sister Celestial River, do you have some misunderstanding about love tribulations? She walked over to Celestial River and explained seriously, it's time for the guide to shine. I'm here to save you. Come with me. She pulled Celestial River into the room and quickly shut the door. Outside, Imoven called out blankly, Vai. From inside, she promptly called back, come here. I'll show you something interesting. A historical drama was playing on the television. My wife, my husband. The male actor quickly embraced the person before him and sobbed in anguish. My wife, even if heaven and earth are destroyed, nothing can tear us apart. The actress in his arms wept bitterly. Just as the two were about to kiss, Celestial River could not help saying, This is so unsanitary. Her words left Vai utterly stunned. Celestial River abruptly sprang to her feet, weapon in hand and fully on guard. Wicked man and woman, you deserve to be slain. Seeing this, Tikvai hurriedly stopped her. They aren't monsters. She could not help but wonder, did the children of the immortal realm truly know nothing about romance? Why was Celestial River's reaction so strange? Suddenly, a faint sound came from outside. After a moment of silence, Celestial River asked. Is that your man? Salted, Vivi hurriedly replied. Listen, wait. Don't smash the television. This is how lovers in the mortal realm express their feelings. Celestial River looked at her skeptically. By exchanging saliva? Vivi hastily explained. Not exactly, but the sounds outside became increasingly urgent. Annoyed, Vivi quickly opened the door. When Imovan saw her come out, he said, Vivi, it's time for us to go out together. With a snort, Vivi grabbed his clothes, shoved him outside, and said loudly, Go tomorrow. Go back and sleep first. Stop bothering Celestial River and me. With that, she slammed the door shut without mercy. Mirage C, standing nearby, gave a smug laugh. An old flame can never compare with a new one. Suddenly, an indignant shout came from inside. You're a guide. How could you let me watch such obscene images? M.O. Van's face darkened at once, while Mirage C could not help covering his mouth to hide a laugh. Inside, Vivi immediately retorted, What's obscene about it? They were just kissing. Come here, and I'll demonstrate it for you. Tick Vivi guided Celestial River into a chair, her eyes gleaming mischievously. When men and women fall in love in a mortal realm, this is simply part of human emotions and desires. Come on, I'll help you get used to it. Celestial River frantically shook her head. No, there's no need. As the two drew closer, the atmosphere suddenly became strangely silent. Seeing Celestial River's stiff expression, Vivi burst out laughing. Ha ha, I'm only teasing you. Then she openly hugged her and coquettishly said, My little big sister is wonderful. You're full of immortal energy, fragrant, soft, and so comfortable. Then Vivi quickly sat upright again, suddenly serious. Celestial River, do you understand what it means to overcome a love tribulation? Celestial River blushed and quietly answered, I thought. It meant cultivating yin and yang. Vivi suddenly asked, Then do you want to? I mean, setting aside your engagement to M.O. Van. Do you want to cultivate with him? Celestial River immediately replied, My only goal is to become an immortal. I do not care what method is used. Vivi frowned helplessly. But overcoming a love tribulation requires two people who genuinely like each other. It isn't as simple as you think. Celestial River blankly repeated. Like each other, her innocent, foolish expression made Vivi even more helpless. How about this? Watch some Korean dramas and learn what the human feeling of liking someone really is. Here's the remote. Celestial River answered with determination. All right. The two watched until late into the night. Vivi eventually fell asleep on the sofa, exhausted, while Celestial River continued earnestly studying this new knowledge. The sun rose brightly beyond the window. Suddenly, someone gently shook Vivi. I understand now. Hearing this, Vivi groggily opened her eyes. Celestial River quickly gripped her shoulders and solemnly said, Senior brother M.O. Van and I cannot overcome the love tribulation because we do not like each other. He likes you, sister. I, Celestial River, have become the third party between you two. These words instantly woke Vivi completely. The third party? Vivi immediately waved her hands in denial. No. You two are engaged. By conventional morality, I'm the third party. Yet Celestial River firmly shook her head. No, I am. Vivi knitted her brows and stubbornly replied, No, it's me. But Celestial River abruptly stood up, speaking with great resolve. No, I must go explain this to Senior Brother M.O. Van. I, Celestial River, cannot be the third party. Vivi hurriedly chased after. Hey, Celestial River, wait. But after walking a short distance, Celestial River suddenly drew her sword in alert. There's a monster ahead. Wait until I've slain it before you come closer. In front of them was Divine Jade, naked and basking in a morning sun. Vivi hurriedly called from behind, Wait. But Celestial River had already rushed out. Monster, raise your head. Divine Jade raised his head and greeted her. Senior sister, Celestial River. The moment she recognized him, she cried out in surprise, Divine Jade. The person beside her awkwardly said, In any case, put some clothes on first. Once he was dressed, Divine Jade sat in his wheelchair and explained, Sorry for making you worry. My body has been too damp these past few days, so I asked Senior Brother M.O. Van to help dry me out. Senior Brother Mirage C helped me take off my clothes. Vivi thought to herself, It must be because Divine Field poured too much water into him before leaving. Celestial River called out, Where is Senior Brother M.O. Van? Speak of the devil, and he appeared. Mo Van held up 2 tickets and said eagerly, Vi Vi, let's go see a movie together. Vi Vi finally replied, sure. Buy 1 more ticket. We can also take Celestial River shopping for clothes and get her a haircut. Mo Van was immediately dumbfounded. What? She's coming too. So they all went to the movies together. Seeing the popcorn bucket in Vi Vi's arms, Celestial River curiously asked, is this tasty? The person beside her casually replied, thanks. Mo Van, sitting there like an actual third wheel, felt utterly out of place. The closing words appeared on screen. Thank you for watching. After the movie, they went out for a meal. When they returned, Vi Vi sighed, I'm so full. Mo Van agreed. Today's movie was pretty good. Suddenly, Celestial River spoke from behind them. This thing called a date. It's nice. Vi Vi turned around excitedly. If you like it, we can go again next time. What's wrong? But Vi Vi suddenly fell silent, her eyes widening in shock. Celestial River stared blankly at her own hand. What's happening to me? What is this? Celestial River's body suddenly swelled and expanded abnormally. Tick Vi Vi panicked at the sight, while Mo Van looked over in confusion. What's wrong? Before he could finish speaking, Vi Vi punched him flying backward. Don't look. Go back to your room. Then she quickly grabbed something to cover Celestial River. Celestial River clutched her head in panic. Why? Why has this happened? Don't panic. Calm down first. But Celestial River became even more frantic. You're the guide. Don't you know what's happening? No, I'm hungry again. I'm so hungry. Inside, Celestial River continuously swept through food like a storm. This is good. This is good too. The sight left Mirage so flustered that he could barely speak. Vi Vi folded her arms and frowned. If she keeps eating like this, we won't be able to earn money as fast as she spends it. Someone beside her hastily said, it's probably only like this on the first day. But the person behind them immediately cut in, wait, can someone explain what's wrong with her? He pointed at Celestial River, whose body was swelling like flour mixed with water. Suddenly, Celestial River stood up and declared firmly, I've thought it through. This must be my first tribulation. The others were astonished. What? Celestial River examined her reflection in the water and said with complete certainty, my first tribulation is taking away my beautiful appearance. My master must have seen how seriously I am overcoming my tribulation. So this is surely a reward. Vi Vi helplessly held her forehead, thinking, how can anyone treat a tribulation as such great fortune? Then she analyzed aloud, no, have none of you ever considered the practical meaning of a tribulation? Then she looked at the person beside her and asked, if it means stripping away beauty, shouldn't it happen to Mirage C, the one who cares most about his appearance? His face immediately turned pale with fright, but Vi Vi calmly continued, you second-generation immortals spend every day pretending to overcome tribulations. In my view, your tribulations aren't even as harsh as the hardships mortals endure. Hearing this, someone slapped the table and objected, how can you mortals compare with us? A dark, chilling aura instantly formed around Vi Vi. Why can't we? The two behind her fell silent in fear. Birth, aging, sickness, and death. Aren't all of those tribulations? Have you ever been sick? Have you ever been scorned by the world? You study for 3 days and pass an exam that takes us 12 years of hard study. Isn't that basically cheating? We overcome tribulations every day and still cannot become immortals. Yet you come down here, undergo one tribulation, and become immortals. What kind of empty formalism is this? I think Mirror Heart Courtyard is the most unfair place of all. Her words struck the 3 of them like a relentless rain of blades. Afterward, she snorted angrily and gulped down a cup of water. Mo Van remained silent at the sight, but he thought to himself, so this is what Vi Vi has always felt in her heart. The others remained silent. Suddenly, Vivi raised her. The 3 people nearby grew anxious. She raised her hand. Was she about to hit someone? Then Mo Van walked over and hugged her. Vi Vi looked at him in confusion. You still have the nerve to talk? I haven't settled things with you yet about the engagement. But before she could finish, he interrupted her. Celestial River has already told me about the engagement. I'll promptly report to the Immortal Venerable and dissolve it. It was my responsibility to begin with. Besides, I can see that you really like her. Vi Vi laughed and asked, seriously? You're jealous over this too? Mo Van said aggrievedly. You slept with her and you kissed her. Vi Vi replied helplessly, oh, come on. It's not as though I kissed her. Besides, I've slept with you too. This made him erupt even more. That's different. Seeing his reaction, Vai rubbed his head to comfort him. All right, it's different. So, shall we go for a walk? You promised yesterday. Only then did he answer with satisfaction. All right. 3 days later, Celestial River sat in front of them and declared fiercely, "Begin." I'm ready. Vivi with a hint. Start. As Celestial River concentrated on writing, Vai's phone vibrated. Hearing it, Vai took out her phone in confusion. It was a message from Dai Erfei, whose nickname was Take You Flying. The message read, "Emergency. Someone is looking for you." Upon seeing it, Tik Vai quickly headed outside. Mirage C. Perfect. Hearing her call, he turned around. Vai quickly stuffed a roll of paper into his hands. I have to step out for a while. Take over proctoring Celestial River's exam for me. Take this. Mirage C blankly pointed at himself. Me? At the entrance, 2 familiar police officers appeared. One greeted her. Tik Vai, right? We meet again. Come with us. Hearing that, Vai thought in alarm. Here it comes, the classic line from crime dramas. Which second-generation immortal has gotten into trouble this time? One of them pointed at Divine Jade and said, "There he is." Vivi exclaimed in Folk, Divine Yoda. What did you do this time? Seeing them arrive, he gave a foolish smile and replied, "It's nothing. I merely rescued a creature that belonged to the earth." The person beside her asked in confusion, "What are you talking about?" At that moment, a hand suddenly emerged from the water and reached onto the shore. Whoa! Then it grabbed Tik Vai's ankle, making her scream in terror. 20 minutes earlier, vendors have been aggressively calling out to customers. Take a look. Every stone is a winner. High-quality gemstones guaranteed to appreciate. Boss, don't leave. This stone definitely has something good inside. One man energetically promoted his goods. Boss Zhao, you have a good eye. I'll only charge you 500,000 for this stone. If there's nothing inside, come find me. The man opposite him was still hesitating. Divine Jade watched intently from behind. Inside the stone, a spirit was crying bitterly while the vendor continued his sales pitch. Really, I've been in this business for years. I can't be wrong. The man finally took out his wallet and decisively said, "All right, I'll take this one." The vendor quickly pulled out the payment code. "All right, scan here. After you've paid, please show me the payment confirmation." Before he could finish speaking, a hand suddenly reached over and took the stone. Then it quickly hurled the stone into the water. The vendor immediately grabbed Divine Jade and angrily shouted, "You cripple! You threw away my gemstone. Pay me 500,000. Divine Jade merely smiled and replied, "I have no money." The vendor became even more enraged. "You have no money, yet you dare to throw away my stone? Come with me to the police station." My stone. Suddenly, something leaped out of the water, leaving everyone present stunned. The flashback ended. Tik Vai, standing nearby, said, "You scared me to death." Then she looked at the soaked man beside her in bewilderment. "Sir, it was only a small stone. You didn't have to jump into the river for it." The vendor immediately shouted, "What do you mean, only a small stone? It was worth 500,000. Vai's mouth dropped open in shock. "What?" The man behind him immediately said, "You're the guardian of this cripple, right? Pay up. Vivi was utterly stunned. 500,000? One stone times 6 would equal an entire Mirror Heart courtyard." The person beside her calmly said, "That was just an ordinary river stone. There was nothing inside it. It wasn't worth 500,000. The vendor snorted disdainfully. "You say there's nothing inside just because you say so? What, are you a stone spirit reincarnated? Get out of the way." As he moved to rush forward, one police officer stopped him. "Hey you, no hitting people." But a hand quickly seized the man. Mo Van stood there, calmly looking at the stone vendor. Divine Jade slowly said, "You look down on me. I am the stone god." The man panicked and hurriedly backed away. What are you doing? Are you trying to hit me?" Mo Van simply replied, "He was wrong to throw away your property without permission. I apologize to you on his behalf." The man quickly drew the police officer closer as support. "That's more like it. Compensate me 500,000, and I'll be magnanimous enough to forgive you." Boss Zhao came over holding the stone and said to Divine Jade, "Young man, you said earlier that there was nothing inside this stone." Before he could finish, the vendor angrily shouted, "Hey, Boss Zhao, you can't believe this lunatic. What does he know? How could he be so sure there's nothing inside?" But another voice interrupted, "I can confirm there's nothing inside." Mo Van quickly snatched the stone and held it up. "Look carefully. Is this really your stone?" Boss Zhao was dumbfounded. The vendor quickly tried to snatch the stone back, shouting, Of course it's mine. Give it back. But Mo Van remained composed. How can you be certain it is yours? To me, it looks exactly like an ordinary river stone. Perhaps Boss Zhao picked up a different stone from the river. The man became even more aggressive. Don't try to steal my stone. Give it to me. He snatched it back and quickly pointed out a mark he had made earlier. I marked every one of my stones. If you don't believe me, look. Mo Van looked around at everyone present. You have all seen it. He has just proven that this stone belongs to him. Now that the stone has been recovered, and I have apologized on our side, we bear no legal liability. Boss Zhao stepped forward and said, I don't want this stone anymore. It simply has no affinity with me. The vendor was shocked. What? Then he quickly pointed at Tik Vai Vai and screamed, I was mistaken. This isn't my stone. You people must have lost my 500,000 stone. You have to compensate me. At that moment, Mo Van stepped in front of Vai Vai. The man's loud voice continued, You have to compensate me. Everyone present was angered, but Mo Van merely said calmly. Everyone here heard him. He confirmed it himself, then immediately went back on his word. The evidence is right here, yet he still wants to act shamelessly. Do you need to go to court before you admit you are wrong? His words made the man opposite him tremble in fear and stammer. In no need. This is my stone. Watching him flee in defeat, Divine Jade merely snorted smugly. Just then, someone behind him called out, young lord, that was pretty cool. While the two behind them were being lovey-dovey, Boss Zhao approached Divine Jade respectfully. Sir, master, could you take a look and see whether this stone has anything valuable inside? Meanwhile, Mirage C sat listlessly as he supervised Celestial River's exam. Why aren't you done yet? You're too slow. Hand in your paper already. As she worked through her test, he kept interrupting and urging her on. Hurry up, hurry up. A sheet of paper suddenly flew over, startling him. Oh, it's here. Finally finished. Done. The person behind him glared furiously at his departing back, her face darkening. Is that how you proctor an exam? You interrupted my train of thought. But he did not care in the slightest. Calmly, he said, that is how exams work in the mortal realm. If you finish early, you hand in your paper early. I still need to go find Vai Vai. Hearing that, Celestial River frowned. After a moment of thought, she asked, You have adapted to mortal life already. Why have you not left Mirror Heart Courtyard? His face filled with affection as he looked at her gently. Of course it is because I like Vai Vai. I just like staying here with her. Watching him leave, she was confused. Mirage C likes the guy too? Why does my chest feel so uncomfortable? Could this be my second trial? Tik Vai Vai had just returned, holding a thick stack of cash with great excitement. I never expected Divine Jade to be so discreet. But will he be all right following Boss Zhao? Oh no, I'm so worried. She claimed to be worried, but her delighted expression did not look worried at all. Mo Van noticed a leaf caught in her hair and reached out to remove it. But the gesture startled her. What are you doing? Hey! She immediately became wary, leaving him feeling helpless. Seeing this, she was startled. Mo Van spoke slowly. The Divine Brothers have left Mirror Heart Courtyard. They will naturally find their own way to survive. Rather than worrying about them, why not? Upon hearing that, she suddenly leaned closer. Why not what? He blushed but did not hide it. Why not care about me instead? As the two flirted, Celestial River appeared, visibly uncomfortable for being force-fed their affection. Then a cough sounded. Ahem, ahem. The sound made the pair quickly move apart. Celestial River walked past them irritably, leaving Vai Vai bewildered. Looking at Celestial River's angry retreating figure, Vai Vai asked in confusion, What is wrong with her? Mo Van was silent for a moment before saying, Do not mind her. Then he quickly took her hand. Look at me. His words made her freeze. Oh. Night soon fell. Tik Vai Vai slept soundly when a dark, sinister aura suddenly attached itself to her. She opened her eyes in a daze. This does not look like the heart of Mirror Heart Courtyard. Am I dreaming? Is someone there? The other person spoke as well. You are the guide of Mirror Heart Courtyard. Miss Tik, correct? He turned around, wearing an ID badge on his chest. Hello, I am Ming Fong Zhou, an external staff member of the Underworld Client Services Office. Fong Zhou, vi was somewhat flusto. Ashilo, you said the Underworld. Are you a ghost officer? Hearing this, he enthusiastically shook her hand. You may call me that. Here is the situation. Among the spirits recently admitted to our underworld, there is a person of great merit. This distinguished guest belongs to the Southward Tremor Hall and has an unfulfilled wish. We hope that Miss Tik can help fulfill it. In return, the underworld will owe you a favor. Hearing this, She accepted the card containing the person's information. Chu Nok Bin, born in 1976, died in 2012. Cause of death, illness from overwork. She quickly turned it over. Number 32, East Tower Lane. After reading it, she said, "All right, I will take the card. Helping is not a problem, but what exactly do I need to do?" At that moment, a resentful spirit burst out and screamed, "I want you to help my daughter get divorced. Help my daughter get divorced." The sudden action frightened Vai Vai so badly that she covered her face and screamed. Fang Zhou hurried forward and apologized at the sight of her panic. "Sorry for frightening you, Miss Tick. All right, the wish has been conveyed. We must be going now. Goodbye, Miss Tick." Meanwhile, the spirit continued screaming, "Divorce! Divorce!" Vai Vai abruptly opened her eyes and sat up. "Phew, you scared me to death. What was that? A dream? Or was it real?" But when she looked beside her, she saw the card lying there neatly. "Wait, is this not the card from my dream?" Next to her, Imo Van was fast asleep. He was half naked, and her face instantly flushed hot red. In her heart, she screamed in utter confusion. The night before, while Vai Vai was deeply asleep, a hand had suddenly appeared. Imo Van had looked at her with suspicion and vigilance. Why does she carry the aura of the underworld? Suddenly, the sleeping woman moved and rolled over, hugging his hand. This made him blush awkwardly. This is improper. I should leave at once. Yet when he saw her peaceful sleeping face, he could not restrain himself. Just one kiss. Suddenly, her hand grabbed the back of his neck and pulled him down hard. The unexpected move made him panic. "Wait. Do not wait." In short, after a chaotic series of this and that, and then that and this, he ended up lying on the bed with his clothes in disarray, while she clung to him like a teddy bear and would not let go, giving in, lowering his boundaries, even enjoying it a little. Perhaps it was not so bad. Meanwhile, the culprit slept soundly and innocently. After recounting everything, Imo Van blushed as he said, "That is what happened." The person before him seemed to be processing the information, then turned red as she looked at him. "How could that be? Did I force myself on you?" Seeing her burning gaze, he calmly replied, "That is right. Do you want a touch?" The scene made her heart tremble violently. "Igriegagis. No, show somi restraints. Zik vivi." Then she hurriedly said, "That would not be very appropriate, would it?" Yet her hand was already itching to move. He asked again, "So, do you want to touch?" She immediately answered, "Yes." Inwardly she thought, "Restraint my foot." Looking at the lustful woman before him, Imo Van asked softly, "What did the people from the underworld want with you?" As she touched his chest muscles, she dazedly replied, "Huh? They came looking for me? Ah, that is right. I need to find her daughter. Beauty has led me astray." After a moment, she found the exact address. Found it. It should be here, number 32, East Tower Lane. An elderly woman passing by asked, "Young lady, who are you looking for?" Vai Vai politely asked, "Grandma, may I ask whether Chu Nakbin's family used to live here?" The old woman sighed helplessly. She has not had a family for years. She passed away long ago, and this area has been demolished. Her daughter, Li Tu Gwyn, married into the neighboring village. Walk down this road for a few blocks, and you will find Tu Gwyn's shop. "Thank you, Grandma." As they walked, Vai Vai muttered to herself, "She married into the next village, so they should know each other well. And she owns a shop, which means her life should be decent enough. Why is Chu Nakbin so determined to have her daughter get divorced?" The two arrived at a small food stall. This is it. The shop is called Lee's Stinky Tofu. Seeing it, Vai Vai exclaimed in surprise, "Oh my god, they actually sell stinky tofu." She then turned toward Imo Van. "Let's line up first. What is wrong with you?" Imo Van had already quickly backed away. "Do not go near that." Vai Vai helplessly pulled him along. "Come on. It is a mortal snack. It smells terrible, but it tastes delicious." Just then, she accidentally bumped into a little girl. "Vivi huriedli apologisidin concern." "I am sorry. Are you all right?" The girl had fallen to the ground and stared blankly at the lunch boxes scattered everywhere. Someone urgently told her, "Get up quickly." Vai Vai noticed the injuries on the girl's body and grew suspicious. "Oh, this child." She hurriedly called after her, "Hey." But the girl quickly ran to a woman. "Mom, I will help you." Vai Vai thought, that must be the daughter of Chu Nakbin's daughter. So Chu Nakbin wants her daughter to get divorced because of domestic violence. In any case, let's get in line first. Imo Van impatiently urged her from behind, "Hey, move forward." But Vai Vai remained lost in thought. What should I do now? I have it. Imo Van gave her a cold glare. Vai Vai quickly turned to him. "Imo Van, let me tell you something. My good friend Xiao Qing got divorced a few days ago because her husband beat her and their child every day." The woman serving tofu suddenly froze. Vi Vi continued without stopping. Men who beat women and children are absolutely unacceptable. Mo Van's mind became a mess. Why is Vi Vi suddenly saying this? Is she trying to imply something? He coughed a few times and answered with a blush. Ahem, Vi Vi, do not worry. I would never use my physical strength to commit violence. As he spoke, he took her hand. From now on, I will certainly treat you and our child well. Our child. But Vi Vi's attention was fixed on Lee Tu-Gwyn, who appeared flustered and unsettled. Sorry, everyone. I just remembered something urgent. I will not be selling anything today. The people in line frowned in displeasure and began murmuring. What the hell? We waited in line for so long. Forget it. A mother and daughter do not have it easy. Do not talk nonsense. She has a husband. What good is a husband like hers? Mrs. Lee. Vi Vi quickly ran over and took her hand. The man beside me is a lawyer. There is nothing he cannot handle. If you're in trouble, call this number. Our great lawyer Mo Van is especially good at divorce cases. After saying that, she stuffed a slip of paper into the woman's hand. Lee Tu-Gwyn stared blankly at it in shock. Vi Vi said, Mo Van, let us go. The man behind her replied blankly, all right. As he left, he began to panic inwardly. We are leaving just like that, but I have never handled a divorce case before. Meanwhile, Lee Tu-Gwyn lowered her head and muttered, Divorce? How could I possibly get a divorce? She crumpled the slip of paper and threw it away. A small hand quickly picked it up. Back at Mirror Heart Courtyard, Vi Vi ate while looking at Mo Van. Mo Van, we will have to rely on you for Lee Tu-Gwyn's case, followed by a long stream of pleading. Mo Van looked worried. That is easy to say, but I have never handled a divorce case. Mirage C added from the side. Besides, you have not even passed the exam to get your license. Mo Van quickly corrected him. I have a license. I took the exam for the second time yesterday. I only received a C-grade license, but it is enough for divorce cases. Vi Vi said in relief, that is good. Still, the most important thing is for Tu-Gwyn herself to stand up for herself. Suddenly, the phone on the table vibrated. Mirage C exclaimed, This is the first time I've seen this blockhead receive a phone call. Vi Vi frowned and urged, It must be Lee Tu-Gwyn. And Mo Van put on speaker. The instant he answered, a loud slap sounded through the phone. He immediately said, Hello, this is Mo Van. A sobbing voice followed. Uncle Mo Van, save my mother. Boo-hoo. Si Suyidli said, Riri, is this Hui? Find a place to hide first. You must protect yourself. Do you know your home address? The girl quickly answered, I only know it is in the residential complex. Vi Vi immediately replied, Got it. We will be there right away. Mo Van, let us go. But he caught her hand and calmly reassured her. Do not panic. He then said steadily, You are Hui, right? Do not cry. Calm down first. The girl sobbed, Oh, okay. He asked, Do you want to save your mother? Turn on the camera. I need to know what is happening right now. Vi Vi angrily demanded. At a time like this, you are still thinking about video? Saving them is more important. Mo Van calmly asked, and what happens after we solve this once? We need solid evidence. The call switched to video. On the screen, a man held a belt in one hand and gripped Lee Tu-Gwyn's hair with the other, yelling, The child got such terrible grades. Is this how you raise her? Lee Tu-Gwyn, covered in injuries, pleaded, Do not be angry. I did not do well enough. Do not hit Hui. She is still little. You will hurt her. The man raised his belt. You worthless woman need a beating. Remember this. It is not that I like hitting people. You deserve to be hit. Seeing this, Celestial River slammed the table and shouted, I am furious. How can a man like this exist? I'm going to beat him up. Mo Van handed the phone to Mirage C and instructed, Keep recording the video and call the police. Vi Vi, Celestial River, and I will go save them. Mirage C quickly answered, All right. Before long, the three arrived at the residential complex. It is here. We need to find Hui's home quickly. A resident greeted someone nearby. Aunt Zhang, taking out the trash again? Aunt Zhang sighed. Yes, I come down sometimes just to get some peace and quiet. A dissatisfied man asked, Is that Gua family beating the wife again? Vi Vi immediately caught those words. Beating his wife? Aunt Zhang said helplessly. I heard crying and screaming when I passed by. That Gua Ming is not even human. What hope is there in a life like that? The other person said, Does Tu-Gwyn not have a daughter? She has to keep living like this for her child. Mo Van quickly stepped forward and asked, Excuse me, could you tell me where Lee Tu-Gwyn lives? At the same time, a piercing scream rang out, immediately drawing everyone's attention. Guoming grabbed Lee Tu-Gwyn by the hair and roared viciously, You damned woman! Where is this month's money from the shop? Trembling weakly, she said, It is for Hui Huey's tuition. He turned toward the person behind her with a savage glare. With grades like hers, what is she studying for? You little brat, get out here. What are you filming? I will beat you to death. The person behind him panicked in terror. No, do not. Suddenly, a pair of scissors stabbed violently into his back. The others stared in disbelief. Li Tu-Gwyn had gone mad with rage and completely lost control, repeatedly driving the scissors into him. Aunt Zhang led the group there, trembling as she said, Teach, this is the house. Loud crashing sounds came from inside. Imogen immediately kicked down the door and rushed in. Inside, Guoming was covered in blood and crawling on the floor. Save me. Celestial River rolled up her sleeves angrily. This is that worthless scum? He deserves it. Imogen stopped her. Call an ambulance first. Do not let him die. Sis hushed inside anxiously. Kaling, oui. Mrs. Li. An ambulance soon arrived and took Guoming and Li Tu-Gwyn away. Li Tu-Gwyn kept weakly repeating, oui. Vai gently reassured her, do not worry, Annie. We will take care of her. Vai picked up the little girl and handed her to Celestial River. Imogen and I are going to the hospital. Hui will be in your care. Celestial River froze in panic. Me? But Vai quickly placed the child in her arms. Before leaving, she added, Did you not want to become a teacher? Consider this practice. Imogen and I need to discuss Annie Lee's case. We're going back to our room first. The child trembled and hiccuped in Celestial River's arms as the two looked at each other. Celestial River fell into thought. Inwardly, she wondered, why is she awake? The little girl trembled in fear. Who are you? I want my mother. Boo-hoo. Celestial River coldly said, You are not allowed to cry. The frightened child cried even louder. Wah. The scene left Celestial River utterly flustered. Wait, do not cry. As Imogen walked, he spoke steadily. Annie Lee's situation is not optimistic. I looked through a great deal of information yesterday. Most victims of domestic violence can only file for divorce. Very few abusers actually go to prison. Taking a step back, even if Guoming really goes to prison, Aunt Lee would only receive a small amount of compensation. All her assets over the years have been registered under Guoming's name. So, my suggestion is to make Guoming leave the marriage with nothing. Hearing this, she clenched her teeth and said indignantly, Aunt Lee silently sacrificed and endured so much in that marriage. In the end, this is all she's worth. Seeing this, he quickly took the trembling hand beside him. Vivi. Only then did she calm down. She looked up, tears glistening at the corners of her eyes. You're right. Right now, the house and money are indeed more important to Aunt Lee. Let's ask her what she thinks later. Just then, a group of people waved banners and shouted noisily, Punish that wicked woman severely. Give justice to my son. Give justice to my son. She stared blankly at the scene. Are those Guoming's relatives? At the same time, their shrill voices continued. A modern-day adulteress. She stabbed her husband dozens of times. Those words ignited Tik Vai's fury. What the hell are you talking about? She rushed forward, making Imogen call out in alarm. Vai. She snatched away a banner. An elderly woman furiously shouted. What are you doing? What's wrong with this woman? Are you on that shameless woman's side too? No wonder my daughter-in-law had the nerve to do this. You must have encouraged her. Not to be outdone, Vai grabbed her by the collar and shouted furiously. Why don't you ask what your precious son has done? Just wait. Evildoers will be punished sooner or later. With that, she released the woman, turned around, and went to a corner to wipe her hands. The gesture enraged the other woman. You vicious thing. Before she could finish, Vai threw the tissue into her face. Trash! Another voice cut in. Guoming's mother. Isn't this woman the one who was in the news not long ago? She's quite rich. At that, the woman's eyes gleamed greedily. That's right. She should pay Ming's medical bills and compensation for his losses. The man opposite asked, Where does she live? Someone immediately answered, I think the place is called Mirror Heart Courtyard. That night, Guoming's family searched around for Mirror Heart Courtyard. The man impatiently demanded, Didn't they say it was here? Guoming's mother irritably replied, That's right. Then why can't we find the front entrance? Someone beside her said uneasily, We've been walking for half an hour, and we haven't even seen the old intersection. Her anger gave way to fear. This place is too strange. Could that bitch Li Tu-Gwyn be playing tricks on us? At that moment, a blinding bolt of lightning struck, making them all shudder as eerie black mist spread through the air. One of them was so frightened that he fainted, foam spilling from his mouth. Second uncle fainted. Seeing the black mist gradually take shape, Guoming's mother asked in terror, what is that thing? The next morning, Tikvaivai looked helplessly at Celestial River. What's the most important thing when teaching children? Patience. She had scolded the little girl so much that even the hand holding the pen was trembling. How are you supposed to teach her properly? Hearing this, Celestial River looked at Hui Hui and hurriedly defended herself. But the moment she picks up a pen, she starts shaking. It's not because I scolded her. Vai noticed it as well. She moved closer gently. Hui Hui, don't be afraid. Yet the girl instinctively covered her face with her hands and trembled. Seeing that, Vai thought angrily that bastard Guoming must have hit her. Mo Van arrived just then. I'm back. She turned around. Mo Van, you're back. But why did you bring so many bodyguards? Guoming's family is here. At once, she moved Hui Hui behind her protectively. Hearing this, Celestial River angrily walked out. The Guo family? They still dare to come here and make trouble? She slammed her hand on the table. The man opposite hurriedly explained, No. This is a misunderstanding. We came to apologize. At that moment, black mist appeared behind them, crying out eerily, If you want to apologize, have Guoming come himself. The Guo family immediately scattered in panic. There really is a ghost. As Guoming's mother ran inside, she shouted, We're sorry. Our family wronged you. The man also fled in terror. We'll go home and scold him right away. We'll make sure he turns over a new leaf. As she ran, the woman screamed, Every grievance has its source. Every debt has its debtor. When I get home, I'll burn plenty of spirit money for you. Suddenly, she crashed into someone. The young man calmly brushed off his shoulder. Did you see a ghost? Why are you running so fast that you're crashing into people? She staggered back in fright. Celestial River led Hui Hui by the hand and said, Then we'll head back to our room first. Vivi waved goodbye. Get some good rest. Suddenly, the door opened and someone entered. Excuse me, which of you is Mrs. Li Tu Gwyn's defense attorney? Hearing this, he quickly stepped forward. I am. The other man frowned skeptically upon seeing him. Sir, who are you? I've never seen you in legal circles. He pulled out a business card. I'm Attorney Chien from Spring City Law Firm. Our firm ranks among the top 10 in Spring City. Before he could finish, Tikvaivai snatched the card away. Frowning in annoyance, she said, Enough with that tone. Get to the point. What are you here for? The man arrogantly pulled out a stack of papers. Then I'll be direct. Have your client sign this agreement. You know this is a criminal case. If it can be settled, don't take it to court. Intentional injury and self-defense. Since you're a lawyer too, I shouldn't have to explain that to you, should I? After reading its contents, she clenched her fists and said angrily, Compensation for lost wages, emotional damages, and custody of Hui Hui goes to Guoming. Her rage flared so fiercely that the lawyer before her became wary. She grabbed him like a tyrannosaurus and roared, I thought you were merely stupid. I didn't expect you to be both stupid and evil. Hand Hui Hui over to that scum? Is that something any normal person would think of? Startled, the man snatched the papers back and stammered, If you won't sign, then we'll see each other in court. The court will definitely give the child to the side with better financial conditions. My client is a senior executive at a foreign company. What does Li Tu Gwyn have? She's a housewife running some rundown little shop. His words made her slam the table even harder. The force cracked the stone tabletop, terrifying those nearby. Tikvaivai shouted furiously. Was being a housewife ever what she wanted? Didn't Guoming swindle away all her money and her home? He forced her to be a housewife, then turned around and claimed she couldn't afford to raise their child. Is there any justice in that? Mo Van quickly stepped forward. Vivi, calm down. Let me handle this. Then he faced the man. Attorney Chien, did your client fail to mention that he has a habit of beating his daughter? The other man spoke disdainfully. What's the big deal if a biological father hits his own child? Vai became even more enraged. But he merely thought to himself, if I've taken their money, I have to solve their problems. Never mind child abuse. Even if he were a murderer today, I'd still have to get him out of this. After stopping the person beside him, Mo Van handed over a stack of papers. You could take this agreement back and look it over. Tell your client for me. We have video footage. I advise him to sign it soon and settle this privately. The man in front of him asked in confusion, Video? What video? Before he could say more, Vai kicked him straight out of Mirror Heart Courtyard. You don't even know the situation, yet you came here making a scene? Go ask Ming yourself. Goodbye. Get lost. But then a voice spoke up. Wait, I brought 2 friends to stay here for a few days. You don't mind, do you, Vai? Hatch Veem suddenly appeared, dragging a suitcase behind him. In a secluded corner, Tik Vai quickly grabbed Mo Van's hand and asked anxiously, We're just letting him move in like that. Modib Danevan spoke slowly. Stay calm. The plague god is about to return to the immortal realm. Hatch Veem must have his own purpose for coming now. We might as well remain quiet and see how things unfold. At Second People's Hospital, Attorney Chien pushed open the door to the hospital room and rushed inside. The moment Ming saw him, he urgently asked, Attorney Chien, how did the discussion go? Did they sign the agreement? Attorney Chien frowned and questioned him seriously. Mr. Gua, tell me the truth. Who struck first, you or the woman? Ming shouted angrily. What are you talking about? Attorney Chien sighed and pulled out the documents. Of course it was that damned woman. Take a look at this. Seeing the title, Ming froze in shock. He quickly grabbed it and read through the contents before shouting furiously. That shameless woman wants me to leave with nothing? She wishes. At that moment, Ming's mother rushed in anxiously. What? Leave with nothing? That greedy bitch. We should have killed her long ago. Tear up that agreement for me. Seeing this, Attorney Chien spoke with a headache. Ma'am, you can't say things like that in front of others. If they truly have footage showing that Mr. was struck first, then leaving with nothing may be the best possible outcome. Hearing that, the man on the bed trembled in panic. Video? What video? That bitch. No wonder they arrived so quickly. Attorney Chien worried inwardly. They really have a video? Then, forcing a stiff smile, he said, If there's video evidence, I still advise you to sign this agreement. After all, Mr. Gua was an outstanding student and is now a senior corporate executive. In 3 to 5 years, he can earn another house and car elsewhere. But if you insist on going to court, the evidence is unfavorable to us. Domestic violence, intentional injury, child abuse, these all depend on how the court rules. If he ends up in prison, the record will follow him for life. Ming's father frowned suspiciously at him. Prison? That lawyer really is capable. His wife grumbled unhappily. At least he's better than the one on our side. The words all fell on Attorney Chien's ears, but he could only smile awkwardly. At the same time, Ming's mother hurried outside. No, this can't stand. We have to go reason with those people at Mirror Heart Courtyard. Meanwhile, Hatch Veem came over. Vai, Duong Du, and Lu Wai are here. I'll go pick them up. After saying that, he swiftly turned and left. Watching him go, Tik Vai sighed helplessly. Is his whole family really moving in? But who is Lu Wai? Suddenly, a hand lifted her chin. The man looked at her with sparkling eyes. She isn't important. No need to care about her. Let's play chess. Hearing that, she could not help but marvel. Wow, you're really good at this, huh? As Hatch Veem stepped outside, he spotted Ming's parents. Ming's father looked at the person beside him and whispered, This man looks like someone important. He's from Mirror Heart Courtyard too. The woman asked faintly, So what if he has a powerful background? Does that mean he can bully people? She then rushed up to him. Hey you're from Mirror Heart Courtyard too, aren't you? Go tell that lawyer. Seeing her aggressive manner, Hatch Veem was startled and thought, this is exceptionally potent resentment. So they're my kind. He put on a refined manner and said, Elders, every grievance has its source, and every debt has its debtor. You have the wrong person. At once, the two of them seemed to fall under his hypnotic influence. Ming's mother looked at the person beside her and said, That's right. That shamelessly Tu Nguyen was the one who hired the lawyer. What does it have to do with the lawyer? Ming's father agreed. Exactly. I said long ago that she gave birth to a daughter and nearly bled to death afterward. She's pure bad luck, a disaster for our family. We should go kill her. The person beside him chimed in fiercely. I'm old, so it doesn't matter what happens to me. I can't let her take little Ming's money. At night, a figure walked down the street, muttering tiredly. I shouldn't have drunk those 2 bottles of liquor. Suddenly, the harsh scraping of a knife being sharpened sounded through the still night. Who's sharpening a knife at this hour? Guoming's mother was sharpening a knife as she whispered coldly, "Just wait, little Ming. Mother will take care of it for you." Guoming suddenly woke in terror. Seeing the 2 figures before him, he cried out, "Mother, father, what are you doing?" Guoming's mother said, "Son, today I'll go kill that slut for you. What belongs to you cannot be taken by anyone. Don't worry. From now on, you must live well on your own." She kept rambling while Guoming's father grasped her hand. Guoming's mind was clouded by black mist, but then he flung out his arm, his eyes filled with hatred. "No, if anyone is going to kill her, it should be me. Give me the knife. Let me do it." He grabbed the knife and charged outside. Tik Vai Vai cried out in shock. "What? Huh?" Mo Van hurriedly pulled her away. In a low, urgent voice, she asked, "Weren't there people taking turns guarding the hospital? How did this still happen? Is Aunt Lee all right?" Behind them, Celestial River anxiously tied Hui Huey's hair. Mo Van was silent for a moment before speaking in a grave voice. "Guoming went mad last night. He injured a police officer with a knife and was shot dead during the arrest." She froze in shock. He was shot dead? Inside Lee Tu Gwyn's hospital room, someone said, "Aunt Lee, this was just sent over by Attorney Chien." Fortunately, Guoming signed the agreement before he died. Looking at her as she read the divorce agreement, he continued slowly, "And it isn't just the house, car, and shop listed in the agreement. Since the 2 of you weren't divorced yet, you'll also receive a share of Guoming's remaining assets." After reading it, she simply put the papers down. She gazed out the window and murmured softly, "He's dead. Good. It's best that he's dead." Yet tears still rolled uncontrollably down her cheeks. Back at Mirror Heart Courtyard, Mo Van looked at the person in front of him and asked, "You aren't happy?" She replied dejectedly, "Not exactly. It just feels strange." He had already signed the agreement, so why would Guoming still do something like that? Mo Van fell silent in thought. "It is rather strange," the person beside them added. "That incident truly was inexplicable and unexpected." Suddenly, someone called out, "Vai Vai." Hatchveem came over. "This is Lu YY. She was our academic class representative in high school." She waved. "Hello, Vivi." Vai Vai returned the greeting with a gentle nod. Lu YY stepped forward and asked, "Hatchveem told me you're the owners of Mirror Heart Courtyard. Could you show me around?" The person beside her said, "Welcome, follow me." As they walked, she exclaimed with interest, "Wow, perhaps because it's an old house, it feels strangely familiar." Her words made Vai Vai suspicious. "Familiar," Hatchveem said from behind, "then we'll also..." But before he could finish, Mo Van interrupted, "Wait, let's have some tea together first." Tik Vai Vai handed the woman a cup of tea. She quickly accepted it. "Thank you." Then she suddenly said, "This courtyard is truly peaceful. The moment I entered, I felt much calmer." Mirror Heart Courtyard means calming the heart, doesn't it? The person before her replied, "No. The mirror in Mirror Heart Courtyard refers to the mirror in flowers reflected in a mirror and the moon reflected in water. Take the heart as a mirror to reflect upon oneself. Take the mirror as the heart to reflect upon others." Her eyes widened in surprise. Vague old memories suddenly surfaced in her mind. Only by taking the heart as a mirror can you avoid losing yourself. Do you understand? The images left her confused and unsettled. What was that just now? When did those memories happen? That night, Mo Van slowly knocked on the door. The moment it opened, he said, "Vai Vai, I gave my room to them, so I..." Before he could finish, the person inside interrupted, "It's not like we've never slept together before. Get in already." He stiffly entered, flustered. Once he lay down on the bed, his heart was in turmoil. This isn't quite what I imagined. Beside him, she thought excitedly, "Let's share a little blanket." Suddenly, she looked toward him. "Right, I was going to tell you. I suspect Lu YY is a lost one. And Mo Van, I'm talking to you." But he had withdrawn into himself and was pretending to sleep. After a while, he finally said, "It's late. We should be resting." She could not help sitting up and peering at him. "Are you really asleep?" Then she started pressing, rubbing, and wriggling against him. Seeing the discomfort on his face, she teasingly became even more smug. Then she suddenly pinched his nose. "You went with Hatchveem and the others today. Didn't you find anything? Are you not pretending to be asleep anymore?" He abruptly sat up and hurriedly said, "Why, you should get down first." At that moment, Mo Van vaguely recalled the 88 questions about love, men's edition. What should you do if your girlfriend appears to be proposing? Refuse. A responsible man should uphold his virtue. He swiftly ended his recollection. He turned his head away to avoid her. "No, not now." Hearing this, Tik Vi Vi was shaken and began recalling the 88 questions about love, Women's Edition. What should you do if your boyfriend can't perform? There are no incapable men, only men unwilling to work hard. She then put on a helpless expression, though she was actually testing him. If you can't do it, I could go find Hatch Veem myself. The other party immediately became highly alert. He quickly grabbed her hand and frowned. Go find Hatch Veem? If I won't do that sort of thing with you, you'll go find him? The woman across from him looked utterly bewildered. What sort of thing? Weren't we talking about Hatch Veem and Lu YY? What's wrong with that? Hearing this, he blushed and stammered awkwardly. But your position. As if she had caught the key point, her eyes lit up with interest. My position? Fine. This is much more comfortable. With that, she lay down, pulled his arm around her waist, and urged, come on, let's gossip. After sleeping, I'm planning to go to Mirror Heart Courtyard. Who am I? Where am I? She only flirts and refuses to take responsibility. Was it wrong for me to uphold my virtue? As he thought this, he carefully pulled the blanket over her. At the same time, the person in his arms continued chattering. If Lu YY really is a lost one, I'll find her lotus heart. Maybe she can return like Ishan did, though I'm not sure. Seeing that she had drifted off to sleep, he gently kissed her forehead and said, good night. Over here, Dai Air Fei cried out in astonishment. You're planning to look for the Lotus Heart at a time like this? That person is traveling with someone from the demon clan who is suspected of being a spirit demon imposter. Tik Vi Vi blankly replied, if we can find it, then your immortal realm will have one more person returning. Isn't that a good thing? The person before her stomped her foot in anger. You're thinking too simply. Do you know how dangerous the Red Lotus Othershore has become recently? The demonic energy throughout Mirror Heart Courtyard has surged, let alone the Red Lotus. Before she could finish, the other woman had vanished. If you insist on going, take me with you. Tik Vi Vi, listen to me first. Meanwhile, Vi Vi had already reached the Red Lotus Othershore. Whether it's dangerous or not, won't we find out by taking a look? She gently parted a lotus flower. The moment she clearly saw the other person's face, she hurriedly said, excuse me, excuse me. Then she diligently began searching. A moment later, she joyfully cried out, I found it. Why did you come back? At that moment, the woman blushed and softly asked, Senior Brother Yin, can I undergo the trial of love with you? Watching this scene, Vi Vi thought helplessly, she's been harmed by love again. The other party answered, all right. Seeing that, she angrily cursed to herself, jerk. He's definitely a jerk. Wait, this is Hatch Veem. At that moment, a brilliant golden lotus shot rapidly toward her. A vision of Mo Van, pointing his sword at Huyen Hai, appeared clearly once more. He had coldly said then, move aside. The scene threw her into confusion and panic. This is... Back then, the severely injured man had resolutely replied, I won't move. The person opposite him, no less seriously wounded, said, she has fallen into demonhood. She cannot escape heaven's punishment. I will kill her, then end my own life. Hearing this, the woman behind them fiercely clawed out her own heart. Heaven's punishment? I refuse to accept it. I refuse to accept heaven. Then she crushed her heart. Dense golden chains immediately appeared. Mirror Heart Courtyard. That is Mirror Heart Courtyard's heart. At the same time, Dai Air Fei appeared. This woman is causing trouble with a divine artifact again. Tik Vi Vi was bound tightly by the chains. Chaotic visions continuously flooded her mind. Dai Air Fei cried out in panic. Wake up! Wake up! Teague Vivi. At that moment, a woman with the exact same face as hers spoke coldly. I do not accept heaven and earth. The laws of this world are not so clearly divided into black and white. If one day I fall into demonhood, what will you do, Mo Van? You are an enforcer of the immortal realm. At that time, he held her tightly and firmly declared, I will not live alone. His words moved the woman to tears. Dieta Fei shouts it, Vivi, wake up, Vivi. But the golden chains were now slowly crawling into her body in a terrifying manner. Mo Van anxiously held her. Vi Vi, you stayed inside Mirror Heart Courtyard for too long. There was demonic energy on you just now. Hearing this, she merely sat up coolly. It's fine. I found Lu YY's Lotus Heart. Yet inwardly, she thought, Mo Van loved that woman so deeply in his past life, and I look so much like her. I'll ask him about it later. Then she looked at the person behind her and said, the important matter comes first. Prepare the formation to send Ishun and the others back to the immortal realm. Her actions left him completely confused. What's wrong with her? Lu Yi was enveloped in the aura of Mirror Heart Courtyard. She drowsily called, "Senior Brother Yin." Seeing this, Hatchvim's face turned pale with worry. She's about to return. We should prepare ourselves as well. Meanwhile, Wen Hai pushed Ishan forward. The moment Ishan saw Vai, he said, "Guide, thank you for taking care of me during this time. Please allow me to return to the immortal realm." She answered decisively, "All right." A formation quickly took shape and lit up. However, Tigvivi suddenly froze. "Wait, there's one more person." Louis woke out. "Guide, were you waiting for me?" The moment Ishan saw her, he cried out in surprise, "Senior Sister Su-E." Vai frowned, fell silent for a moment, then said, "I thought that after remembering your past, you would be able to distinguish between true feelings and false ones." Lu Yi extended her hand and said, "Matters of the heart have always been voluntary. I can see that Senior Brother Yin does not see you merely as someone to use." Vai placed a spell seal on her hand. Then she turned and placed another one on Ishan's hand. The gate leading back to the immortal realm quickly opened. Mo Van quietly stepped forward. "I have already set up the demon sealing formation." As soon as the demonic power leaks out, before he could finish, she interrupted him. "Mo Van, do you think the laws of this world are really so clearly divided into black and white?" He stared blankly. But before he could speak, she cut him off again. "Although she is my rival in love, I rather agree with what she said." The more he listened, the more confused he became. Rival in love? At that moment, Lu Yi held Ishan's hand, and the two slowly rose into the air. Suddenly, she turned and called, "Ishan." He asked in confusion, "What is it, Senior Sister Su-E?" Suddenly, she forcefully shoved him out of the formation. The two people behind them were startled. Ishan was bewildered as well. "Senior Sister." At the same time, Hatchvim and Duongdu, both covered in demonic energy, charged forward. Ishan cried out unwillingly, "Senior Sister Su-E, how can you aid evil?" Meanwhile, Wen Hai supported the other person and urgently said, "You damned blockhead, make your move already." Hearing this, Mo Van formed a hand seal and answered, "I know. Demon sealing formation activat." But Lu Yi swiftly moved in front of the attack, blocking it with determination. "Don't even think about it." Duongdu smugly said, "You are merely mortal bodies." But golden chains suddenly appeared and rapidly bound both of them. Tikvai calmly said, "Oh, really?" Bound by the chains, Hatchvim frowned in displeasure. "You actually obtained Mirror Heart Courtyard's divine artifact." Duongdu was equally furious. "It's useless. She's a newcomer. How could she possibly know how to use a divine artifact?" Tikvai simply replied, "Whether I know how to use it or not, why not try it and see?" If she thought to herself, "This is a divine artifact? No wonder it's so easy to use." The chains tightened fiercely, making both men cry out in pain. Below them, she said sternly, "Whether human or immortal, everyone possesses both good and evil. But if you allow evil to overwhelm good, then how are you any different from a rock that has yet to gain sentience?" His eyes gleamed. "You can actually absorb demonic energy? How naive. So what if you absorb it? If you cannot refine it, sooner or later you will self-destruct and die. Let me send you on your way." Demonic energy violently rushed toward her. She froze, then collapsed unconscious. The two people behind her panicked. Vivi, in her dream, the figure from the photograph in the other room appeared faintly. He quickly said, "Her demonic root has been removed, and I have already borne heaven's punishment in her place. I only ask that Master grant Vair another life. I am willing to trade my 10,000 years of cultivation for her to be reborn as a human in her next life." His words left her stunned. "Via, that's me? So I became my own rival in love. No wonder that woman and I... No, she looks just like me from my past life." The other person slowly said, "Where would you get another 10,000 years of cultivation? Forget it. She has her own destiny. Neither you nor I can control it. Let her go on her own. Divine and demonic powers coexist within her. Such a spiritual body is rare even in 10,000 years. A heart so clear and pure is best used to create Mirror Heart Courtyard. I hope you will become a good master of the courtyard." At that moment, she lay in bed and slowly opened her eyes. Mo Van, who was beside her, happily said, Vai, you're awake." Hearing this, she looked at him. "Mo Van, you really do love me." His words left him stunned. Why did this woman change so suddenly? Then he blushed, smiled, and answered yes. "I love you very much," she replied. "Me too." He hurriedly brought her a glass of water. "Ah, you slept for too long. Have some water." She answered, "All right." How many days was I asleep? And what happened to Hatch Veem and Lu YY? As she spoke, she drank. He replied, "You were unconscious for half a month." She immediately spat out the water she had just drunk. "What?" He quickly took the cup from her. "Don't worry. Hatch Veem and the others had their demonic power extracted by Master and were taken back to the immortal realm to be punished. Ishan also returned safely." Huan Hai passed the entrance examination for the University of Traditional Chinese Medicine, and Celestial River decided to return to the countryside to teach. They are all leaving tomorrow. Hearing this, she was stunned. The person beside her quickly added, "From now on, apart from newcomers, Mirror Heart Courtyard will have only you and me." The more she heard, the more shocked she became. I woke up from one sleep, and the entire era had changed. The next day, the two stood at the entrance of Mirror Heart Courtyard. Tik Vai Vai looked at Huan Hai and asked, "You're only taking this much stuff?" He replied, "If I need anything else, I'll buy it over there." At once, the person facing him smacked him on the head and angrily shouted, "You wasteful man!" Everyone burst into cheerful laughter. Vai Vai quickly hugged Celestial River. "I can't believe you're really leaving. You must be happy from now on, fairy sister." Seeing this, Huan Hai rushed over to squeeze in. "What about me?" "Me too." His actions annoyed the others behind him. Celestial River gently said, "I will come back to visit you." And Movan called out, "Come here." Huan Hai was grabbed around the neck until he could barely breathe, and he grumbled, "Can I say goodbye to my first love for a moment, you rotten blockhead? I even left something good under your bed." The gate spoke up, "Come on, stop dawdling, everyone." Hearing this, Huan Hai was finally released and coughed continuously. Then the two turned back and reluctantly bid farewell. Still asking for trouble, he did not forget to wink and blow a kiss. Once they had left, Tik Vai Vai could not help asking the person beside her, "Since when have you and Huan Hai become so close? Where'd he leave for you?" When they took it out, Mo Van's face turned bright red. What Huan Hai had left behind was an erotic picture book. The person behind them teased with great interest, "This is the good thing I meant. A spring night is short indeed. Come here." At that moment, the two shared a passionate, lingering kiss. Just then, a message arrived. Ding! A newcomer is about to arrive. Please prepare to receive them. The story ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share so I can stay motivated to make more videos. Remember to follow for future episodes. Have a day full of energy.